Alrighty, I believe we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our first ever edition of Throwback Thursday on the channel. And this is not a live commentary stream tonight. Every Thursday we will be streaming some classic NASCAR races. And we're of course starting with the off season. We're doing a Daytona 500 watch along of an old Daytona 500 every week leading up to the start of the season. And then once the season starts, if these streams do well and a lot of you people hit that like button and are subscribing, new viewers as well, tuning in, then we'll continue to do this throughout next season as well, which would actually be really good because then we'd have this on Thursday and then like truck races on Friday, Xfinity race Saturday, Cup race on Sunday for live commentary schedule next year. So, yeah, that would actually be great. But we'll see how this goes. This is the first time doing this. Shouldn't get copyrighted. I believe the rules are that the race I would be watching or live streaming has to be at least 7 years old. So anything, and because it's the off season, I don't know if that means anything from 2015 on back or 2014 on back. So we're not going to risk that. So anything 2014 or older, and then once next season starts, I guess it would technically be 2015. But yeah, for the off season, for these Daytona 500 watch logs, it's going to be anything from 2014 or older that we will be watching every week. And you guys will get to vote on the race every week leading up to, well, that said stream. So today, you guys voted for me to watch the 2006 Daytona 500. I'm not going to spoil the winner in case anybody might be somewhat of a newer NASCAR fan, doesn't know what happened in this race. I'll give you a little bit of a background. Obviously, it was 2006. Coming into this race, the defending champion would have been Tony Stewart in 2005. The defending Daytona 500 champion the year before that, I believe, was Jeff Gordon. So that's kind of where we're sitting here. I have no clue what the starting lineup is like for this race. I fast-forwarded through the pre-race because the pre-race was in here. We weren't going to watch all that. We don't have that much time. I'm not sure if it's going to skip commercials or not. If there are commercials full screen, then I'll just skip those so we're not sitting through those any extra than what we have to. So this should fly by. Sit back for a couple hours, and we're going to rewatch the 2006 Daytona 500. Let me know down in the chat if the audio is going to be all right once I start playing it. I want to make sure it's not too loud or too quiet for you guys. I want you guys to be able to hear it, but I also want you guys to be able to hear me at the same time. So just let me know in the chat once I start talking here within these first couple seconds, because I'm really not going to know unless you guys are letting me know. So thanks for everybody tuning in, though. Wade Solinsky, Earl Arnold Jr., Mark DeMars, Ethan, JoJo, Asai Z, Charles Sasser, and others. Welcome into the stream. Here's the 2006 Daytona 500. NBC also was broadcasting. This was the final race NBC has ever broadcasted of the Daytona 500.
The cars on the track at the Daytona International Speedway, getting ready for the start of the Daytona 500. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, is the proud sponsor of the Budweiser Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each NASCAR and Nextel Cup Series race. Budweiser congratulates Jeff Burton for his pole in the Daytona 500 and Hobie in the
Jeff
Budweiser Shootout in 2007.
I had no clue about that, to be completely honest.
Here's the starting grid
It's
for
like
the
Gordon's on
48th
the
running of the
outside
Daytona
This one they went through
500.
the whole
Jeff Burton
starting
on the
grid.
pole, next to
First
three-time Daytona 500
Thanks for
winner,
tuning in. I'll go
Jeff
full
Gordon.
screen also.
On the inside of row 2, Elliott Sadler, the winner of
Okay, so Jeff Burton, Jeff Gordon. Both the Jeffs on the front row, it looks like.
the second.
I do like the old starting
The
grid,
first
too.
duel on Thursday, and Kyle Busch on the outside.
One of them.
Yeah, one of those duels.
Row 3, Jamie McMurray will start on the outside. Carl
Murray's
Edwards
so
on the
good on the
inside.
super
Everybody,
speed. Even at Roush.
sorry about that. Everybody will be watching row 4. That's where Dale Earnhardt Jr. is. Bobby Labonte will have to drop to the rear of the field.
And welcome to Chad Canals. I know he's watching this
Bonnie
telecast
going
as
in
Jimmy
the
Johnson starts on the inside of row 5. Martin on the outside.
I'll move my
Row
camera for a
6,
quick
Matt
second so
Kenseth
you
on
guys
the
can
inside.
see
On
the
the
starting
outside,
lineup.
Kyle Petty. Those guys having a great speed weeks.
Kurt Busch makes his debut for Penske Racing today in the 2, and Casey
Oh,
Mears
that's right.
in the
Kurt Busch's
42
first race in the
this
2 car.
On the inside of row 8, 2005
All right.
Nextel champion Tony
Got my
Stewart.
man in the pit.
And Greg Bill will finish second. He's on the outside.
On the inside, row 9, our Bud
Lower
Shootout
than
winner,
race
Danny
up.
Hamlin.
Gotcha.
On the outside, Ryan Newman.
There's a rookie in row 10. Martin Truex Jr. won the Busch Series championship a year ago, and Robbie Gordon makes the Daytona 500 as an owner-driver.
Let me know if that's good.
Another rookie in row 11. That's Reed Sorensen on the outside. Jeff Green changed cars to the 66 this year.
In row 12, and pretty fast right here, Ken Schrader on the inside. Looks that car to be very fast. On the outside, Mike Wallace.
Three-time Daytona 500 winner
Mike
Dale
Wallace.
Jarrett starts in row 13 and shares that row with Jeremy Mayfield driving for
This was his
Everham
last year at
Motorsports.
Everham. I
Casey
do
Kane on
believe.
the inside of 14, and Kevin Harvick out of California on the outside.
Row 15, rookie
Michael
Greg
Waltrip
Sherman on the
making his,
inside. On the
Michael
outside,
Waltrip racing
two-time winner here,
debut.
Michael Waltrip.
In row 16, Kevin LePage raced his way in, and rookie David Stremme for Ganassi Racing.
On the inside of row 17, two-time Daytona 500 winner
We got Dave
Bill
Blaney.
Elliott and Dave
Bill
Blaney.
Davis
Would like to see
racing.
one
Bill
on the
Elliott in the
outside.
38 car.
Inside row 18, Brian Brooker's on the inside, and on the outside, J.J. Yeley, now driving the 18 car.
Rookie Clint Boyer makes his 500 debut in the 07 car. Joe Nemechek will have to drop to the rear of the field for an engine change.
Inside of row 20,
Yeah,
Sterling Marlin. He's won the
try not to
500.
spoil the race
Travis
in the
Kvapil,
chat.
he would love
Travis
to.
Kvapil's in the 32?
On the inside, 21.
I had no
Herman
clue
Sadler
Travis
will make a
Kvapil was in the
start.
tide ride.
Right there. Yeah, he's on
Kurt
the
Shelmerdine's
outside.
in the
Kurt
field. Hermie
Shelmerdine.
Sadler's in the double zero. I didn't realize Hermie Sadler raced for Michael
Two-time
Waltrip
series
Racing
champion
either.
Terry Labonte driving for Roger Staubach and Troy Aikman.
Crazy.
These drivers did not make the Daytona 500,
Derek Booth,
including
thanks
the
for
10
tuning in
car
also.
of Scott Riggs.
Larry Foyt, Stanton Barrett,
Who
Morgan
failed to
Shepherd.
qualify here? Scott Riggs missed the race. Paul Menard missed. Mike Skinner. Larry Foyt. Scott Wimmer missed too in the 4. I can't believe Scott Riggs missed the field. That's crazy. Didn't he finish top 5 in 2005? Or no, maybe it was 2004. I thought 2005 he finished top 5 one of the 500s like one of the few years before this. That's crazy. Scott Riggs missed this race in the 10. That's a pretty good MB2 Motorsports team to miss out also. But yeah, Paul Menard missed in the 15 for, what was that, DEI as well. Derek Cope missed, Kenny Wallace missed, Carl Long, Morgan Shepherd, Chad Chafin, Stanton Barrett, Randy LaJoy all missed. That's crazy. Scott Riggs is probably the shocker on there. Riggs and then potentially Paul Menard as well missed the race.
Big list of cars did not qualify.
Both Scotts, yeah, both Scott Wimmer and Scott Riggs. Oh, okay. I saw the to the back, and I thought for a second the to the back was
in a backup car.
the guys that missed. I'm like, Sterling Marlin missed the 500.
For
What?
an engine change. Now you see the
Three-time-
29 car.
two-time
of
Daytona
Kevin
500
Harvick
champ missed it.
racing toward pit road.
That
They
didn't
have
happen.
waved off the green flag because of that bag you see on the top of his car.
Yeah, this race was infamous
That's on
for
our
being
camera.
known as the
Sure
fog
is.
race.
We need to get that
You'll
on.
know why
yes.
once we get later into the race. It was very
So he's gonna
hazy. It
come
was kind
in,
of a fog. It wasn't
We'll
dense
get that
enough
off
like
of
it was
there,
with
and then
Pocono in
we'll reline the
2014.
field, and we'll be able to go
I
racing.
can't
in the
remember if there was
Daytona
any
500.
delays or not, though.
We don't want to rob our viewers of a camera. So.
No, not on his
I
car.
don't remember
not
if there were
on
any
Harvick's car.
like actual fog delays or not, but
So he gets the thumbs
there was
up
a
from
year
the
at
NASCAR
the
official,
Rolex
and heads
24
back
also
out on the
that
track.
ended up happening. There was a lot of fog.
He heads back out.
Both
Final
stats.
stories from pit road. Let's start with Marty Snyder.
Well, Bill, quietly, Matt Kenseth has
Still
become
hard
the
to hear?
Daytona Masters. Finished top 10 in 3 of your last 4 races here, and he said, I have? I had no idea. He said, I feel like I'm still learning this place, but Matt has certainly got Daytona down, if you will. Now, he told me it doesn't matter how good you are at this racetrack. All that matters are the friends you have at the end of the race, and you better know those friends, because often those friends quickly become enemies. Matt?
Ryan Newman rolls off from the 18th position. Now, his car owner, Roger Penske, knows all about winning big events. He won the Indy 500 a record 13 times. He's won a lot of races here at Daytona. The Rolex 24 and 69 Mark Donahue, won a qualifying race here with Bobby Allison, a shootout with Rusty Wallace, and an ARCA event even here with Ryan Newman, but he's never won the Great American Race at Daytona 500. Newman would love to give him that victory. The car was very loose in final practice with the weather and the
I'm trying to mess with the audio so it's good enough for you guys. Hopefully you guys can hear it.
Matt, the buzz in the garage area this week was how
I want you guys to be able to hear the broadcast as well as me. I'm not going to be commentating the race only because I
realized
know
that might be a problem, and
already.
moments before he was introduced to this
remember the
huge
top
crowd,
two.
his veteran teammate Jeff Gordon had a very
Finishing
direct
order wise.
conversation with him, telling Kyle, according to Kyle's report to me, that he wanted him to just play it cool throughout the entire
Barkley,
race, that
thanks
he
for
needed to
tuning
develop
in.
friendships throughout this race
Always
because he
forget
has a
Neely
very
W18.
fast
He
race
did for a
car,
couple
and by the
years.
end of the race, he needs to be
Kyle
able to
Busch
work
took
with
the
other
seat in
cars.
2008.
Use that throughout the day, Jeff
This-
said,
in
and he might be
06
able to
and 07
win
he
the
drove
Daytona
good.
500. Alan?
18.
Our sporting heroes are usually defined by victories on their game's greatest stage. In golf, the Masters, Wimbledon for tennis, for a skier or a skater,
They
the
did.
Olympic gold
NBC
medal.
did Alan
In
Best
stock
with
car
wrong,
racing,
man.
it's
He was
this
awesome
race
in the booth,
this
and then they
race,
stuck him
Daytona
on pit
and
road.
the
And
500. Will
But,
Gordon, Jarrett, or
Bill
Earnhart's
Weber in the
legend
booth. Bill
grow
Weber
today,
wasn't
or will
bad,
a new
but
driver join the club
Alan
of
Best
never
was just
forgotten
better.
names as Daytona
Lights are out
500
of the pace
winners?
car.
We're 500 miles from finding out. Bill?
Remember, this is
Thanks,
the only
Alan.
double
Hope you
file
guys have a
start
great day
slash
down there on
restart.
pit road for the Daytona 500.
Daddy Rumdy Creations, thanks for
43
tuning in.
drivers, their final thoughts before they take the green flag in the
Weird to see
Great
pictures
American
without
Race.
tons of safety
The number
equipment.
one
It's also
race
weird
on the
seeing like
NASCAR
the
Nextel Cup
broadcasters wearing pit road
Pace
gear
car
too.
leads
Fire
them out of
suits.
turn 4. It will head for
Remember
pit
those
road.
days?
They will
You can already
head
tell
toward
it's
the
a
green
little
flag.
hazy
It's our
too.
pleasure at
Like
NBC
up
to
in
take
the
you
air,
to the
the
green
aerial
flag
shots
for the
like this.
2006 season. We'll be there for the checkers.
It's gonna
and
be like
Homestead.
that.
Thanks for coming
That's what this
along
race
for the
is
ride.
infamous for.
Enjoy the Daytona 500 live on NBC.
I'll move my my camera a little bit. Hopefully you guys can hear everything perfectly fine. Happened to Bill Weber in 2009 after Sonoma. It hasn't worked with NASCAR at least.
Oh, we got trouble back here in the middle somewhere.
Oh, what?
Oh, we've already lost a tire.
Somebody already cut a tire
We've
down.
had tire issues throughout the week. It's from Jeff Green's car. He's trying
Jeff
to get
Green
to
in
pit
the
road.
66.
That's probably, we've seen a lot of the left rear tires
Love
doing
that Best Buy
this
car.
week, BP, so wouldn't be surprised if it was a
Nice
left
blue
rear.
and yellow scheme.
Looks like the right side tires are up, and unbelievably,
They didn't throw a caution for that? The carcass is on the track.
To get to pit room, there you see your left rear wall.
I think it rolled down to the apron, but still.
All right, these guys are finally up to speed. Takes about a lap and a half. Jeff Burton
Leaderboard
had
at
the
the top. I
advantage
like the
here early.
scrolling
When you're out
leaderboard
front
better
like
than
that,
the
you want to run right in the
leaderboard on
middle.
the
You
side
don't
of
want
the
to be on the
screen, too.
bottom or the top. Give either one of those lanes an advantage. So Burton's kind of floating around.
Ready for
The longer he
Michigan
can do
Ohio
that,
State
the longer
game?
he can lead.
Oh yes,
Into
Michigan's
the first
looking
lap,
like they're
5
actually
bonus
playing better
points
than
for
Ohio
Jeff
State
Burton,
right
leading the
now.
first
Obviously, that could
of
change
the
the
season.
season.
We see
Jeff
the
Burton led the
31,
first
38
couple
on the,
laps
we
of
call
the
that
race.
the bottom of the racetrack, the 24 and 5, they're up on what we call the top of the racetrack. All week long, we've seen the bottom be the
Love that
advantage.
sound.
That outside move or that high line just has not been able to go throughout speed weeks.
See, Jeff Green, the 66, has a new
43
tire on
cars
the
in the
left,
race.
trying to get back up to speed.
Notable drivers that missed: Paul Menard, Scott Riggs, Scott Wimmer missed, Morgan Shepherd, Derek Cope, or a couple others.
Down the backstretch, heading for turn 3.
Martin Truex makes it 3 wide on the bottom in the one car.
8.5 when this is live. Yeah, it would have been
Dave Burns.
about
And guys,
that.
on that leader, number
7
31, Jeff Burton.
7
His
years
crew
old.
chief, Scott Miller, told me this morning that bottom line is good, but you have to be able to hold the throttle
6.
wide open by the
Yeah, it
end of
would've
the
been
run,
6.
or it doesn't do you any good.
6.
As Jeff Gordon now challenges for the lead. Marty.
Gordon
Dave,
trying to
you
work
see
the
a lot of this
outside
from
of his
Elliott
teammate
Sadler
Kyle.
today,
Oh
running
my
up
gosh.
front. I asked him
Jeff
if
Burton
he's
came
gonna
up
fall
off that yellow
back.
line a little bit,
It's
crowded the
a
24.
big one, as we talked about in the countdown to green. Elliott said absolutely not. not. I want to run up front as much as I can today. Alan?
Yeah, ditto for Jeff Gordon, Marty. He told me he wants to be in the top 5 all day, if at all possible. Less trouble there, and he feels his car runs better when it's near the front of the pack in the cleaner air.
Bump drafting down the backstretch.
Yep, we just saw Elliott Sadler bump draft the 31 car, and look at how much
you guys are
room
gonna
that
be
they
able to
put
see
between them and Jeff Gordon already. So it will work if you know how to do it.
Oh, and Junior gets shouldered up to the middle of the racetrack by the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. That's Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the red number 8. But he has some help with a 26 car of Jamie McMurray. Matt?
BP, that's exactly where he was near the end of the Busch Series race on Saturday, in the middle. But Junior feels like they've got a great car for today. They've struggled all week with a tight condition and also a considerable wear issue on the right front. They feel like they've solved that.
Jeff Gordon's dropping back already. He's kind of stuck on the outside. It looks like the inside's a preferred line.
His teammate Martin Truex, who they expect to work together a lot today, is
Remember,
right on
this
the
Daytona
inside.
surface is pretty bumpy compared to that,
And
too.
these
So
cars
these guys,
are driving
there's going to be a
really
lot
good
more
for these
strategy
drivers
with
right
tire
now. I mean,
play
they're still fresh tires.
in this race than what we
Actually,
would see
being
now
cool
at
today
Daytona.
helps a lot. Puts a lot more grip
if
in
you
the
take 2, you're
racetrack.
not going to have
So
nearly
these
as
cars
much
aren't
grip
sliding
as the
around
guys
right now as much as they
before.
would be if it were 80, 85 degrees out. So the conditions are pretty good.
The 24 of Jeff Gordon, the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Clearly 2 of the favorites coming in here to start the season. Both have won the Daytona 500 before. Another guy that's picked to go to victory lane today, the 20 of Tony Stewart. An update from Alan.
I don't pay
On
too much
Thursday in his
attention
qualifying
outside
race
of
here,
Michigan
Tony Stewart
football
led
to
about the
really
first half of the race.
be
His
able
car
to-
was terrific and unpassable out front. But when he got put back in traffic like he is now, it
Back
did not
that up.
handle
Man,
as
they're
well.
3
He got
wide
put back
already.
there because of a pit stop mistake.
Edwards is in the
Tony
middle.
Stewart wants to get to the front and try and keep that car in clean air.
Didn't
although
Edwards
they know
miss the chase
they're going
this
to have to
season?
work hard to get there. Dave?
I thought he had a bad
Alan
one.
Kurt
I
Busch
could
in
be
his
wrong.
first points race for that
I
blue
thought he
number
had a
2
bad
car, no
sophomore
longer Rusty
season.
Wallace's car. His car is actually running very good this weekend, and crew chief Roy McCauley told me we've got a solid top 10
Jeff Burton's
car.
led every
We just
lap
need
so
to
far.
use it carefully and
Give him an air
wisely.
go.
Yeah, Bill.
Thanks, Dave. They're using your battering ram out there, BP.
Now
sure
he's
are.
actually broadcasting races on
Want to point
NBC.
out that
This
because of
time
the
he
low
was
ceiling
linked to
today,
Daytona
heavy
500 ball.
overcast
NBC
in the
was covering
Daytona
the
Beach
500.
area. Our helicopter not able to get
Yeah,
out
there's
to
a
the
lot of
proper
three-wide
height
racing
to
going
do the
on
best
towards
we
the
can
middle
for
to
you,
the back
our
right now.
onboard camera coverage.
Edwards is
Jeff
still that
Gordon,
lead car in the
I'm
middle, but
impressed
he's
with the way
dropped
he's
back
hung
quite
in
a
on
bit.
the outside line in that
Junior
24
Gordon
car.
making up some ground on
There's
the
some
outside.
three-star
Every
cars
single
right there
plow
on the
through about the
outside.
top 5 or
24
6 about a
Gordon,
lap and a half
Earnhardt.
ago.
And that 26 car of Jamie McMurray.
It is,
has been
I mean,
fast, too.
it's
So
crazy.
See if they can.
Like 3
Problem is
wide
they
now
got
at
three of
Daytona
them.
gets
They're
tight,
3 wide
but 3
behind
wide
you,
at
and that's
Daytona
gonna
with
slow
the
that
bumps
group
makes
down.
it even
They need to get
harder
back
for these guys to
two
be able to
wide,
try to
single
hold the
file.
line. Like they're managing the
Those three
throttle
can't
so much
make
to
that
keep it off
outside
each other
blue
side to
track.
side, not just front to back.
But
I
see, what
noticed
happens
at least
is if
at
your car
Daytona in
starts to
person
push
this year, it seemed like the track
down
was a
on the
little
bottom,
bit
guys will
bumpier
start
than
getting
what
off the
TV
throttle, and
seems
that's
to
when
make
that
it, but
outside group
it's
will
definitely
start pulling
still
up.
more smooth
A
than
little
what
bit
was
too
this
early
time.
for that. So
We'll
just
get
have to
bumpy
keep an eye
Daytona
on
back
it.
one of these years. It might be
This is
another
where you look for
5
the
years,
teams to use the
10
bump
years down the
drafting
line, but we're
strategy
going to have
down the
bumpy
backstretch.
Daytona again. It's going to be a lot of fun watching the track.
Elliott Sadler in the 38 falls back in line
Some of the
behind
best
Burton in the
Daytona 500s
31. Jimmy
were
Johnson in the 48.
pretty much from the late
Look at the
90s
99
through
up
the
there, way up there. Carl
mid
Edwards,
to late 2000s.
3 wide.
His second full season driving for Jack Roush had a spectacular 2005.
And it didn't matter whether it was a Gen 4 or the
Jeff
car
Burton
tomorrow.
started on the pole. He has led every lap.
And look at how
the first
tight it
8
is.
laps.
Kensington's
If
about
trouble
sandwiched
breaks out,
between Kurt
we'll
Busch
break in.
and
You're watching
who else is
NASCAR
there
on
outside of
NBC.
it. Look at that. I mean, they're 3 wide, probably like 7 rows deep. They come back from the commercial, they're still 3 by 3.
Continues to lead in the Daytona 500.
They are
Chevrolet
racing
has had
in the early
tremendous
going.
dominance in restrictor plate racing over the years. And here are the Chevy drivers to watch today. Gordon, a 3-time winner of the 500. Dale Earnhardt Jr. That's a Daytona 500 win. Tony Stewart and Jimmy Johnson chasing their first Daytona 500 win. Jimmy Johnson is chasing it without his crew chief Chad Knaus, but they did have a team pep talk just
3 wide,
before they
5
took
rows
the
deep.
green
Yeah, really.
flag. Here's how it went.
Our crypto, thanks for tuning in. They're spaced out a little bit more now.
The day you just put off at California prep. Mr. H offered us to go
Only
out
lap
and hang out on the
13.
boat
Jeff
tonight,
Burton's led every
we did
lap so far.
join him. Guys,
I couldn't tell you who led the most laps in this race. I just know who won. And I believe I remember who finished second. Usually most people don't remember
I'm proud of you guys. You guys rock. Let's show them what we're made of today.
Here, Benny Parsons, yeah.
Mr. H is
Sure.
team owner Rick Hendrick.
And the winner of this race, the car is put inside the Daytona USA and the track.
I was too young to like
just outside
really
the
understand
speedway,
like
so
the
all
art
team
of like
will be there in the
broadcasting
morning
and
to put their
announcing and
car in
stuff.
the Hall of Fame.
Win the race, lose your ride.
Exactly, for a year.
But definitely like now I can appreciate listening.
All right,
to
Jeff Gordon has
Benny
finally
Parsons
got to
talk.
the inside behind the 31 car. What can he do about getting by Jeff Burton?
There really aren't like
I want to
teammates
point out that Jerry and Grubb is
that are
following
like
shots
anywhere
for Jimmy Johnson today in that
specifically
48
close to
team.
one another.
Normally shares the top of that pit box with crew chief Chang Canals.
Jimmy Johnson on the bottom of the 48 car, and Earnhardt Jr. is trying to bring that outside line back up to the front, right next to Jeff Burton, leading this race. Looks like he's
yeah, and Chad Canals is actually
ground.
not crew chiefing this race either. I believe he was suspended the first two. No, he was suspended like the first 4 races of the season in 2006, and Jimmy won like 2 of those races.
Yesterday in the 80-degree weather, we saw the
I'm
Busch
pretty
Series
sure
really
it was
break
the
apart
only
into a
2
number of
races
packs,
that
but
Jimmy
because
Johnson
it's
ever
cooler,
won
there's a
without
different
Chad
aerodynamics
Canals crew
package on these
chiefing
cars. Basically, most of them hanging in the lead pack.
at the start of the year. But yeah, they are the best crew chief driver duo of all time. I don't think there's any debate
themselves. No overly aggressive driving, as Mike Helton talked about in the drivers' meeting.
Yeah, you won't see it. This part of the race. I mean, if you're going to see the real aggressive stuff, it's going to be towards the end of the race. Everybody's just trying to get a good feel for their car.
Sadler's
It's very
still up there in
frustrating for a
the.
driver right here because you're
He's
following the
been
guy in
what,
front
like
of you.
top
There's
3 the
nothing you
whole
can do. I mean,
time?
Earnhardt
Burton's
Jr. is
been
pushing the
leading.
gas pedal as hard as he
Gordon
can
was
right
able to
now,
get back down to the
but he
bottom, so
just
Earnhardt
doesn't
leads the
have
top now.
the speed on that top line that we saw
Got
all week here.
literally 3 Roush
To get up
cars
there and
behind
make
him.
for the lead. So everybody's just
Kenseth,
holding their
McMurray,
ground.
and Martin. And then Kyle Busch also at the top.
Well, they
Now, yeah, they saw Junior coming. They all moved up. Top 3 all moved up.
2001,
And right back to the bottom. So now it looks like they're trying to control the lanes.
We're under caution at
Oh,
Daytona.
caution under
Rookie
the commercial?
Martin Truex Jr. has brushed the wall, bringing out the caution on lap
Truex.
18. Pit road is open. Let's go to
Got
Marty.
some pit stops. So it
Will
looked like
Elliott Sadler
Truex got in the
running
wall,
third, so
bringing
his
out
car
the
is just
first
a little
caution.
bit tight. Tommy Baldwin,
man.
his crew chief, came on the
Got some
radio
guys
and
locking
said,
the tires
you know
up
what, that
back
may be
there.
the win. Let's not adjust it too much. The 38 car is going to hit pit road, half a round up on the track bar, trying to loosen that car out.
Carter, thanks for tuning in.
Leader Jeff Burton.
This isn't live TV.
This
This
was just a little bit tight. Wouldn't turn the way he wanted it to. But
This
no
is just a watch
changes
along
this
of an old
time,
Daytona
Alan.
500.
Jeff Gordon feels like if his car can get out in front of the pack, he'll be hard to catch and hard to pass. Here's his pit crew's chance to do
Four
it right
tire.
here.
The 2004 winner Dale Earnhardt Jr. already in his
Yeah,
pit
pretty much
service
everybody's
complete on the
taking
right
4.
side. They've already made a wedge and track bar adjustment. The car just a tick on the tight side, and he's away. Will he beat him off pit road? The 38 gets him.
Dale Jr. gained 4
According to the
spots.
computer, Earnhardt Jr. won the race
Burton
off
lost
the pit
5.
road.
JJ Ely
I
up
don't know about
13. He
that.
might have taken 2.
We'll have to go to the videotape.
We'll have to
Let's go to the video.
When we come back, we'll go to the videotape and sort out the running order here in the 48th annual Daytona 500.
48th
The
running
field
of
all
500.
pulling up behind the Chevrolet Corvette pace car here at Daytona. You're watching NASCAR.
Why is it
NBC.
shown? Because we're doing a watch on. Throwback Thursday. First ever
Field is
one.
coming
Every
to get
Thursday
the
we'll be
green
watching
while he
some more
hears the
Daytona
run out the
500s.
caution.
Yeah,
leading up
once
to
you
the
see
start
guys
of
right
the
here, you
season.
got 25 on the bottom. That's Brian
Then
Vickers in the
Newman.
one car. When Vickers just gets
All right,
loose
so
coming
Truex-
off of turn 2, you see him saving the car.
Oh, Vickers
and
got
I
loose
think
right in front of Truex,
Martin
and then
was
Truex
just
got in
probably
the wall
reacting
after
to the
that.
25 car slowing down and moved. Here's a good shot from Denny Hamlin's car. Watch right up front. Just got
Surprised
squeezed into the
nothing
wall,
more
so
happened
nothing
than
Martin
that.
did wrong. He just got squeezed up there.
The 80 to
Especially
Dale
if they exit
Jarrett,
the corner
too
like that, you would
fast
think
on
somebody
pit
would hit the
road,
wall and
starts
they
at the
kind of
tail
like
end of the longest
lose
line.
control
The
and then
27
slide down the
Shelmerdine
racetrack in
over the
front of
wall
other
too
cars.
fast,
That never
tail
happened.
end
He
of
was
the
able to at
longest
least keep it
line.
against the
As
wall.
we get ready to go green, Coca-Cola reminds you to drink it down, start it up.
So caution for Martin Truex Jr. getting in the wall.
So the video has proved that Elliott Sadler did, in fact,
Sadler
win
won the
the
race
battle
out of
off
pace. Jimmy
pit
Jr.
road.
still gained
In the
3
38
spots,
car,
so
Junior was
four-time
second.
stop, pretty good.
Jeff Gordon third. Jimmy
Jeff
Johnson
Burton's pit
fourth
crew
in the
killing him
48.
right now.
Trust computers.
He literally led every lap up until the caution,
Marty.
and then
Yeah, Elliott's got to
and then
deal
they
with his
end up
guys that every time they
losing
win the
5
race
spots
on
on
pit
pit
road this
road
year,
for him.
he owes them dinner. He said, man, okay, great job, guys. I owe you dinner again. I'm going to be
Single
broke by the
file
time we leave
restarts.
Daytona. I don't know if I want you to keep doing that
nobody's
or
a lap
not.
down yet at least.
Oh, he does, Marty. Trust me, he does.
Restart on the
A
bottom.
lot of dinners if you win this race.
Yes, you do, including one here in town tonight. Sadler was extremely strong.
Be sure to hit the like
in his
button, guys.
qualifying
Subscribe
race.
for more daily NASCAR content. Again, we'll be doing this every Thursday. Watching some more Daytona 500s leading up to the start of next season.
Well, we'll see if Junior's going to be patient.
Elliott Sadler in the
I don't think he's
lead
gonna be
right
patient.
now. Dale
I think
Jr.'s
Junior
in
wants to get
second
up front,
behind
lead
him,
this thing, but
followed by Gordon, Johnson, and Kenseth.
he's looking in the mirror right now. He's wondering if
And then Jeff Burton, who led every lap leading up to the first cautions in sixth.
Or if the 24 is going to try to hook up with his teammate, the 48, Jimmy Johnson, they go by both of them.
But that's what you're doing right now. You're looking out the windshield, you're looking out the mirror, you're going, man, I wonder if I should pull out, if these guys going to go with me. If they don't, you can lose about 15 spots in one lap.
Looks like there's two packs. I was going to say, they were getting kind of separated. Junior's going high. He's not getting anywhere to go.
He's going backwards, it looks like.
I think both the Hendrick Chevys are definitely going to work against Earnhardt
I don't know
right
if it
now.
was Junior's choice there, Wally, but Jeff
Gordon and
Gordon's
Johnson
team,
staying together.
momentary
Nobody's
concern
going
when he
with
left
the
his
eight. He
pit
pulled out
box.
a line, and
Thought
nobody
he
went
might
with
have
him, and
made
now he's going to
contact
lose a
with
bunch of
Junior.
spots.
Thought he might have made contact with another car.
Probably gonna
As
fall
you
in
know,
line
Danny, the front
for about
fenders on this
7.
car are so crucial. Someone today will
Behind
lose
that,
this
I can see
race
the
because they
McMurray.
bounce off another car on pit road and
26.
change the shape of those
I think it
fenders
is.
and change the aerodynamics on the car. Gordon got away cleanly that time, but a moment of concern for his team.
Yeah, they spent hundreds of hours working on these bodies, making sure that they just slice through the air the best that they can. And if you just dent one of these things, it's going to change the airflow. So it's very important to keep your
Watching the
fenders,
38
especially around the
M&M's
front
car go around the
tires,
track gives me a
in
weird
one
feeling.
piece. You don't want to
M&M's
damage
will be back next year.
Elliott
in
Sadler
NASCAR.
in the
Yeah.
38 leads.
That's,
Jeff Gordon in the 24 wants.
I was kind of thinking that
All he
last
got there
night,
was a
or the
very
last couple
aggressive
nights when we
move
saw
by the
Sadler
24 car
up
going
at
in
the
turn
front of the
3,
pack at
trying to get
Talladega
him on the back of
Daytona
that
before
38 and
NASCAR 6.
get him
I
a
was kind
little
of
bit loose,
thinking
move him up off the bottom, and then he would go under it.
Junior couldn't even keep up with that lead pack once he fell
you're
back in
wondering
line. He's
whether
kind of
he
leading the
got
second
hung out,
group.
which he did, but
Stewart,
now he's
Harvick,
waiting for his unofficial
Denny
teammate Tony
Hamlin.
Stewart to catch up and see
Making
if they
his
can
first
hook up
Daytona
his
500
spotter
start.
Steve Meal, keeping
Hamlin
him
actually
abreast
won
of just
the
the
Butch
closing
Shootout
rate
in
of the
06.
cars behind.
I don't know who won the
that
dual
38 car
races.
up off the bottom, takes the lead. Elliott
Jeff
Sadler goes
Gordon
back
and
to
Jimmy
the
Johnson
fourth
working together to
position.
get by Sadler.
Comes that outside line. There's Jamie McMurray in the 26.
How'd Sadler
and he's got
lose the lead there? Did
lot
he
of
just
help.
come up off the bottom
Again,
a little
it's a
bit, or did they
challenge
get
to make
around
that
him on the
outside
outside?
line go.
Kenseth kind of
But it's
following
pretty
him up
even
there. They're
right
starting
now.
to double up again.
You know, it's not like there's
They
a
were
lot
single
more
file
cars on
there
the
for about
bottom.
the first
So it'd be
4 or 5
interesting to
laps
see
after the restart. Now
field
they're
is kinda
doubling up.
split right here in this
Now
lap
Johnson and Gordon might
to
be a
see if
sitting
that
duck because both the
high
Roush
line
cars
will
are
go. Now
together.
it's fairly
McMurray
even
and
with the
Kenseth.
cars in the high line and low line.
Matt Kenseth jumped in front of his teammate,
Yeah, I
the
can't remember
26.
lap for
Matt was
lap what happened
17.
in 2006 and the 500.
Remember
So
we were talking
I'm
earlier
kind
that
of
the
learning this
bottom
race
line
as
was
I
actually
go,
seemingly to be the
and then once we
faster
get
line
like
all
closer to
week
the
long.
end, I'll start
Jamie
remembering
McMurray told me
things.
before
But
the race he's
you know,
fairly
right now
committed
I'm
to that
watching this
top
as
line. He
if
said
it's
at the end
like
of the
happening
series
right
race
now.
yesterday, he felt like that was the
Kinda
line to be in. That was the
Oh,
line that
Johnson
was
lost
going to
Gordon.
move and produce the winner. So he said, I'm going to stay up high.
Well,
as
they
long
got
as
it.
I can."
They split apart the Hendrick cars. Now they can try. Oh, Junior's going for it.
Line. It's just like we talked about in our
Kenseth's
Home Depot
going.
first run.
Oh
The
boy,
more
that was a
cars lined up,
move.
the faster.
I thought Gordon was
Now
gonna
you see
block.
that
Gordon did a
outside
good
line
job
pretty
not
fast.
blocking though.
And I tell you what, Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, very
He saw
impressive
Junior move
up
down.
in
He's
turn
like,
three.
well, I'm going down
Jeff
too,
Gordon,
and that hung
24,
out
moved
Gordon.
up the block, and he
They
just turned
picked
under,
apart
brought the
Johnson
8
and
car
Gordon
with
there.
him, takes the lead.
They
And
picked
that'll get
apart
some
Johnson,
updrafting
then
going on
immediately went
here.
after Gordon in the
Earnhardt
next corner.
on the bumper of the 17 Matt Kenseth pushes him down the racetrack.
Gordon's all by
and
himself.
24 is going to lose some spots.
Harvick's on the outside. I'll pick him
Bill,
up.
that's
He's gonna
exactly
fall
what
back.
Steve Miller
Actually,
just told
Johnson might
Junior.
let
He
him
says,
in on the
"Man,
bottom.
they
I
are
see
flocking
Jimmy.
already."
Is he gonna let Jeff in?
I mean, after all, it's the end of the race. Well,
Oh, no, he just goes
I'm
up
sorry.
behind
Only
you.
174
That's
more
one way
laps
to
to
do
go.
Oh boy, McMurray. He blocking.
26 of McMurray, the
He's
24
blocking.
of Gordon, chasing the 20 of Tony Stewart.
It's getting
Allen.
aggressive. These last like 2
I
or
don't
3
think much
laps.
disputing the
These guys
fact
are
that
going
Tony
at it.
Stewart has been the dominant driver on this speedway.
Nobody wants to
lately.
sit and wait.
He
Look at this.
dominated
Now they're gonna
this
hang out
race a year
Kenseth.
ago, didn't win, but he
Junior's
led
been
over
making
half
a lot of
it. He
moves, though. You
dominated
can
the
tell
race
he
here
wants to
last
go.
July. Tony Stewart trying to get to the
And
front,
there they go.
and
Yeah,
yet he's
Kenseth couldn't
dominated
get to the
today.
bottom
Marty?
quick enough.
Well, Matt Kenseth was trying to
Is
hang on
McMurray
the
gonna
lead,
go
but
up
no
with him?
drafting partners. He's going to go back
he
pretty
gonna
quick
stay
and
on the
try
bottom?
and squeeze his way in line. He told me he didn't know what to expect from this car. He said we were really really good when it was hot and sunny.
Oh, Tony! Oh my gosh! He saved it! Oh my gosh! What a save by Tony Stewart. How did he get loose?
Trying to help his teammate.
I don't know if he got hit from behind. He was so far sideways off the exit of turn 2. I thought
he has fallen back from
wow.
the 8. Let's watch as he's
Did you guys see that? Yeah, here's a replay.
Ever see Tony Stewart?
Yeah,
Oh,
Wow.
boy, did he
I mean,
ever.
Kenseth was on his outside, too. He kept
what
it off the
a great
17.
job by Tony.
And then McMurray did a good job not running into the back of him when he got
Looks
sideways.
like he just got close to the 17. When you're that close to another car
Look
on
at
the
that.
high side going through the corner,
Wow.
you will lose the downforce on the rear of your car. It actually
I mean, he
feels
did
like
that
somebody's
at like
jacking up the rear
185
of the car
miles
in
an
the
hour
corner,
plus.
And it just feels like
You
you're
can
on
tell
ice,
his
and
car's
that's exactly
still
what
loose
happened to
because
Tony
you can see
Stewart.
him going through the bumps. It
Now
almost
let's
looks like the
watch
rear of the
Tony
car
Stewart
still
up
yawed out
high
quite a bit.
off the bottom, and he does not
He's
particularly
trying to
like
get
it
around
up there.
how
He
hard
is a
it looks
bottom
like.
feeder.
He
Loves
literally
the
got
bottom
loose
right
like
track,
2
and he
laps
goes
ago,
to
and now
lead.
he's taking the
Jamie
lead.
McMurray.
Stewart's got a
pushing
fast
him.
car, for
A
sure.
lap and a half after he almost
He's
crashes,
always had
he
quick
has the
cars at
lead.
Daytona. He just struggled in the 500 to win it.
Tony Stewart has had many heartbreaking moments here at Daytona. He won the July race here, but has never won the Daytona 500. Today is his chance to add that to his resume to go along with his win
Tony got
last year
so
at the
loose and that was
Brickyard
in the lead.
400. You're
Sam Oddie,
watching
thanks for tuning
NASCAR
in.
on NBC. 31 laps are complete in the Daytona 500. Tony Stewart continues to lead. Take a look at our AutoZone in the zone drivers. Here at Daytona in the 500, Kurt Busch three top
straight
five
top
finishes
fives
in
for
5
Johnson.
races. Tony Stewart with 3 straight top 10s.
Straight
But
top
no
5
Daytona
finishes
500
in
win.
5 races.
Jimmy Johnson has also
Probably-
run well in
oh,
this
that's-
race, looking
I
for
would
his
assume that's for the
first
500
Daytona 500 win. I want to point out under the last caution that Jeff Green was the lucky dog. That got him back on
got
the lead
back
lap.
to single
42
file
of
through the
42
commercial
cars
break.
on the lead
They
lap.
probably saw Tony
Martin
Stewart
Truex
get loose.
Jr.,
They're like,
who
all right, we
rushed
should
the
probably
wall,
back off a little.
is the only car 1 lap down. Let's take you through the field.
I
Starting
mean, the
with Alabama.
concentration did not wreck
Well,
the
we
car
saw
when he got
the
that
story of
loose.
Tony Stewart's race.
I like that
so far,
NBC's
just a
had
minute
through
ago,
the
he just
field,
about
even
lost
up to this
control
day.
of the turn 2 and then came back a lap and a half later to take the lead. Crew Chief Greg Zipadelli called Tony on the
He used to do
radio
it
when he
like
took the
twice
lead
in
and
race,
said,
though.
we'll take that.
Really
Tony
don't
said,
do
I
it in
figured
state
you
street,
might be pleased. Marty?
Jamie McMurray right now running second, Allen, in the car that Kurt Busch used to
It's a
finish
good way to
second
spotlight
with
drivers
there
that are
last
running.
year. Says his car
Yeah,
is
they
a
usually
little
went
too
through, like,
tight
the top
right now.
20.
He's more concerned about the water temperature.
It's
Right
good to,
behind him,
you know,
his
spotlight
teammate,
drivers
Matt
even
Kenseth,
that
who's
far
hit
back
his
through the
car
field.
also too tight, which means
Especially
it
when
doesn't
you're
want to
watching
turn
on
in the
TV,
corner.
most of
So
the
when
time
they
they
pit
show,
next
like, the
time to the
battles
17 car, half a
the front of
pound
the
of
field
left rear
more.
tire trying to loosen it up. Alan?
Racers use 2 words, tight and loose, to describe the way their car handles. Tight means the front end's not gripping. Loose means the back end's not gripping. Most expected a tight race car today. Jeff Gordon just
got a
called in,
crash.
said his car's beginning to get loose.
No caution.
There's a car off the
Kyle
pace
Petty.
back there.
No.
Jeremy Mayfield.
Jeremy Mayfield in the 19 car.
They didn't throw a caution, but they were
contact
scattering
with somebody.
everywhere.
Yes,
He's
there's another
smoking.
car that's slow around your someplace.
He's got damage on the left side. I think he's got a tire rub.
Mayfield's trying to get around. Mayfield's trying to get
I'm surprised
the
they
pit
didn't throw a
road.
caution there. He got to the bottom pretty
Clearly had
quickly.
contact with another car.
They were scattering
And
all
they're
over the
asking
place like
Biffle,
somebody
did he bounce
wrecked.
off the wall or off another car? Biffle thinks he does have a tire going down, but he has been bitten by that in the past when he thought he either had a tire going down or a loose wheel and then didn't. He's right now trying to feel it out.
Well, I don't think
I just
they
realized
made,
Jeff Green's
contact
still in the
with
race,
19.
too.
See if we can see what happened with Jeremy Mayfield. Way up high, and
pitting?
he's got that Mike Wallace
Oh.
did the same exact thing that Vickers did.
Wow, how did they
to
not wreck
Mark
there?
Truex. He came off of 2 loose, and he
Who was that?
squeezed right in front of her up into
Somebody
Jeremy
moved.
Mayfield. And then Mayfield came down and hit
And did get
the 16 car, yeah.
Yeah, somebody moved up in front of Mayfield, and then he ended up
So
hitting the
Mayfield
wall.
got a
and made
piece of the
contact
wall
with
and a
Biffle.
piece of Biffle.
I couldn't tell who that was that hit him.
And
Was
some
it
good
Mike
driving
Bliss?
by the guys behind
Zero?
that to stay out of trouble.
Seen the zero
Marty?
in 2006?
And when
I know he
Mayfield
wasn't
came to
at
pit
fault.
road, Billy said that was Mike Wallace who ran into
Mike
me,
Wallace
as
is
you
in
guys
the
just saw
zero,
on the
my bad.
replay. Left side damage for Mayfield. It was left
Mike
side
Wallace
tires
got
only, and they tried to pull out that
off
damage,
the
but
track.
obviously
They did
you
not
see the
pull that
smoke, they
fender
didn't
out
get it
well.
all. Matt,
They did not pull that fender
Marty,
off.
they are still trying
off
to
the
figure
tire
out whether
very well.
Biffle has a tire
It's
going
still
down. A lot of
smoking.
conversation on the radio. The team right now watching our broadcast video, trying to see if indeed he does have a tire going down.
And they want to see the right side of the car.
I don't see any smoke coming from the right front, which is a good
He
sign.
dropped back. I
Usually
think he was in
that's what you'll
27th
see
when that
the
first
car's
happened.
fenders are laying in on the tire.
I mean, nothing's
So
smoking.
far, it looks pretty good. He got a lot of the damage in the door, which is okay. The fenders look fairly
He actually
clean.
has more damage than what you'd think.
Right behind the door. I mean, the tire on the door, guys.
It didn't look like he had that much contact with Mayfield.
And both right side tires, the yellow that says Goodyear is gone. So that means that both tires have made contact. But I agree with you. I don't think they're flat.
Matt?
Upon further review. you? They give a thumbs up.
It's crazy though. The other Roush cars are all the way
video,
towards the front of the field, and
trying to work his way
Biffle's
back to the
iron
front.
towards the back.
These teams
I don't know if
on
he's
their pit
intentionally
boxes on
doing
pit
that.
road have satellite
I mean, even
receivers
before
and
that
are able to
happened,
watch
he
the
was, like I
telecast
said, about
in real time
27.
and often use the video to
Like
their
Edwards
advantage.
is up there, Kenseth.
We're seeing some problems off of turn 2, and the way the wind is blowing, that's where I thought there may be some
Truex is
issues,
still in the race,
BP,
by the way. He's just
off
a
of turn
lap
2, because
down.
that wind comes
It's the only car
right
lap down,
across.
so they get a
And
caution.
although these cars are 3,500 pounds, sometimes they feel like there's no weight on them whatsoever.
And Jeremy Mayfield has to come back in because it looks like the
I
left
figured
front
it.
tire is
They
now
set him
flat
out there,
after
and he
rubbing
still
that fender.
had a lot of rubbing
Marty.
going on in the left front.
Bill,
fender.
BP exactly right. He came on the radio, said he's still talking right now. Left front
That's
is
a slick
flat.
looking
They're
paint
going to come to
scheme,
pit
though.
road. They obviously have to get some more damage
not
cleared
all
away
red.
from
They
that
got
left front tire
the
because
little
something is
detail.
cutting into that tire from the damage they got earlier on the racetrack.
Been a tough speed weeks for Evernham
Black.
Motorsports. One of their cars, Scott Riggs,
Red
did not
numbers.
make the Daytona
Some white
500.
numbers too.
And now trouble early for Jeremy Mayfield.
Yeah, Jeremy's going to go a few laps down. He's already 3 laps down.
Murray
Tough
Kenseth
to
still
overcome
in
today.
second and third.
Tony Stewart
Junior
continues
to
to
the top.
lead.
Is
He's
he
got
falling
Jamie
back?
McMurray on his bumper
I
in
think
the
so.
Daytona
I think he's just getting out of
500.
line. I don't know what Dale Jr.'s doing. Dale Jr.'s been making the most moves, though, right now. I will say that much.
NBC's
He's probably
coverage
been
of
the most fun to watch
Daytona
so far.
500 is brought to you by Coca-Cola,
He's reminding me of
the
like a
official
Ricky
soft drink of
Stenhouse Jr.
NASCAR.
right now, where you just know
By
he's not
DLP
willing to
picture
stay in line
technology
on like
from
lap
Texas
30. He's
Instruments.
just gonna
HDTV
do
doesn't
whatever
get
he
any
can
more
get
real
to
than
get to the
this.
front as quickly as he
By
can.
Allstate, official partner of NASCAR. And by the all-new 2006 Ford Fusion. Put your life in drive.
We're still in the green.
I like how it
Here in
skips
the
the
Daytona
commercials, though.
500. Tony Stewart continues to lead.
Wow,
Jeremy
Mayfield's
Mayfield
still
has
the
had
best.
problems. and has
They're
been
really
on
having a
pit road
tar-
several
they're
times,
having a
now
terrible
scored
time
5
trying to,
laps
pull that
down
fender
from the
out.
leaders.
I've never seen somebody struggle this much to pull the fender out on
And
a
up
race car
front,
before. That 19
these
team
guys
is
are
struggling right now.
Happy.
I think they're content, really, to stay in line right now. And the longer these guys up front can just stay
Man,
in
top
line.
5 are pulling away.
First, there was 15 cars in this line, and always the
See, it's
back
looking
car
like
on
the,
the draft
EA
starts
Sports
to
games.
lose to draft.
It's just
And that's what you're seeing. All these guys are starting to
running a
drop
pack
off.
for about like
You only
20
have
laps,
6 or
but if they're
7
not
cars
like
on a
side by
breakaway.
side and they get
As long
single
as these
file,
guys stay
faster
in
cars are
line,
going to start to pull
they'll
away
break
at the
away
front.
from everybody. Now, if there's a group behind them that line up and there's 10 or 12 cars,
crazy that 5
they'll
cars can
chase
just pull
this
back
group
like
back
that, though.
down. So I think
Kind
these
of saw
guys
it at
right here are
Talladega
just
a few
content on
years ago with
staying in line.
Haas.
There's something you
They
didn't
had,
see
like,
very much
4
in
of
the
their cars
past.
just
The
pulling
12
everybody.
and 2 working together. Those are team cars out of the Penske
Especially
Racing
guys that are running
Organization.
like side
12
by
is
side
Ryan
much
Newman, 2,
further back
Kurt
too
Busch,
versus
and
these
they're
guys single
gaining on
file.
this top 5.
The more friends
Handling
you have, the
mattered
faster
so
you go.
much on
Right.
Bumpy
And then
Daytona.
you see there's another group behind them with about 6 or 7 cars. If those guys will all stay in line, they'll eventually get up to that group.
Matt.
Mr. Crispin, thanks for tuning in.
Bill Ryan told me he worked a lot with
Cars
his
sound
new
good over
teammate Kurt Busch in practice, so
Yeah,
he
hopefully
knows
get-
that they
hopefully
can team
the
up
audio's
well.
all right.
The one thing
You
he
guys
was
can
hoping
hear
that
me
there
just
would be
as
some
much as you can hear
side-by-side
the,
racing up
broadcast.
front. The Indian file racing has kind of hindered their progress up to the front, but they were slowly reeling those guys in. Dave?
Matt, right behind him in the 2 is Kurt Busch. His crew chief, Roy McCauley, told me this morning that he thinks working together right now is a strong point for Penske Racing. He says the crew chiefs have worked together for quite some time, share a lot of information. The drivers, even though they have different styles,
Almost a
that's
quarter
a
of
good
the way
thing
home.
because they've both been successful and they can learn from each other.
You're right.
I wish you
Dave,
could
a lot
fast
of
forward
changes
through,
in that two-team.
commercial
Kurt Busch
breaks in
taking over that
real
ride
life.
from Rusty Wallace, who retired following last season. Rusty and Ryan didn't exactly have
Get
the
all
same
the racing
philosophies when it
action
came to
still.
setups or racing
Less
styles.
amount
Did
of
not
time.
work together very much on the racetrack.
Or dinner, or choice in cars,
Movies.
or movies.
Feel
or
5 down.
And not only is the driver different on the 2 car, I think that everybody on the team is different.
Tony
except
Stewart's
one person.
currently
About,
leading
you
for
need a race
everybody
program
over.
just for that team in itself. Coming up on
Jeff
pit
Gordon
stops, they might
was
come
leading
on
there for
green. We'll
a
step
brief
out. If
moment.
anything
So
happens,
was
we'll break in.
Kenseth for
Tony
a lap or
Stewart
2.
leads the Daytona
Sadler led on the
500.
restart, and then Jeff Burton. Poor Jeff Burton was. Oh, you got a caution
here at
again.
Daytona.
Both cautions
The
have been
caution
during commercial
flag just
breaks
came
so
out
far.
moments ago. Jeff Gordon,
Gordon.
and Tony Stewart have both been in the
Gordon
wall.
and Stewart.
You know what? First, here's the pass to the lead. You see McMurray going down on the bottom of Tony Stewart.
Tony crowded
Okay,
it.
now Stewart slides up the racetrack like he almost got loose. Gordon goes to the inside. Now Gordon's going to slide up in front of Tony Stewart. What I don't understand is why he actually almost ran or squeezed Stewart in.
That was
which
on
we've seen
Gordon
in
there.
turn
He
two a lot.
tried to
We've
clear
seen that
high on
happen.
Tony
This is the
Stewart. He
third
wasn't
time
clear when
we've
he
seen
moved
it
up
happen
and kind of
today.
knocked
You
them
mentioned
both
the
into the
wind.
wall.
When that wind blows around that corner, it's very difficult to turn that car back into the wind.
Watch this. I mean,
Now,
he just
Stewart
slides
didn't
up.
give Gordon any
He was
room
not
on this
clear.
deal. I mean, Stewart looks like he could have checked up a little bit.
That is
and
not.
given 24 room,
You wouldn't
and they
expect
both
a
probably
four-time
would've got through
champion to
corner
make that
without
kind of a move.
running into
though.
the wall.
Like Jeff
But that
Gordon's
didn't
not that
happen,
kind of
and
guy
that
to miss
damage.
time.
Got that right rear pretty good.
I mean, he was going to have him
Jeff
cleared if
Gordon's
he just
radio.
waited an extra little bit. It wasn't like he was trying to block
Gordon, a
Stewart.
three-time
Stewart
winner
lost
of the
momentum.
Daytona 500.
Gordon just pulled
comes
up
off
too
a very
soon.
disappointing 2005 season. Tony Stewart in the 20 car is the defending series champion.
But it looks to me like that both those cars have enough damage that winning the Daytona 500 is a thing of the past.
It's going to take a lot of time to fix those cars, and that's just too early in the race. You can cut a guy a little bit of slack. I think Stewart could have cut Jeff Gordon a little bit of slack there.
Yeah, the guys in the booth are
everything
Bill
would have
Weber,
been okay.
Wally Dallenbach, and Benny Parsons.
Jamie McMurray is the race leader. This comes just before the field was talking about having green flag pit
I'd like
stops,
if NBC broadcast the 500 every other year like they used
McMurray
to.
winds up being the leader, and they're already
Pit stops
thinking
again.
championship.
This is a
And
time
Tony,
where you
have
see
your
pit
five
stops
bonus
pretty much
points.
every
Car a little bit
caution
tight
at
for
Daytona
Jamie. They're going to
because
put a
tires
pound on the
bad.
right rear tire. Alan?
Steve Letarte, the crew
Everybody's
chief for
taking
Jeff
four.
Gordon, has put a helmet on. That's
Right
him
after that.
standing upright with a arm up to the radio headset by the right rear tire. He's looking on to try to
Slow
assess
stop
what the
for
damage is.
McMurray.
He's walking
My
to the
goodness,
front,
look at
making
that.
a walk around on the
23
car.
seconds.
He's making calls to his team
Pulling
about
out
what
the
they'll need to
fender
fix,
on
man.
the
The 26
24
already down
right
the way
now.
as well.
That was a
The
slow
12
stop.
of
McMurray was in.
Newman's car.
Well,
I
he was
think
in the
on
lead
tight
actually
side,
because
he will win the
he took the
battle
lead
off
from
pit road.
Stewart
They made a
before
chassis
Stewart got
adjustment. Hit pit road in
I think
third.
Ryan
AB,
Newman
what
won the
about
race out
Stewart?
of the pits.
Yeah, Tony Stewart, his team's got some damage there to repair as well. They were trying to get a good rundown from Tony about what the problems were
Jeff
on the
wanted
car.
Tony
You see the crew still working around the right rear fender to get that
to
clear
lift
of
'cause
the
it's so
tire.
early in the
Make
race.
sure that's not cutting into that good
Yeah,
gear
but you
when
don't
Tony's
really
out there
lift at
top speed.
Daytona
They also
like
want to
that.
check
I
the
mean, he
suspension
was
to make
already
sure it's
going
all still
past him. I
square.
think he just
Tony says
mistimed
the
it.
steering
I don't
was
think he was
pretty
trying to
square
block
coming
at
in,
all.
which
I
is
think
good.
he was
That means
just
they perhaps
gonna
didn't
slide
damage
up,
the right front
you know.
suspension very much.
Maybe he lost the nose
The
of his
thing
car,
is,
but
well,
there
they
wasn't
are
really
working on the
anybody
right
in
front
front of
fender
him
as
to
well. So the right
affect the
front fenders
airflow.
are the problem.
That
We'll
was
get
just
an
an error by
update on
Jeff
Tony
Gordon,
Stewart
really.
and Jeff Gordon when we come back to Daytona. The field is
Jeremy
coming in
Mayfield's
the
the only
green
car
flag
down
in
on
the
the
Daytona
bottom.
500 for a
Truex
restart
got the
on lap
free pass.
51. Ryan
So he's
Newman
back
is
on the lead
race
lap.
leader.
19
Matt
is
Kenseth
like 4 or
second.
5
Jamie
laps down
McMurray
right
had
now. He's
trouble
the
on
only
his
car.
pit stop.
He's gonna try to get a
Restarts
lap
at the
back.
rear of the field. The 20 of Tony Stewart, the 24 of Jeff Gordon.
There's been 2 cautions already.
On pit road.
Yeah, we just talked about how
I guess
important
you
these
could say that was a
bodies were.
multi-car wreck.
They just ruined hundreds of hours of
I mean,
work
nobody
just
really
in
like
that one
wrecked.
corner.
Stewart and
As a
Gordon
matter
are
of fact,
still
the
in.
24-48,
They've definitely
the
got some
decals
damage
that
on
go
the
on
right
the
side
side
of
of
the
the
car,
car, they painted
They're all the way at the
those
back,
things
too. I
rather
mean, they
than
were
have a
literally
decal that
in the top
protruded out
5.
into the air.
Especially Gordon. I mean, Gordon was up there the whole race
Stewart
up until
restarted
then. Now they're all the way at the
Jeff
back.
Gordon restarted 41st. Jamie McMurray, who
They're gonna
was
be
the leader
38th
coming to
and
pit road,
39th.
restarted
Good luck.
39th.
Make it happen. Just all he has to do is that one more time.
I think McMurray showed McMurray at the back.
Jeff
too.
Gordon trying to make up ground. Here's
Might
the
have had a pit road
conversation
penalty.
he had with his crew while we were under caution.
Michael Turner, thanks for watching.
I'm gonna blame
R6R6,
both of
welcome
us
into the
on that
stream
one
also.
now. You know, I dove underneath there. I got tight. He didn't want to give it up either.
So Gordon said he got tight over the radio.
And what Jeff
I mean, I
Gordon said,
believe it.
as
I
he's
mean, he
coming off
moved
the
up so
corner,
quickly.
He couldn't turn the car. He got tight.
It is
It went
racy
up
at the
the
back,
hill.
What are these guys doing going 3 wide for like 35th?
Tony did not want to give up that
What are these
spot,
guys
and
doing
they
back
both
here?
ran the wall off, too.
Aren't they supposed
Alan,
to
you got
drop
some
back
more?
to keep
I just
themselves
talked to
out of
Steve
trouble,
Letarte,
and they're
Gordon's
like
crew chief.
racing
The
each other
car
like
is
they're
towed
battling
up.
for the
That means
lead?
the front wheels aren't aligned the way that they want them to. They feel like they're
There's
in
a lot of
decent
good
shape
cars
as far
back
as the
there in
rest
that
of the
pack,
car.
though.
So what they're hoping
Biffle,
for is another
McMurray.
caution and another opportunity to come
Obviously,
down pit
Stewart
road
and
and fix
Gordon,
it.
if they don't
And
have
Alan,
too much
Gordon
damage.
told his crew he's going
Edwards
to
is
try and
back
make
here.
that up for them, right?
Yeah, Jeff basically apologized on the team radio.
Truex
said, I will make this up to you. And they told him basically, you just drive, and we'll get the car straight, and we'll keep going and, win this race. No sweat on their part. It's still early, right?
Yeah, it really is. They got plenty of time, and if they do catch the cautions right,
William Albright, thanks for tuning in.
that car.
Remember sitting on the backstretch watching people in the lake.
They're going to have to change the chassis a little bit depending on how the body reacts to the downforce.
Yeah, I wish they had the
situation.
backstretch
Obviously,
grandstand
the body is
seats.
not
My
perfect.
grandpa was at the
It is
2001
very
Daytona 500.
overcast
He
here
sat on
at
the
Daytona today. You can tell
backstretch.
from our pictures, it's difficult to even see the backstretch
That's the
from our
only 500
broadcast
he's ever been
location.
to.
Having trouble with our helicopter
Yeah,
as well to
tickets
keep
to,
it up
Chrysler, like
above
a
the minimum
sweepstakes or
ceiling.
something, 'cause it was the
And
first
Matt,
year
there's even a
Dodgers back
little
in NASCAR.
mist in the air, maybe.
That's what Dale Earnhardt Jr. says. He said, man, it is misting out
Said
here.
he had a
Besides
great
that,
view
they're
of the
also
Tony Stewart
battling
flip on the
a
backstretch.
breeze kind of in the turn 2 area. Bobby Labonte
Said where that wreck
reported on
started
as
was pretty
well,
much like
playing
right in front
havoc
of
for
where
some of the
he's
drivers
sitting.
off turn 2.
Martin Truex Jr. was
Kensington
the
to the
lucky
top.
dog under the previous caution.
I mean, by the eye test, looking at trying to
position.
see who has
That
the
means he gets
fastest
one
car in
lap
the
back.
race.
It is an award to the first car not on the lead lap when the caution comes
I'd
out
probably
because the
say
field is
Tony
frozen.
Stewart.
Check this
but
outside line. Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, is as strong as
Maybe not
anyone we've
anymore,
seen
though.
out there today.
Right now, Kurt Busch trying to push Ryan
I think
Newman
Kurt Busch
further in
working well
front.
together.
Jimmy Johnson in the
Penske
48.
duo on the bottom.
You know, those guys seem to be content to run in line, but as soon as they got rid of
Yeah, they just couldn't sell up those
Tony
backstretch
Stewart
seats anymore.
and Jeff
I mean,
Gordon, everyone
yeah,
wants to
right.
lead again.
It's
I think that's
unfortunate.
when the race might have started, Benny, because two of the favorites.
I mean, I do agree that like I'd much rather sit on the front stretch than the back stretch if I had my choice. I'd probably like people
they
stop
said,
going
well,
to
we
the
got
back
two of the
stretch and like,
strongest
you
cars
know
that
what, if
just
I can
had
sit on the
trouble.
front stretch and not
What's
going, or you know,
Tony saying about the
maybe I'll
20
camp or something.
I just talked to Greg Zipadelli, Wally, crew chief for Tony Stewart. He said they got all the right side sheet metal.
I mean,
The
you probably
steering
see
wheel
some good
appears to
action
be
back
straight,
there.
but they hadn't gotten the opportunity to check the toe in on the car.
Man, look at the
They
fog,
think
though.
they're in decent shape, except for the aerodynamics. They
I mean,
did
this is
poke a
before
hole in the
HD.
nose of the machine that they'll have to patch if they get another caution.
Not long
You know how
before.
important those front bumpers are, Wally, for aero and handling purposes.
Yeah, and a driver, once you bump these cars, and
There's
it
definitely
knocks
a lot
its
more
own,
fog than
you
what
can
there was
feel
at
that
the
as
start
a
of the
driver.
race,
You
though.
can feel the steering wheel. You've got the
If they're
steering
not
wheel
like
straight
close
when
up
you're
on the
going down
cars,
straightaway.
when they have the aerial
Once you
shots,
run
it
into
is really
somebody
hard
or
to see
somebody
what's
runs
going
into
on.
you,
They are
all of a
racing at the
sudden
front of the
you're
field
holding the steering wheel at a
again.
different angle
They were
to
kind
keep
of
the car
calm up in
going
the front,
straight.
but then
So
even
you
when they
know
were kind
you
of single
bent
file and
something or
calm,
knocked
they're still in
something
that wreck
out of
when
whack.
Gordon got tight
That
in
can
front
be
of Stewart.
fixed if you haven't bent it too
Kinda knocked
much
them both into the
during
wall.
a pit stop
Look
under
how easy
caution.
that is.
And
It
that
almost
was
looks like
allowed
it's
here at
misty.
Daytona.
Dave,
The
a couple
cameras
of
look like
Penske
there's like
cars up
drops on
front.
them.
And
when
Bill,
they
you
pan
talked
out.
about two good cars not being contenders right now. Kurt Busch said this on the radio during
Do
this
a
caution.
tier list for
Hey,
last
we've got
season?
two good guys out.
I mean, I don't
Everyone
plan
out
on.
here
I
is
do.
gonna turn
I do
into
plan on a couple
cannibals.
videos
Brickhouse,
coming out.
That's his
this
spotter.
weekend.
He said, "Brickhouse, we gotta be smooth. Watch out for me."
Either Sunday or Monday.
I'll tell you what, that-
Probably
that
one on
mist
Sunday and one on
seems to be
Monday of
getting
kind of year-end videos from
more
this season. Though.
than missed.
Be quiet.
Oh, sorry.
Won't
Did
specify
BP say
exactly.
that?
I didn't hear him.
I didn't hear him
Is he
either.
even in the room? Marty?
Well, Matt Kenseth trying to make that outside line work. Kyle Busch pushing him, and you guys mentioned Matt doing awfully well up there as he goes into the lead.
Hit that like
His
button,
car
everybody.
actually, believe it or not, guys, was
Try to
loose
get
on
the
that
50
last run.
likes
First car
tonight.
I've heard loose on pit
We're
road.
at 19
Half pound
right
out of the
now.
right rear tire, 3/4 of a round of wedge in the right rear, and obviously they got it right, didn't they?
Yeah, if you can.
Yeah, we'll
have
be
the car
doing
a
this
little
every
bit
week,
loose or
watching
just on
Old
the other
Daytona
side a little
500
looser,
every Thursday
just take
night
a little bit of that
on the
out.
channel at 6.
Conditions are perfect for that kind of a setup right now.
I don't know about
He's got the
Thanksgiving, but
5 car
the other
behind him.
Thursdays for sure.
Got to be careful, Kyle.
Might
doesn't get
reschedule
too
Thanksgiving
close to the
for,
bumper of Matt Kenseth in
that
the 17
Friday.
car in the corners. Because if Matt is
Friday
a
or
little bit
Wednesday
loose,
before.
that's just going to make the problem
Or Tuesday.
10 times worse in the corners.
We'll have to
So
reschedule
it's okay
that.
if Kyle goes
And
up
every
and hits
other
him in
week
the
outside
bumper
of
on the
that, we
straightaways.
plan on being
Just
every
wants to give him a
Thursday this
little room in the
offseason.
corners.
And then even during the
Matt
season,
Kenseth
this
out
does
in
well enough. We'll
front
be
in the Daytona 500. Troubles for
doing that during the
20
season as
Tony
well.
Stewart and the 24 of Jeff
If they have
Gordon,
the third
but a
caution during the
long
commercial
way
break,
to
they
go.
need to just stop cutting the commercial.
NBC's coverage
They
of
must
the
still be
48
racing.
Daytona 500 is brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR.
It's like, all right, come
This
on, we
is
don't want to see this
Budweiser.
anymore. Show the
This
race,
is
show the
beer.
race.
You know all that stuff about people being patient and wait until the end of the race? Forget about it. Kyle Busch in the 5 in the middle.
They wreck
Mark
again?
Martin, the AAA car on the
Martin
inside,
kinda
they
hit-
make
oh,
contact.
geez.
Kyle Busch almost goes up
How
into
did they not wreck?
Casey Mears on
That's
the
incredible.
outside in that dark car. And meanwhile, they're
Mark
lined
Martin
up
kind
3
of
by
clipped the
3
apron and then
behind
washed
them.
up the track. See, even
And it
in
has
his
gotten
video
very
games,
racy.
kind of portray some realistic aspects of racing.
Check out Tony Stewart, the 20 car. He is working his way through
Tony
the field.
Stewart is up to
Last time
15th
by, he
already.
was
How do you get
16th.
through that mess?
And folks, when I say aggressive, that's an understatement.
Okay, he still has the fastest car, I
Might be
believe.
inspired, Alan.
Even after hitting the wall, he still has the fastest car. Look at him make a move.
How about 3 wide underneath? underneath his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate.
He's not even
Denny
content with
Hamlin
working with
at
his
11.
teammate.
Tony
He's
Stewart
just going to
hasn't
take
said
him
much on
3
the
wide.
radio at all
He just
since
put
they've
his
gone back
teammate
to
in
racing.
second.
I think his actions on the track speak for themselves. The fact that his car
It's so
can't be in all
foggy.
that bad a shape, and that he is determined to
I
get
can't
back
remember
to
if
the
there was
front
a
and have shot
delay
to
or
win this
not,
race.
honestly. There might have been a delay.
Jeff Burton was our pole sitter.
Joshua Rumsey, thanks for watching.
Forward after dropping back, we'll be working our singular race talk poll here. Which driver will benefit the most from his new team in 2006? Here before we selected
which
the
driver
vote
most
on.
benefited from his
You do
team
that
in
by
2006?
texting
Was it
the
Kurt Busch,
race
Jimmy
phone
McMurray, Bobby
wireless phone, or
Labonte?
go to NASCAR.com and
Honestly,
we'll
probably
have the
Kurt
results
Busch, but I
later.
don't think any of them really
Wally is
benefited in
eligible.
06.
You know,
I think Kurt Busch might have made the
spoke a little
chase.
bit
I
too
think he was the
soon
only
on
one of those
Tony
guys that
Stewart's
did.
chances of winning
I'll
the
go with
Daytona
Kurt Busch, I guess,
500 in that 20 car. Man, he was coming to that feat.
When something like that happens to you, Benny and Wally, you believe you might be at fault.
From an
You know
equipment
you've let
standpoint,
a lot
you would think
down,
Penske would be better
and
than
you're
those
already
other
driving hard,
three
but you
teams.
find something within
Well,
you to
McMurray
drive
with
harder.
Roush, I mean, you probably could have guessed that.
Well, yes, I think that's, you know, in that situation, those guys are probably pretty
Hindsight,
mad at
obviously, is
themselves
what I
right
was
now.
answering that
And
question
obviously,
based off
you know, you're still going to drive
Kevin
just
Silly,
as hard as you were before. You're hoping
Tony
that
Stewart's
the car,
back in the top 10.
the biggest thing is making sure that the
Maybe
car
just he might be about
is
12.
capable of what it was doing before you
Jeff
hit the
Gordon's
wall.
still back in
That's the thing you
32nd.
feel bad
I
about
mean,
it.
just
You
for
want to make sure
reference,
that
like,
you
he
didn't
and Gordon-
screw the car up. So right now,
Stewart and Gordon were all the
Stewart's
way at the
giving that
back.
car everything
Yeah,
he
look
can
at that.
give
He
it.
was
Make sure
literally
that
went
next time they
12
come in for
laps.
pit
He
stop,
went from
they
36
don't
to
have to make a
12.
big change. And if they do, Tony will tell them.
I think the car is probably
In 12 laps, that's insane.
It was as fast before as
Ashley
it is
G,
now.
thanks for
He's
tuning
just
in.
been much more aggressive with the car than he was before. Alan, once he said on
It looks
the
like
radio,
the fog is worse in the corners
First
than
of
when they're
all,
on
I
the
don't think it's
straightaways.
himself that he's mad at. If you know where I'm going with that. And second
Stewart
of all,
just whipping
this
that
is the
line.
part now in this run on this set of tires that they'll start to get
He's got a
concerned
push.
about.
He's going
Any
3 wide
handling
again. He's got Jeff Burton
deficiencies
and
that your
Brian
car
Vickers
has
up
are going
high.
to show up after
Casey
15
Kane
laps.
kinda went
That's
with him,
when
so
the
it helped him
tires start to give up the grip that
upwards
they've
in the
had when
momentum.
they're brand new. So now
Not
we're going to
clear
see
yet,
if Tony Stewart's got anything he
Tony
needs
Stewart
to
is not
compensate
phased
for
by
on
getting
the next
into the
pit
wall.
stop,
He made a
because now
great
he's
save
beginning to get
early
to
in
that
the
point
race,
where they've
too. He
run
made a
15
great
laps on
save.
this set of tires.
Proved he's got like the
Gordon
fastest
say,
car.
I'll take 50% of the blame.
I was saying
and
that Dale
pass
Jr.'s
50%
been
of
the
blame.
funnest to watch
What
this
Alan's
race. I
saying
might
is
say
that
Tony
wants to
Stewart
pass
might have
100% of the blame to the
taken the
24.
Agree, that's what he
taking the
said.
lead
That's
in
what he
that
said,
department.
Like I said, all he had to do was
Finally
just cut
cleared
him
the
some
31
slack,
to 25.
and he wouldn't be in this predicament right now.
Which is pretty much what Gordon
Watch
said
the race from start to
on the
finish.
radio.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I don't really remember
Matt, how about
this
Earnhardt?
500
Bill,
too
the good
much.
news for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Recall
I
back
don't know
on Thursday
why.
in his qualifying race, he had some major right
it was
front
probably-
tire wear
I-
issues. Now, the tires that
7
came
years,
up,
6,
his
7
car at the
years
last
old.
stop, they look great. They told him that. He says, all right, now I know I can push it a
I can
little bit
remember some
harder.
of them
The
before
car, though, is
this,
still
kind of
pushy. Means it just
more
won't
vividly than
turn
this one.
in the
I think it's
corner
just
when
'cause I
he
never
wants
really
to.
went
But
back
his
and
spotter,
rewatched
Steve
this
Neal,
race.
said, look, just to let
I
you know,
remember,
the
like I
20
said,
is
the
now
finish,
just 2 cars back, and
but I
he's
really don't
moving
remember
really
a lot
fast through the
leading up
pack.
to it.
Alan?
Kevin Harvick, we haven't really talked about him since we saw him get that bag removed on the on-roof TV camera on the pace laps. Kevin, in the early going of the race, complained that his car just didn't seem to want to run. It
NASCAR
didn't have
Loud,
the
thanks for tuning
horsepower
in.
feel that it
The
had,
Foggy 500,
in
yes it
practice
is.
yesterday. When he came down pit road, they were looking to add some tape to one of the oil
Yeah,
cooler openings
the,
on the
the
left
fog
side
race.
to get the engine oil
like
temperature
fog.
up higher than it was in the car. Maybe they've boosted that horsepower by just enough to make him a contender.
Jamie McMurray, who had a problem with a jack on the pit stop and had to give up the lead, make a second pit stop under the caution,
still
restarted
42 cars
39th,
on the lead
has
left.
worked his way into the middle of this pack in 14th
2
spot.
cautions so far, and they're on
I
lap
don't know what they were
88.
doing with the oil. The hotter they get the oil, the thinner it becomes, and less resistant that the moving parts have inside the engine.
Kind of a 3-car breakaway.
Matt
Kenseth's doing
Kenseth,
both the
Kurt Busch,
Penske Dodges.
Ryan Newman, Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson
pulling
up front
away.
will go through the field when we come back to Daytona.
Harvick and Earnhardt. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely mist on the camera.
Still green here at Daytona. Matt Kenseth continues to lead. Log on to NBC Sports.
This has to be an
for
absolute
much more on
nightmare for the
Daytona
spotters.
500. There's commentary from Alan Bestwick and Benny Parsons, as well as
I mean, if the
BP's
cameras are showing this much
weekly
fog, you'd
Nextel
have to
Cup race
imagine the
previews.
spotters
I can't decide
up in the
it's
air
all
are
at
just
NBC
like,
Sports.
yeah, don't go side by side anymore because I can't see you.
Got your preview for California done yet?
No, not
Just
yet.
try to stay in
Gotta wait till
line
this
for
race
right
is
now.
over.
That's a good idea. idea. Okay, throughout the season, we take you through the field. At these restrictor plate races, it's more like
go through the field
around the
again.
field. But we'll start with the 17-car Matt Kenseth, and here's Marty.
No getting around
Last
the fact
time they did
Matt
that,
Kenseth is the
Mayfield
man
about
up front.
wrecked.
And
They had
earlier
to-
we told you he was loose. Now we say the car
there wasn't
is
a caution
tight.
from
And
it.
asked Robbie Reiser, how do you go from loose to tight so quickly? He said,
Where are
mainly
the
because of the
headlights?
mist out there. The track
Okay.
is a lot slicker. So now
I mean, the
that's
crazy
a little
thing
bit
is
too
they have the
tight.
track lights on, but
Kurt
you
Busch in the
can't
2
tell.
car continuing
I mean,
to
you couldn't
run
even
in the
tell with
second
track
position.
lights on.
The car was just a little bit free at the start of that run, wanted to turn a little too easily. He said, right now, though, we're sitting pretty. I like where I am, Matt.
You guys voted for me to
Dave,
watch
his
this one
teammate
this week.
Ryan Newman in the
MC Videos,
number
thanks for
12
tuning in.
right in his mirror now. On the first stop, no changes for Newman. They made a slight chassis adjustment to fix the tight condition on
It's
the
just
second stop,
overcast.
Alan.
There's
He says
no
he
fog,
is
it's just
flat-footing it through
overcast.
turns 1 and 2.
That's a good sign for him. Kevin Harvick having good signs as well. He's moved his way up to the 4th position now.
I haven't seen like any underdogs up there towards the front of the field at all today. It's pretty much been the usual suspects at the
more
time.
front downforce on the car and help it turn better in the corners. Kevin running in 4th. Matt?
Dale Jr. has tried up top, he's tried the middle, and now he's on the bottom, still fighting.
Again,
a
hit that like
terrible
button, guys.
push in that
Subscribe
8
for more
car.
daily NASCAR content,
Hey,
live
buddy.
race commentary,
Jimmy Johnson
pretty much every day.
says
No
his car
commentary for this
is
because these
not
are
handling to
old
his
race watch
liking
logs. It's
right
the
now,
first
though
time
it's
me
not
doing
bad.
this.
He liked it
We'll be doing
better
it
when he
every
was running behind
Thursday,
Jeff Gordon versus Dale Earnhardt
starting with
Jr.
Daytona
He also
500s
likes it better
until the
on the
start of
bottom
the
of the track.
season.
Says he just can't
And
get the car
then
to
we
work
will be
right over the
doing
top lane, Marty.
Mark Martin's just trying to cling to
hopefully
that front
every
draft
week
as best
from
he
that
can. About
point
10
on.
laps from pit stops, Alan. Mark says they need to take a big swing
During
at
the
it on the
season
next
as well,
stop. His
depending on what
car
track they
just
go
will
to.
not turn, meaning it's too tight. He wants 2 rounds of wedge in the right rear on that next stop.
7-car
Elliott
breakaway
Sadler
at the front of the
has
field.
lost that
Sadler's
front
leading
back,
Group
but
2.
leading
There's
that
about a
second
second
back. His
difference
car
between
tighter than what he
Martin
needs,
in
he says.
7th and then
The car
Sadler in 8th,
was
but he's
loose
only got
earlier
4
on, but
cars
now
with
it's too
him.
tight. Jamie McMurray from the back to the front. He said he
Bobby
was a little
Labonte in the
worried he would,
43 is
quote,
in,
use up his stuff
11th.
getting to the front and burn up those tires, but he's done a good job working his way back into
Outside
the
of
top
that,
10.
though, I don't really
Rounding
see
out
like
the top
any.
10 is the
I mean,
famous
even
43,
Labonte at
Bobby
this time, you
Labonte.
wouldn't have thought of him
Great
being
race
an
going
underdog,
so far.
considering he went from
Tuesday, before
mids
they
to
came down to Speed Weeks, a new attitude. They handed
43,
out
42.
T-shirts, and it said "New Attitude" on the back.
Equipment-wise, you know, looking
That's
back
exactly
on
what
it,
Bobby's
you
doing
could say
now.
that
The
that
car
was the case.
almost
But going
perfect.
into it,
Casey Kane's team made no chassis adjustments on the last stop. He reported on lap 70, however, that his car has become very loose into the corner. He said, but let's leave it for right now. Let's not overreact. As for the 31 car of Jeff Burton, the pole
Yeah,
sitter
Lowski's
today,
definitely out
he
there.
has made mistakes on 2 pit stops. He
My
confessed
favorite
to his
Lowski,
team. First
I
stop
actually have a
stalled, bleeding.
diecast of it
Second stop
when
hit
it
too
was
close to
the,
the wall. That has cost him
2003
positions on the racetrack.
Pride of
He
America
is
car,
racing
his,
hard to get
Coke
back to the
600
front.
car from
5-car
2003.
going
That was
high
always
now,
my
letting
favorite,
Tony
Jimmy
Stewart get
Johnson's.
by. That's Kyle Busch. After lap 51 restart, they were hit fixed to tight condition, they thought, but he just radioed in 20 laps later. We're still tight as a
Lowest
son of a gun.
diecast I have, I think it was
Well, Tony Stewart just moving up
2000. It might
another
be
spot
this
to
season. It's
13th.
either
He took the
2005
restart
or
in
2006.
32nd place after the long
But
pit
I
stop to
think
repair
it's
the damage of the earlier crash with Jeff Gordon at lap 47. You might think Tony'd have a lot to talk about on the radio. The only thing he's complaining about is the weather. Marty?
Alan Sterling Marlin has had a very
Oh,
strong
okay,
car
I didn't
today.
realize
He's feeling
Sterling
he's
Marlin
kinda
was up
waiting
there,
back
too.
there to make his
14
move. The car
car.
was tight earlier. Now the car's been a
I mean,
little
he's
bit
a
too
good
loose for
super
Sterling.
speedway
He
racer,
wants
though,
him to
too.
pull the left front fender
It's not
on the
overly
next stop. A little
surprising.
worried it may rub later on, Alan.
Well, Jeff Gordon dropped all the way back to 37th spot with
Casey
his long
Kane
pit
was
stop for
trapped.
damage repair. He's picked his way
I mean, he
through to
won almost
28,
20
although
races
he's
in
about
his
to lose
career. I
one of
would say
those
crap.
back to Kyle Petty. Jeff talking about still needing some work done. The toe out still a problem for him.
on average, he won about a race a season.
on this set of tires.
If he can do that,
Thanks, guys.
You're-
42
you're a solid
of 43
driver.
cars on the lead lap. Pit stops coming.
I'm not
We
saying he's a
return to the
championship
Daytona
contender by, or
500
was a
on
championship contender
NBC.
by any means, but he was a solid driver. He's a serviceable driver. Oh boy, we got a wreck. That was just coming back from the commercial
has just
too.
occurred in turn 3. Kyle Petty
One
is
car is like
involved.
on top of
JJ Yeley
another.
in the
That was at the
18.
back of the
That's
pack
Carl
because
Edwards in the
Edwards
99.
Edwards was like in
Someone's
38th
fun
and
going to
39.
turn
This was
3
the
and
this was
backed
the
across
group that was
racetrack
standing at the
in
back
front
to
of
make
all
sure they
these
didn't
cars
wreck.
and left them no place to go.
Wow,
Might have
look
been
at all the
Kyle.
damage
I'm
on
not sure
Kyle
exactly
Petty's
who
car.
it was.
I think the 99 drove up
Here are the
on his
replays.
left rear
We're
and
under
kind of
caution at Daytona.
tore the left side of the car up.
Tire on that left rear, VP, the 45 car. Let's
How did
see.
these guys
There's
wreck?
Jeff. Ah, wow.
Dale Jarrett
Green
made
breaks
contact.
loose through the grass,
I
then
think
up
Jarrett
the
might have
track.
turned to 66.
Strange crash.
Oh man, there was nowhere to
Right
go.
hand check.
Almost. I mean,
Yeah,
right
99
in the
drove up
door.
over the left rear.
Looked like
I mean,
Schrader
that's
did
what
a
it
good
looked
job
like,
getting
the way he was
around
kind
it,
of sitting on his
21.
car.
And left those guys with absolutely no place to go.
Edwards was so close to flipping there. Look at his front. The right front tire's off the car. The whole front. I mean, he's still lucky he didn't just climb up over top of it. Wow.
Hard impact there.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jeff Green got drilled too when he came back across the
Kyle
field.
Petty.
wonder why Jeff Green lost it there going into the corner. It looked a little bit strange, BP. I couldn't put my
I think Dale Jarrett
finger on
might
why
have
he lost
gotten
it
into the right
before he
rear
even got to the corner.
of Jeff Green, and that's what caused him
a little
to
bit and see if we can
go down the
have
track.
some
I
idea
am
what happened.
shocked
I'm
at
not
how
sure exactly,
tore
like
apart
you.
Kyle Petty's car is.
Didn't look right.
That
And
is
Dave
wild.
Burns had just told us Carl Edwards was running back there because he wasn't very happy with the way his car was handling, wouldn't turn.
They didn't
It
miss
won't
that
turn
wreck
now.
due to the commercial. I like how they came back from the break as it was
Third
happening.
caution of the day, and
Because
once
the
again
first
it
two
comes
cautions were
just
during the
before
commercial
these
break,
guys
and
were
then this
thinking
one
they
was
might have
almost
to
during the
make a
commercial
green
break.
flag pit stop. Corvette pace car has the field in tow. Matt
Kenseth's
Kenseth, the
still in the
race
lead.
leader. Okay, we broke
Probably
out
be
a
seeing some
commercial
pit
to
stops
show
again.
you
There
that.
hasn't
We'll
been
finish
any
that
green
break,
flag
come back for
stops
pit
in the
stops
race.
at Daytona.
Carl Everett, Jeff Green, Kyle Petty, J.J. Yaley, and Joe Nemechek were involved.
NBC's coverage of the 48th Daytona 500 is brought to you by Bank of America.
So much
Keep
more
the change.
aerodynamic.
Only from Bank of America, the easy way to help you save.
Not with Petty's
And
car,
by
that's
the
what you're
Home Depot,
playing.
NASCAR's home improvement
Done it
warehouse.
for you, yeah. That was like towards the back though. Like those are all the guys
Pit
that were
road
just
is
kind
open. The
of waiting
24
for
has
the big
been
one
on and
somewhere
off
around
of
the
pit
track,
road
just
with
kind
a
of riding
tire
around, biding
problem.
their
We'll
own
update
time.
that in a second. The leaders are in their pits, Marty.
Leader Matt Kenseth, Bill said his car was just a little bit
CK5.
tight on that run.
Seattle,
They've been loose
Washington
today,
is
also
where this
tight.
is.
They're going to put a pound in the right rear tire.
Broadcast.
That's it, Dave.
Kurt Busch gives up second position. They made an adjustment
Never been to
before
Seattle.
that made the car too loose. They put that adjustment back, plus 4
Let's
fresh
see,
tires.
Washington.
Alan.
Tony Stewart, his crew chief Greg Zipadelli asked
Nemechek's
me
the
why
race
any
today. I
changes.
think he
said,
ran
no,
Xfinity
just put 4
Series
tires on it.
part-time.
We're pretty fast, Matt.
Dale
couple
Jr. sure
races.
wants significant changes. Already made a wedge. Now going to make
Yeah,
left side
Cubs.
tire change.
Yes, that
A
Cubs
little bit of trouble on the left front, and he is away. They also made an air pressure adjustment
Slow
in the
stop
right
on the
rear.
lead. Oh, no, it wasn't slow.
Mad
He
dash
gained a
off
couple
of pit
spots.
road.
I think Johnson
Alan,
came
how
out
about
with the
Gordon?
lead.
Well, the reason he came down pit road the first time, Bill, was because he had a flat right front tire. So they wanted to get that changed. They also want to get a look at the suspension components under that right front tire to make sure he didn't grind anything off coming around the track on the flat tire. So they're going to bring the car back down pit road. They're going to check that right side suspension. They're going to come around to the left, and crew chief Steve Letard's going to crawl under the car and have a look at the left side and see what they might be able to do to help this car for later.
Okay, Alan, thanks a lot. Now here's why we're under caution.
The 66 just looked like it kind of turned to the right and drove into
I
Terry
think the
Labonte,
88
and
got
I-
into
I-
his
I
right
still
rear.
don't see
They are kind of
what
failing
caused
to
that
mention
wreck.
that on the broadcast.
Yeah.
It is tough to tell from that angle,
I
but
really don't know.
it looked like
I
the
know what
88
caused it
got
for these
into the
guys,
right
but I
rear of the
wasn't
66, which
sure what
caused him to
caused it
go
for Jeff
up,
Green.
make contact with the
And
car on
I'm
the
assuming
outside,
that
and
the
then he
24
lost
car now
control
is
coming back down
behind
the
this
track.
and is going through.
I mean, once he was going through the
or-
grass and then came back up.
Watch him. He's just coming into the right-hand side of the picture.
Yeah, I mean, at full
Right behind
speed, though,
Gibbs,
Joe
right on 21
Nemechek
car.
definitely hit the right
Comes
rear
down
of
on
Jeff
the
Green's car
apron.
pretty hard.
You can see the debris all
Just the
over the
tire
place
bouncing from
through the
Edwards'
grass.
car.
Yeah, he could have very well just picked up some debris, ran it over, and got that flat tire.
He's already been to his pit stall and heads back out. So under caution here at Daytona with 119 laps to go.
It's still a little over half of the race.
And now
left.
Hal, Ford, Life and Drive. And I'll remind you that is a ride with Carl Edwards, not Wally Dallenbach, so you will be safe.
He's already had one thrill ride today.
And he was flying, too,
Yes,
when he did
was.
it.
Didn't like either of them. Crews go to work in the garage.
I don't think Kyle invited him either. Watch that. Right in the window.
Wow.
Kyle Petty.
Wonder what that looked like from Kyle
Take a
Petty's
look at
race
the
car.
Craftsman pit summary. Tell you that Jeremy Mayfield was the lucky dog. He gets a lap back. Awarded that
Well,
by
Mayfield gets
NASCAR.
another lap back. He was
Kenseth.
5 laps down.
His crew held
Was
serve,
he like 3
comes in
down now?
first, Goes out first. How about Busch? He goes back
I'm
to
curious
fifth.
to see where
And
Jeremy
Harvey
Mayfield
Deans at
finishes
one
in
spot
this
up to
race. Do you
second.
guys think
Robbie
he's going to
Reiser,
get back
the
in
crew
the
chief
lead
for
lap?
Matt Kenseth, kept that pit crew intact
Yes
during the
or no, down in
offseason.
the
That was
chat.
hard to do. A lot of teams wanted those guys.
Joel
but
Ford,
Robbie
thanks for tuning
kept his
in.
pit crew is over the wall
Yeah,
guys
Gen
together.
4
Had a good
cars.
stop,
We're in
got a lot of the
the
lead.
Gen 7, technically, at the next
Field
one.
coming to get the green flag, completing lap 84.
The last
200 in the
full-time year in
Daytona
06 that they
500.
used these cars. And they used them for most of the season in 07, but they ran the car tomorrow, which was technically the 5th generation.
Kind of
For the
spread
short
out on that
tracks.
restart, Benny.
Well, they sure did.
I think they might have used it
Watch
for
the
one
restart, check with
Talladega
Maury.
races, too. They tested it on some of
Edwards
the...
has surveyed the damage on his
tracks
99
like
car,
that.
and did you have time to slow down for that one, Carl?
Yeah, that's, I apologize to Kyle Petty and all his fans and his sponsors. Could have done a better job of slowing down. I saw Green, though, slide with such force up the track. I knew all those guys were wrecking, and they were going to be coming down, so I went to the bottom, and I got Kyle. And that wasn't Kyle's fault. He did a great job to avoid it. I didn't do the best job I could have, and for that, I apologize to my crew and everybody. But, oh, well, we'll go to Fontana, but that's very frustrating.
There's some heavy right front damage on the 99 car, and doubtful they will get back in, but they are certainly going to effort doing so.
Again, hopefully you can hear
his parts to apologize.
the audio of the actual race and everything pretty well, as well as my audio.
So maybe next time he will.
Kevin Harvick grabbed the lead.
Carl Edwards is
J.J. Yaley in the 18
just
car treated and released from the infield care center. You wouldn't expect
Kevin
anything
Harvick
but that
leads.
from Carl.
No, really.
Although he was frustrated, I believe, in the Bud shootout.
Not at a fellow driver, but
yes.
Oh, here we go. Junior's going for the lead. He goes by Kenseth.
Junior's
going
to take the lead for the first time.
lead,
Oh my
out,
gosh, Joe
out.
Nemechek. Oh my
Nemechek,
goodness,
the
get off the
Walker
track,
running his
Joe.
way.
and that was nice of Kevin Harvick
Oh my
to give
goodness.
Junior the room. He
That
didn't have
takes
to
your
do that
breath
either.
away. Even though the race was like
But nobody's going to give him any
14
back.
years ago.
He's going to lose
Oh my
about
gosh.
maybe
Junior
7 or
really-
8, 9 spots
Junior's
here.
trying to make the pass on
you can
Harvick, and then
imagine how
Joe
the fans
Nemechek
feel.
running like
Dale
half
Earnhardt
speed,
Jr.
just about
back in front of
LePage the
Daytona.
field.
Now, have they adjusted the chassis
Wow.
properly on this 8
David
car?
McKeon,
And he's
thanks
able
for
to
tuning in.
stay in front.
It seems like they're gaining on it, BP. It seems like he's really good at after a pit
There's an
stop.
apron,
then
Joe.
The car fades, but it went longer this
Use
last
it.
time. So it seems like that they are catching up with it. Is that right, Matt?
I mean, he came
Well,
up out of
that's
nowhere.
exactly
It was
what
like
Junior said on the
in-frame
last
Dale
caution. He
Jr.,
felt
Kevin
like they've
Harvick,
really
then
made a lot
quickly
of
in-frame
gains
Joe
on that
Nemechek,
red
lack
number
of
8
speed.
on the tight conditions, slowly
I mean,
getting
the fact
where
that
he
the
wants to be.
2098
In
were
fact,
able to
Steve
stay off
Neal,
each other
when you
when that
saw him
happened.
make that great move down in 3 and 4, said, boys, that's another
Yeah, the
one
black
for the
car was
highlight film.
Nemechek. He was
Junior
involved
back
in
out
that
front.
last accident.
Hey, Matt, this weather has
Running
to
like
be a
half
curveball
speed.
for these guys. It was 80
Especially
degrees and sunny.
if they didn't black flag him before, I'd imagine they're going to black flag him
Absolutely.
this time.
Bonnie said it earlier that the car was just way too tight due to the weather conditions, but he has dialed his race car in, running in the 10th position.
You almost
But
couldn't
Steve
tell who
Neal
it
also
was
said,
'cause
you
it
know,
happened so
those
quickly.
days
Yeah,
at
it was
Pocono
Nemechek.
in the morning when the fog is out and it's a little too early to get out on the racetrack, I feel like we're at Pocono because it is foggy.
It does look like Pocono.
And it doesn't feel like Florida, does it? Tony Stewart trying to work his
Stewart's
way
still
back
in
up
12th.
through the
He's gotta
field.
been
Let's check
stuck
in the
in
garage
12th
and
ever
update on
since
Kyle
he-
Petty.
And Bill, the
Came
left
from the
side
back
of Kyle
of the
Petty's
pack.
car is just simply gone. Carl Edwards
Talking
said
to Kyle
that
Petty
was
right
his
now.
fault, and he apologized to you, Kyle. What was your take on it?
No, I don't think it was Carl's fault. Carl and I got together, obviously, after somebody just run all over there. Poor Jeff Green. He's just out there minding his own business and gets run over. And then it's a typical Daytona, Talladega type wreck where the wreck's happening up in front, but you get run over from behind. And that's the way it is. You think you got it dodged. Just a bad day for the Wells Fargo Dodge today, you know what I mean? So, hey, the first of many. We got a lot more races to go.
Kyle told me, he said, I'm an eye full of that 99 car. That's all I know.
That whole Petty Enterprises
When did Petty
group,
retire?
as we talked about in the Through the Field, is really fired
It
up
had to have been somewhere
about
around
this
here. I
season.
can't remember.
And he
if
said that someone
drove
run over Jeff
car
Green. Well,
tomorrow
Jeff
or
Green was
not.
his driver last year. He's no longer in the 43, but
I know he was commentating
Kyle,
for TNT.
felt sorry
at
for
Prices has Kyle's
09.
car, the 45 and the 43.
Was
driven
08
this
his last
year
season?
by Bobby Labonte. Up front, Kurt Busch is trying to push Matt Kenseth past Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Doing a pretty good job of it, too. Junior needs
Exactly.
Jimmy Johnson, that 48 car, to get right up on his bumper in order to help him. There's too much gap in between those two cars.
He
So
lost the lead
they
again
need
to
to run
Kenseth from
tighter
the
on the
outside. They
bottom
get
in order
racy
to
again though at the front.
hang on to lead. Oh, we go 3 wide there. Bobby Labonte.
It's like they get racy, then they kind of like get strung out, and then by that time the caution comes out and they're all bunched together again when they get racy. They're racy when they're there. Oh gosh.
Yeah, I would like to know exactly what
Somebody
happened to
about
Jeff Green.
ran into the
watch
back of
this, Marty
Sadler,
Last.
who was
Yeah, you
whacking
hear a lot of
bunch
hammers
speed
back here in the
middle.
background. And Jeff, what happened to
Talking
start all
Jeff
that?
Green, too.
I think that's 88 that we were, Kyle, Petty, myself were really working good on the bottom. It's kind of a unnecessary evil, I guess, because we was working the bottom so good, nobody would go with us. Got up on the inside of the 88, got up on the inside of the Terry Labonte. Down the back straightaway, 88 turned me in the right rear and turned me in the fence. I know I gave him plenty of room because I was on the inside of Terry and I wasn't crowding him. So, I don't know, it's just like a rookie move, but blame rookies all you want. That's a veteran. He shouldn't have done that. So just toward my best back car is the best opportunity I've ever had to run and have a competitive car here, and these Best Buy guys gave me that, and Dale Jarrett took it away. So it's pretty disappointed with him right now.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Green talked about Dale Jarrett running into him too. It did seem like that.
Marty.
What I thought.
That usually happens after we have these race cars. Some of them, they try to repair them, and sometimes those pieces fall off.
Tape doesn't stick as well.
Oh, debris. How'd they see that?
That looks like a spring rubber.
All the fog. You mean to tell me they saw that little
the
piece?
Lucky dog. He gets a lap back.
Something
the highest scored
laying on the
car
back
not
straightaway?
running on the lead lap. Now,
you almost couldn't even see it through all the camera angles until like
and
zoomed
the 88
in.
when the caution came out for the Jeff Green wreck. That's Dale Jarrett.
Okay, we see the 88 is on the outside of the 66. What Jeff is saying that somehow the left front of Dale Jarrett's car makes contact with his right rear. The angle we had, it's impossible to see.
But that makes sense. Yeah. Now that you look at it that way, that's exactly what happened.
Kyle had a good view of it, and obviously Jeff felt it. And that led to the wild ride for Carl Edwards. There's the UPS Ford of Dale Jarrett. Pit road will be open this time.
Walker Brown.
But how many of these lead lap cars will give up their track position?
Or wins at Daytona.
If they don't come, the guys behind them will.
Yeah.
So pit road's going to be busy. The question is how busy?
3 of them in the 500.
There we can see the left front fender on the 88 car. And, you know, there's not really any visible damage.
Yeah, you can see right there in that decal, BP.
Yeah, right where it says the Cleveac, you can see it.
Right there, there's some rubbing going on.
And it doesn't take much.
It doesn't take anything here. I'm telling you what, these cars are on the verge of wrecking every lap anyway. And when you're driving these cars at this racetrack, it just feels like if you look at the guy's fender the wrong way, you can make him get sideways.
And in the Bank of America Countdown to Green, we talked about how air can play such a huge factor in that
I remember
kind of
him running like pretty much back
left
marker
front
cars.
bumper into somebody's rear quarter panel.
All right.
Actually, he was in the Xfinity series running like back marker stuff for a while in the 2010s.
Looks like Paul coming down pit road. Marty?
Well, Matt Kenseth said, Robbie Reiser, you're the crew chief. You're making the decision on this one. I'm not going to.
Oh, Kenseth's got like one of those first couple
two tires
boxes.
only. Right side for Matt. So the car was a little tight on that run, but he was not unhappy with it. Dave?
Crew chief, I'm thinking about no tires, fuel only, or 2. Kurt Busch, I'm all about 2. No changes to the chassis. 2
okay, so
right-side
Kurt
tires.
Busch is going 2 tires.
Jimmy Johnson made
this is where we start to see the strategy now that we're in the second half of the race. It'll look like right sides for Johnson.
Making a chassis adjustment for Junior.
Oh man, Kenseth had to go in the grass and miss the 41.
He is away. AB, what about the 20?
Tony Stewart's team getting 4 tires on their stop. We'll go back and double check for sure. Wow. But Stewart heading out onto the racetrack.
That was
6th in line.
Great pit stop from Tony Stewart's team if he took 4.
There's one car stalled on pit road. Matt Kenseth had to go through the grass.
Oh, he stalled.
To avoid contact on pit road.
I didn't realize the 41 stalled on pit road. I saw somebody slow down. I thought he was trying to get into his box.
The high performance 505 horsepower
he
Chevy
did a great job missing
Corvette.
him. Emily Gang, did you thanks for tuning in?
Because our chopper can't get high enough, we can't get you a signal worth putting on the air. That car looks pretty good from right here.
A beautiful car. 505 horsepower.
Yeah.
Jay Leno.
Yeah, I can't do anything for you.
This is Brett Bodine, the normal pace car driver.
Are you saying Jay Leno's not normal?
No, the fellow who drives the pace car each and every Nextel Cup race.
Pace car driver.
Yes.
Jay Leno, the honorary pace car driver here. Dave, what are you working on?
Well, Bill, you know, we've given you a couple of replays in the booth today, courtesy of the truck, but down here on pit road, fans are looking over the NASCAR Nextel fan view more and more. This is a little device that Nextel has put together to get the fans a closer view of the action down here on pit road or up in the stands, and frankly, I'm getting some very good use out of it today in the 500. It is a television. You can see the video replay of everything that's happening on the big Nextel screens around the track. It is also a stats generator, and you can keep real-time stats while you're watching the race on your favorite driver on the whole field, or you can even compare drivers one to another. Also, it has audio replay, which means if I miss a guy and I need to get some information, I can listen to the last 3 minutes of their conversation over the scanner. And it's also a priority scanner, so you don't need to carry a scanner around anymore. You can carry NASCAR Nextel fan view. It's really cool. They're renting them to you today, $50 a day, $70 for the weekend. If that's too much, get a couple of friends. You can link your headsets together. It's very cool, Bill.
$50 a day or $70 for the
Just send a
weekend.
couple up the.
I mean, if you're going all 3 races, you might as well.
Looks like you would have linked up Matt or Marty or somebody on his.
No, Dave's not going to. He got the first one. He's not sharing. I got you.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay, earlier we had our.
That sounds
Singular Race
expensive, though,
Talk
for
poll
2006.
question for you.
Oh, did we now?
Yes, we did.
Scanner.
And
I don't know what
later on, we're gonna
scanners
show you the
cost now at the
results.
racetrack.
Okay, on this Corvette pace car.
You gotta be careful
I've
with your
never had
drafting
one,
partner.
so I don't know how
Wallace?
much they cost.
You
now.
just got hung out to dry.
Yes, I did.
We see the lights are out atop the pace car, which means when they go by the 8 car, Dale Earnhardt Jr. will get the green
Dale
flag.
Jr. in
and
the
we'll go
lead
back
after
racing
pit stops
again.
under caution. We're about halfway right now.
Want to point out Tony Stewart had
4 cautions so
2
far in
tires
the
on
race.
his stop.
Last one was for debris.
He's back there in that orange car.
And there was actual debris on the track.
Front of Mark is Kurt Busch.
I don't know how they saw
Matt
it,
Kenseth, then Jimmy Johnson runs
All
second
the
to
fog.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
They did. There's still a lot of Roush cars up towards the front.
Green flag, green
3
flag.
of them in the top, what, 7 or 8? Murray's still up
5
there,
laps
and then
from
you have
halfway.
Martin and
Jimmy Johnson got a good
Kenseth's
start. So
pulling
did
out a lot.
Kenseth.
He had a
He's got-
great
this is
restart.
Good opportunity to
Johnson's
try to
gonna
make
get
a
hung
pass
out here if nobody
when you're
goes
going
with
up
him.
through the gears.
Oh, Johnson got a tough break. He dives to the outside.
17 had a
Kenseth
great
wanted
one. Oh,
to make
Junior
it
moved up.
3 wide.
I think he's just trying to
Now,
break the draft
looks
as
like
we
Junior
get
moved
up
up
to
to
speed.
try to help Jimmy Johnson get going in the 48.
Moved up or slipped up.
Yeah, I think he's just, when you're in that position, you kind of want to use a lot of racetrack and not help either the bottom line or the top line.
Well, he didn't.
Kenseth's
He was
backing
consistent.
up. I mean, he's
Neither
got
one
a
of
big run on the 8.
Now that they're up to speed, he's fairly safe.
He's not going anywhere, though.
Mark Martin in the 6, next
Who's
to
in the
Jimmy
21
Johnson
in
in the
this season?
48. Mark beginning his final season in the
not Ricky
NASCAR
Rudd
Nextel
still,
Cup
is
Series.
it?
Won the truck race
Ricky
here
Rudd still
on Friday
driving
night.
the Wood Brothers car in 06? Maybe it was in 05.
How about that 6 car, Snyder?
Yeah, Bill, a Daytona resident. That was
I don't even
actually
know where
his
he
first
came
ever
from. I don't remember him
points-paying
being
win
towards
here
the
at
front of the
Daytona.
field till just
Was
now.
Friday night. He'd love to make it the weekend sweep, if you will, in the 2 races that he was in this weekend. Mark, 2 tires on the
No
last
Taurus
stop.
6 for tuning-
Car's been a little bit
tuning
tight.
in.
They've been gaining on it, though. Mark, so they're
Throwback
getting a little
Thursday, we're
better.
going to be watching an old
About 1 round
Daytona
on the track
500
car,
every
trying to
Thursday
loosen it
leading
up.
up to the start of the season.
Mark ran the International Race of Champions here on Friday.
And we'll go track by track
Hard
once the
hitting that
season
race.
starts.
They didn't fare too well in that
New
one.
new
But
set
he
of
made it
live
up
streams
later
on
that
the
night in the
channel.
truck race.
I tell you,
Thursday
folks,
nights.
I am really impressed with Tony Stewart in that 20 car. I thought when he brushed the wall off turn 2,
Got the
50 or 60
2016
laps ago,
500
his
today.
day would be over. He'd just limp around and finish about 20th. But he's going to be a contestant for the victory.
The guy he tangled with, not quite as fortunate so far. Allen on Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, Bill, just finished talking with his crew chief, Steve Letarte. They got a chance to work on the front end alignment. That's great. They're close. Problem is, they've lost third gear in the transmission, and Steve said, we'll be lucky to make it through the day without the rest of the gears coming up.
All those pieces.
All right, there we go. I'm going to do something with the audio to try to have you guys hear me a little better. Outputs. I think you guys might be able to hear me a little better now. I haven't checked in a while.
All the broken pieces are floating around in that transmission right now, and
Let me know if it's any better. I didn't realize Gordon only led one lap. Oh, Kenny Schrader's in the 21. Okay.
Plus, if this thing comes down to green, white, checkered, or anything like that,
I was wondering who was there. I think Ricky Rudd retired. Well, no, he was still running part-time, I think, at this time period. He didn't try to run the race, though.
going from first to fourth, takes a long time for the car.
Terry Labonte going a lap down. Oh, no, never mind. This is the tail of the field.
Gordon runs in the 33rd position. Defending
I think I see Ryan Newman back there. He must have had a pit road penalty.
It's worth pointing out that he comes in
Because he was up there with Kurt Busch the last restart.
3 of the first 9 races and never saw victory lane until.
Let me know if that's any better. It is better? Okay, sorry for that. I'm really sorry. I thought I fixed it earlier.
The 96 car is Terry Labonte.
Now it's fixed.
Owned by Roger Staubach and
Lap 99.
Hall of Fame
These laps have been taking forever, about the last 15 to 20, because we've had a few cautions.
And the 96 car driven by Terry Labonte, I thought those guys naming him to drive the car was a stroke of genius because NASCAR reserves a spot for a previous Nextel Cup champion. So they said, Terry Labonte, drive the car, and they're guaranteed a spot in the first 5 races of 2006.
Terry is a 2-time series champion. Marty, what do you got?
And back in his pits for most of the day, Troy Aikman and Roger Staubach, as you would expect. And I was talking to Troy earlier today about what he expects from this race team this year. He said, listen, my rookie year in the NFL, I was 0-11 as a starter, so I don't expect much out of us this year. We finished top 25, that'll be good. But these 5 races Terry's in, we want some good things out of him. Terry running well today.
And Benny, Terry's only driving a handful of them until they get secured in the top 35 in points, and then they'll make a driver change. They've already got their other driver lined up for that.
Yeah, I think Tony Raines ended up driving that 96 car after Terry Labonte ran the first 5 races.
He will take over.
We've just passed the halfway mark, and no car has been declared out of this race yet. With Jeff Green, Kyle Petty, J.J. Ailey, and Carl Edwards back in the garage, 22 laps down.
Now there's a battle for the lead.
And there's a battle for a top 20.
And a battle for 20 at the same time.
Okay.
16 cars.
I was just checking just to make sure. Okay. Yeah, they're 3. Well, I mean, I think they're just hanging Kurt Busch out to dry right now.
The 6 car right now.
How'd that happen?
Tony Stewart, the 20.
Tony, what are you doing? Just ran right to the side. What the? Oh, I think he was just loose.
Wow. That's just. I don't know what Jimmy Johnson did, but Stewart was angry with him. I mean,
I don't know. Yeah, I like Wally Dahlback's.
They made you mad a lap or 2 before.
Is he taking it out on his teammate?
I don't think he would do that. Okay. I think it's something that probably he thought Jimmy Johnson.
Mad at Jimmy Johnson for something he's taking his anger out of. I wouldn't think so.
Murray loves the outside.
These high speeds, although he did do it to Matt Kenseth somewhere around this time period, so I guess you never know.
Matt, what do you got?
Well, just remember back last year, Bill, they had a great battle.
Wow, Kenny Schrader and Mark Martin. Well, I mean, it's not for the lead right now because they're showing. Yeah, I was going to say it was for 4th. Kenny Schrader, though, up there in the 500 in 2006. If we had to look at, like, one Cinderella story so far, I'd probably say it's Kenny Schrader battling for a top 5.
Good today. I think he was kind of hanging out towards the back there for a while. It seemed like maybe it's just a ride to see if the big one would happen. But he's got a very good race car.
Matt, the 20 and the 48 had that battle at the end of the race last year, right?
Absolutely. Dale Earnhardt Jr. back
We'll
out
past halfway.
Last year, back
Oh,
out
Kenseth going low.
When Richie Gilmore, who heads up the racing,
Not quite going to get underneath him. Schrader's still running the outside. You can tell the 21 car is pretty strong because ever since he's been the lead car in the top, he's still kind of holding on. Right around 5th or 6th. Tony Stewart's had a fast car, so if he moves up in front of him, I think that outside's really going to get going.
Richie got in their engine room over the winter and helped out. They feel like they've made some
Dale
gains.
Jr. came up off the bottom way too much.
At Talladega in a few
Oh, here comes Martin. Martin's going to the top. Oh my gosh, what a move by Mark Martin. Wow. Mark Martin with the move of the race right now. 3 wide to the outside, took the lead. They 8 moved up, so he was able to get a run in the draft behind him. And he had a great push from behind from Tony Stewart also. And Stewart kind of followed him through there. Junior fell all the way back to like 7th, 8th.
Right now, he's in his favorite spot.
In front.
Yes, sir, Matt.
And you saw how fast.
See, Michael Waltrip's moving closer.
Junior said, wow.
Saw a Napa car somewhere in there. There he is. He's on the outside, just outside the top 10. That's like the first I've seen him this whole race.
Go down below that yellow line around this racetrack
55.
to make a pass. If you go down there, somebody goes by you, or you
What a
go by
move by
somebody
Mark
around, you have to let them make up that position, or NASCAR will bring you to pit road. Marty.
Mark Martin, they told him to stay in line.
Kenny Schrader's up to side by side for 3rd now. I wonder where he finishes in
They
this.
were going to push him below the yellow line.
I hope he gets a top 10. He deserves it. He's running really well right now.
Mark Martin has been runner-up for the championship 4 times. He has never won the
I couldn't tell you what the big one looked like in this race. I honestly can't remember. Who got taken out of it? Oh, right as I say something. Jeez.
Wow, I can't believe everybody missed that.
Wow. Oh, this was the race Tony wrecked Kenseth. Okay, never mind. I didn't think it was this race. I thought it was a different race. That angle, though, when they came back from the... That's literally... We've had 5 cautions today, and 4 of them have been right around the commercial break. Right as they came back for 2 of them, and then during 2 of them.
You got any tires
Yeah, Tony Stewart turned Kenseth. I know what happened here. I didn't realize that was this race that happened.
Wants to know if he can come get tires.
I don't remember why Kenseth, or why Tony got upset with Kenseth, but yeah, he just hooked him. I mean, he ran into the side of Jimmy Johnson like literally 10 laps before that. Kenseth had such a fast car, too. Look at this. I mean, he is so lucky nobody hit him as he came back across the track. Especially sitting backwards like that. If somebody could have hit him in the nose when he came back across the field. Look at this.
Oh, my goodness. Bobby Labonte getting by on the inside.
That would have been a terrible collision.
Outside, Dale Jarrett back in the 88.
Especially in these cars.
Again. Watch the 20.
Any car.
17's on the right-hand side.
You know, for a guy that was talking about over-aggressive driving, which was Tony Stewart earlier this week, I don't understand what his situation was there.
We talked about it.
It's literally twice he's like kind of done something questionable. I mean, obviously, he didn't turn Johnson earlier, but
that's a long way to drive down a race track to see if you think you cleared somebody.
Dave Burns.
And Bill, the Kyle Busch story continues in his own mind. He wondered if he'd been the cause of that since he's been pointed out so many times this week. He asked twice on his radio. They told him no.
Thanks, Dave. Pit road is open. Mark Martin leads the way. Snyder.
Mark Martin in second.
I realized Kyle Busch was up there with his teammate too.
They're going to take 4 tires.
Jimmy Johnson Vickers was not that far behind him also.
He liked it out front. That's where he wants to keep it, Dave.
And the 5-car
some guys that took 2 last pit stop, those guys are definitely taking 4 now.
Slight adjustment to his car to make it more drivable.
Wonder if some of the guys that took 4 just before that go with 2.
Chassis adjustment to help the handling of his car. He has said nothing on the radio that I've heard about the incident, just about his car's handling, Matt.
Tony Jr. continuing on with the same adjustments he made the last couple of stops. A close battle off pit road with a 16.
They had 3 wide out of the pits.
They made a big air pressure adjustment again to try to free him up, Alan.
Jimmy Johnson on and off.
How about Martin Truex Jr. after hitting the wall, bringing out the first caution of the race is up to 6th. Took 2 tires. Biffle took 2. There you go, Biff. Michael Waltrip in the top 10 still.
A variety of pit strategies playing out here at Daytona. We've passed the halfway mark, just 92 laps
WTF
to go.
was that? Yeah, that was Tony Stewart wrecking Matt Kenseth at nearly 200 miles an hour.
There's Biffle, Mark Martin, Jimmy Johnson,
He's just
and the rest of the field. Back onto the track.
That's literally the defending champion too. That's crazy. Crazy.
Still under caution here at Daytona. That is Greg Zipadelli, the crew chief for defending series champion Tony Stewart. Stewart and his crew and his car have had quite a day.
He made it, yeah, I almost forgot, really. He made a great save earlier. I wonder if he was upset with Kenseth for that. Oh, got a little buffering going on.
Turn 2, took the lead on the next lap, but then Jeff Gordon comes up in the 24 car. Both Gordon and Stewart.
I think Stewart's frustrated with the whole race as a whole between getting blocked into the wall, even though it was Jeff Gordon.
See the crew working on it.
After it really looked like
and he's letting his emotions definitely get the best of him right now.
Contact sending Matt Kenseth spinning through the grass at Daytona.
And Kenseth said on his radio that the 20 car just flat out spun me out.
NASCAR has sent the 20 to the end of the longest line for aggressive driving.
Yeah, you don't drive all the way across the racetrack like that.
So Tony Stewart's going to have to drop to the back now. NASCAR penalized him. I didn't know that they actually did penalize him, but they're saying he's got to restart the tail end of the field.
Started all that after the Bud shootout.
I mean, at least it's something.
Aggressive and causing problems.
And we see Tony going down pit road, and he's been followed by Matt Kenseth.
Kenseth, oh boy. Oh, I forgot Kenseth had one of the first couple pit boxes.
He thought he was Stewart too.
He wanted
and then
to.
Robbie Reiser talked
no.
His crew chief, Robbie Reiser, talked
There's some damage on the left rear of the 20 too.
Now, as good as this car is with the 20 car right now, I mean, he'll get his way back up to the front. But we'll see how good the 17 is.
Marty?
As you can imagine, Matt Kenseth is extremely upset. He said, I had a winning race car. There was no
Yeah, I mean, Kenseth was leading quite a few laps in the race before that happened, too.
They're concerned about the left front valence on this car. They want to clear it from the left front tire to make
Looking at his notes, hard left into Kenseth check.
Pit road for repairs to his car. They're checking around that right rear bodywork, being sure of their tire clearance. They've also put a big patch on the left rear where there's some fender damage there as well. And they'll send Tony back out here with
27 likes on the stream right now as well. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Our goal is going to be 50 likes on the stream tonight.
Tony Stewart. This is his onboard camera. A few minutes ago.
He evidently looked up and saw that he was on camera on the big screens around the racetrack and said, move the camera. Now we're going to leave pit road.
Kenseth,
NASCAR race control a moment ago told both
I think Kenseth flipped him the bird as he went past him as well.
Tony Stewart in the 20 to settle down.
Well, you know, Kenseth should be hot. He's got a race car that's probably not capable of winning the Daytona 500 now because of that.
Black flag 17. Matt
What?
Kenseth will have to come to pit road.
And they're going to throw the green flag.
They black flagged
This is
Matt
them coming off
Kenseth?
of pit road after they had been warned to settle down.
When you leave pit road, you can't go above the yellow line.
Oh.
And he was, in his eagerness to get to the 20 car, went
They
above the
black
yellow
flagged
line.
Matt Kenseth for going above the yellow line to hit Tony Stewart under caution after Tony Stewart wrecked him at about 200 miles an hour. That's unbelievable. I didn't know that happened.
Might be more angry with Matt.
And Tony had to restart at the rear end of the field, but he ended up, coming back into the pits anyway, topping off, and while he was going to the back.
It's a pass-through penalty.
And then they just black flagged Matt Kenseth.
There's Michael Waltrip and the Napa car right there, side by side of the 5 car. That's the first.
I mean, they were under caution when he went above the yellow line. Like, they weren't even under green. And Robbie Reiser's upset. He's throwing things on top of the pit box right now. I'm like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, we gotta settle down out there and just ride in line. They're gonna get you in a pass through here.
Junior lead.
Oh, Biffle going for the lead. Yeah, Martin's going to go with it. I figured those two being teammates. Going to try to hang out the 8. They don't have the numbers, though. It's just those two. Biffle's clear, but he's staying high with the 6. He can definitely move down if he wants to. He wants the 6 to get with him first, so. Not going to happen. He had to move down. Junior was coming. And now he's trying to block him. And he's going to hold on.
NASCAR doesn't agree with that.
I don't think he can go above that yellow line when he leaves the pits. I think.
You asking for clarification, then I'll be right there accepting the zone I did wrong first. Then you were screwing around with the 20, and that's why they're making us do this. Hold up, next time I put my hand up to him, like, why did you do that? That's all I did.
Well, he pulled up next to him and passed him.
No use for a username. Thanks for tuning in. Case Kane all by himself on the top. Kenseth arguing on the radio. Junior making moves. Faked high, went low.
I'm a little surprised Biffle hung Mark out. Mark helped Biffle get the lead, and Biffle just.
I don't think Biffle wanted to hang Martin out, though. He stayed up there, but then Martin just wasn't there, and Biffle had to clear the 8 before the 8 had another run to the inside, because it was just those two at the top at the time. Now they have more cars up there. But at the time, it was just Biffle and Martin.
Mark Truex Jr., another impressive run today. We saw him.
Kenseth's on pit road.
Off turn 2 very early in the race.
Matt Kenseth, the pit road to serve his pass-through penalty.
Pass-through penalty after getting black flag.
Does not have to stop.
At 55 miles per hour.
And these guys are going how
Michael
fast?
Waltrip's in the top 10.
Matt's
Again.
going to lose considerable ground.
I'm still impressed, though, that Truex hit the wall earlier and still has the speed he does, and he's, what, 4th in line on the bottom right now? He's competing.
Go up there. I thought that's what NASCAR was getting him for.
I think they're getting him for weaving at the 20, forcing the 20 down below the yellow line. And then he passed him anyway, which you can't do coming off the pit road.
Go. Drive fast and turn left.
Wow.
Talk about South Park.
Right on.
I thought that was a South Park reference, but
Now you can't pass here.
thank you for
This is no
clarifying.
passing zone. You have to hold your position. So Kenseth comes up. Watch him turn down.
Yeah,
That's what NASCAR is saying that they penalized him for. Aggressive driving towards the 20.
Whoa!
Rewind.
Below that yellow line.
Oh boy.
Kyle
Busch to the lead. It looked like the 16 squeezed the 8 down to the bottom. The 8 didn't want to pass below the WO line, and then Kyle Busch was able to get by both of them on the top.
Getting strung out a little bit here. They'll close back up in no time, though.
Now, if you think Matt Kenseth and Robbie Reiser were mad a few seconds ago, they ran a lap that they are not going to be scored.
Ricky Bobby
Matt
170.
did not answer the black flag.
Oh, boy.
Really?
So this is now for Matt Kenseth, the Daytona 500 and 2.5. We watch the leaders, Kyle Busch in the 5 car in front of Earnhardt, and check with Marty.
Let's see the explanation Robbie Reiser got. What explanation did you get for the penalty, Rob?
I don't really know. I guess we didn't really cause a wreck. I don't understand any of it at all. You know, the guys have been doing a great job with this race car, and Matt did a hell of a job up there front. Just one of those deals, I guess.
Did they mention anything about the blend line?
Is there one?
Yeah,
I don't think
did they mention it?
I don't think there is one from way to call in this race today.
Oh, well, obviously outspoken, Robbie Reiser, and not happy with the penalty. Matt still upset inside the race car. He said the car cannot keep up with the draft anyway, so we're done for the afternoon. They're going to ride around. Alan?
With Greg Zipadelli, Tony Stewart's crew chief, how bad is the damage to your car, and can you come back from the penalty in the lost track position?
I think so. He needs to be patient now. We got a long way to go. We obviously got a pretty good race car, and he's a pretty good driver on these restrictor plates. So we just need to settle down, think about what we're doing here, and we got plenty of time to get this Home Depot Chevrolet back on the front.
Did Tony have a reaction to the penalty?
No. Everything's all right.
All right, thanks, Zippy.
Thanks, Alan. Kyle Petty has returned to the race in the 45 car. He has scored 29 laps down.
All right, there the
Petty back in the race. I'm surprised he even got that car fixed enough to go back in the race. He literally had the driver's side door, like the sheet metal of it ripped off, not the actual roll cage. Sorensen into the top 10. Dave Blaney, my guy in 12th. Let's go, Blaney.
Catch up with the pack, and these guys got the green before Tony Stewart could catch up.
Tony Stewart does have a wicked fast car. He's gone from the tail to 24th on this restart
too. To the
too.
rear of the field when they restarted.
Oh, got a couple slow cars down on the bottom. Watch out for the lap traffic.
The 15th different leader of this race. That
15 different leaders.
Daytona records. Busch out front.
It's only lap 118. 15 different leaders. That's actually pretty impressive.
NBC's coverage of the 48th Daytona
3 of the
500
Hendrick guys have led. Busch,
Team
Johnson,
Chevy.
Gordon.
25 of the last 34 NASCAR manufacturers championships and counting. Chevy and American Revolution.
Yeah, Johnson come back
the
from
new
NASCAR.
Sprint. Yes,
Part-time.
you can. By State Farm. Great service and great rates. You can get it all from State Farm. And by Pepsi. It's the cola.
Under green here at Daytona, Jimmy Johnson.
Hope Kyle Busch
is
wins
the
the Daytona
race
500
leader.
one of these days.
Followed by
60
Kyle
Cup wins,
Busch.
2 championships. He just needs that 500,
A
yeah.
lot of stories starting to unfold. There is Tony Stewart, 23rd last time by. And
Stewart's
he
in the
is
lead
right
pack now.
behind Matt Kenseth.
He kind of drove up there by himself, seemingly. I think the 11 of Hamlin kind of went with him.
Pinched off of 2 earlier in the race.
Shows you how strong really all the Gibbs cars are.
Tony is following Matt Kenseth.
Because Hamlin hasn't really been up towards the front the whole race. Obviously, he won the Bud Shootout this season. Oh, Kenseth's right in front of Stewart.
Tony after the last caution came out.
20 wrecked me, guys. The 20 wrecked me plain as day. Okay, so let me get this straight. I had a winning car, and I'm going to run like something, and they put him to a rear at a track he could draft. You think maybe they could put him a clamp down or something?
Caution flag is out.
Caution.
Waiting to find out why.
See Robbie Gordon.
Yeah, we got Robbie Gordon's got a tire coming off. You know, I saw Robbie get real high in turn 2 about a lap.
That would be the reason why there's a
I
caution.
believe he hit the wall coming off of 2.
Yeah, we see damage
Oh,
on the right
yeah.
side of this automobile.
Robbie Gordon.
Robbie Gordon.
Right front
Missed the
carcass.
Daytona 500 a year ago.
Gone.
Let's see, where's he at?
Right up there on the right.
Okay, yeah, very high. See him, Robbie's way up there. Maybe
well, there wasn't any spots left at Hendrick, though, because they already have 4 cars.
And all these cars, see that slower car?
And everybody was already in contract the next season, so there's no way for Johnson to drive for Hendrick. Still with Chevy.
Right in front of him. Sterling Marlin in the 14. Rookie Clint Boyer in that 07. Robbie Gordon on pit road for repairs. 124 laps are complete.
'93 Amoco half. Let's go, yeah. Dave Blaney making me proud tonight. Make me a proud Blaney fan.
Jimmy Johnson leads
2006 having a good Daytona 500 up to 12th.
Jamie McMurray and Jeff Burton, the pole sitter.
I hope he gets a top 10.
To the 5th spot. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is 6th.
It already happened. I just don't know if he got a top 10
we'll
or
see
not.
another feeding frenzy on pit road, I'm sure.
And everybody's coming in again.
Marty,
Jeff Burton's back up to
Well,
6th.
Jamie McMurray is in
Pit crew
fourth.
keeps
He
costing him a bunch of
Jimmy
spots. I want to
fitting
see
his
if he
car.
actually. I want to see if Jeff Burton does not lose any spots on pit road this time.
Make no chassis
I feel
changes.
bad for him. He's had a great car,
One run,
and by the time he
changes
fights his
later.
way back up there, a caution comes out and he loses more spots during the pit
You
stops.
got me looser, but I need more, need more. This time, no changes scheduled. I think they found it, Alan.
Jimmy Johnson, top left of the frame in the 48 car. Watch for a wrench to go in the left rear window, make an adjustment. They'll change 4 tires and send him out.
Dale Jr. said to keep going in the
14.
same direction we've done the last few stops as Mark Martin already goes by completing his service.
Oh, Mark Martin won the race off pit road. Did he go fuel only? He was so far ahead of everybody else.
In the 20 car, not looking for any adjustments there. Trying to get him up a little farther with some pit stop work, but it doesn't look like it worked out that well this time.
Oh, he takes a jack.
Yeah, he took some equipment with him.
Looked like Tony was a little bit too close to the wall. Oh, did Jeff Chandler get banged with that jack? Looks like maybe he did.
Chandler on the right.
More Tony
Hands on
Stewart
his
drama.
hips.
The 2006
Under caution
500.
here
What
at
happened?
Daytona. It has been an interesting day.
They'll probably show the replay when they come back from the commercial. Yep, here it is.
Still under caution. Let's go inside the NBC pit window.
We see Tony Stewart at the 20 car. Here's the side of the car. Here's the pit wall.
Over the wall,
That looks
too,
to be
soon,
only
ran
about
over
3 or 4
equipment.
feet. The jack handle is 6 feet long. So Jason Lee, the jack man, has to have the jack on an angle. So when he lets the car down, he can't drag the jack out from under it. So Tony leaves and drives over the jack with the left rear as he leaves the pits.
And NASCAR is going to penalize Tony Stewart for running over equipment in your pit stall. He's coming
Tony to the back. Tony Stewart has been to the back 3 times today, all for different reasons. Got blocked into the wall by Jeff Gordon. Gordon said he got tight, which probably could have been the case. That would make sense because he was going to clear Stewart. He just moved up too soon. So he got knocked into the wall by Jeff Gordon. Then he wrecked Matt Kenseth. They sent him to the tail for that. And then this pit road penalty. He's right back at the back again. And he's literally worked his way up towards the front of the field all 3 times. And again, he has to go back. There's still like 70 laps left.
I couldn't vote. Yes.
About an hour ago.
There's Jeff Burton.
Here's the payoff.
A lot of people were saying Bobby Labonte and Jamie McMurray benefit the most in 2006 with the new team.
Alan, you following up on the 24s?
Just a neat thing about Jeff Chandler, who we were talking about a second ago. Jeff is a longtime veteran of the Nextel Cup circuit. He actually retired from the over-the-wall crew a couple of years ago. But because Tony Stewart's regular front tire changer, Ira Joe Hussey, had rotator cuff surgery in the off-season, Jeff was called back from the retired inactive list and is changing tires, trying to help his driver win the Daytona 500. And that put him in that spot.
And Alan, he's half the man he used to be.
I think this is karma biting Tony Stewart in the rear right now.
He lost 52
At this point,
pounds,
for wrecking
BP.
Kenseth.
Told me that.
Said he was having fun going.
Karma's like, all right, NASCAR, you didn't do your job. I will.
No kidding, you and me both.
All right. Here
All right,
we
Mark
go.
Martin in the lead.
I'd do it for you
I think I see Denny Hamlin in, what, 6th? I think that's him. It might not be him, actually. I think it's McMurray on second
And
glance.
I'm really surprised.
Martin's had a good run. He had probably the move of the race earlier.
Trice and his crew chief decided
3 wide pass for the lead on the top.
car seemed to be handling, and he was running in that lead pack.
I mean, it's been a fun watch so
See how it
far.
works out for him.
I think it's been a good race.
Marty, what do you think?
Well, I asked Pat Trice, why'd you take 2 tires? Because Bill Weber disagrees.
Kevin LePage is in 10th.
said, why did you take 2 tires? And he
What
said,
is this world we live in?
Number 1, we only had 12 green flag laps.
I just saw it at the top of the screen. Kevin LePage is in 10th place.
It's not like this car back in traffic. So some cars are better.
16 different leaders a day. That's a record at this time, too.
That's what all drivers say, Marty.
And Johnson going for the lead on Mark.
Better out front.
Might not be there for long.
There's no way that could be the record anymore. 16 different
But I don't know if
leaders.
he'll be able to pull it off or not.
Because Martin has the 8 car, Junior the 26.
Wow, Junior had a big push.
Vickers the 25. The line is on the inside, not the outside.
Not go with Jimmy Johnson, though. Kyle Busch is staying with his teammate up high. Numbers are definitely down low. Vickers goes by both of his teammates. He doesn't care that he's got 2 of them up on the top. He's staying on the
He's in a
bottom.
great spot while he likes that bottom line now. Remember we told you earlier he liked that top line? He came on the radio about 40 laps.
Single file for a restart. That's just the way it was back then. They didn't start doing double file restarts till 2009, I believe.
25 car of Brian Vickers. I spoke with him this morning. He told me, you know what? I like working with all my teammates.
They made that change like mid-season too. I think it was at a Chicagoland race, if I remember right.
To get back with him right now, as Vickers has a car that he thinks can win the Daytona 500.
Johnson side drafted Burt. They're kind of falling back from the top 5 a bit. Let's go Dave Blaney. Look at that 22 up there in the top 10.
Jimmy Johnson, first of all, glad to have his Hendrick Motorsports.
He's having a quietly good race. They have not mentioned Dave Blaney on the broadcast at all yet, but trust me, I'm watching as a Blaney fan. Up there in the top 10. It was a pretty good super speedway racer. He'd always be serviceable. A couple top 10s here and there. Just be running there most of the race.
Tony Stewart runs 27th after the penalty.
Don't forget their other team.
Yeah, lap down cars to the inside, but nobody's a lap down right now.
Dave about the 5.
And Kyle Busch reported to his team, hey, tell the 48
Not that's
I'm
on
his
regular
tail,
pace,
and maybe
at
the
least.
25 will come and play as well. All teammates trying to link up and go to the front.
All drives are Rick Hendrick and Hendrick Motorsports.
There are some slow cars that were involved in the wreck earlier that are out on the track.
Chad Knaus is not here today. Ejected from the racetrack earlier this week after the car failed post-qualifying inspection.
I think at that outside line got a good run.
Tony Stewart's up to 27.
Saw the 48 coming.
LePage is back to 29th. He was in 10th on the restart. I think he dropped to the back intentionally, maybe.
We see he's losing spots.
Hamlin's back there, too.
Jeff Burton has been able to get by Jimmy Johnson. Here comes Kurt Busch in the 2 car.
That outside line will not do it for you.
I see the 12 car behind the 2, his teammate of Kurt.
What about
Busch,
Kurt?
And he has been at the back.
Yeah, he's
of
in the
pack
2.
the last 100 miles or so. Looks like they might have some problems ironed out on that 12
First
car.
year with
He might have
Penske.
just been hanging out for a while.
Could be. Sometimes some drivers will do that.
Got 68 laps left.
Newman, the Miller Lite ride of Kurt Busch. Replacing longtime veteran Rusty Wallace in that 2 car. Wallace retired following last season.
Got a 5-6 car breakaway at the front again.
Where things will start getting really crazy, 3 wide, cars sliding over the racetrack. You may just back off the throttle and let these guys, if you think a wreck is coming, just back.
Jeff Burton doesn't have anybody directly close enough to try to help push him up there.
Before you can work your way up. One great thing about restricted plate racing, if you hang on to
Jimmy
that
Johnson
draft,
has
even
a
if it's
chance
in
to
the
pull
back,
down. Johnson's
you
being a
can
good
work your way
teammate, though,
back
staying
to
up on the outside, just trying to keep the 5 car behind
Jimmy
him.
Johnson at 48
Somebody move
car
up in
is
front of him
making his
there.
way back towards
Yeah,
the front.
Vickers moved up in front of
just
him.
like you said,
So now you got
he
3
jumped out to
Hendrick
the
cars on the
outside
top.
to try to help the 48 get to the front.
There's 3 Roush cars on the bottom, but Junior's in second, kind of splitting them apart a little bit. Biffle, McMurray, and Martin are all up there. Tony Stewart's leading the pack at the very back. Harvick, Truex, Hamlin are with him.
Kevin Harvick, a little report there, Bill. Remember, he was up front in the top 5 a couple of pit stops ago, and he's kind of disappeared from the radar. They had to stop under the caution at lap 102 and change the carburetor on the engine on that machine. Long pit stop to do that. Harvick back in 28th place, trying to work his way toward the front.
But he's still got time to do that, Juan.
Oh, yeah, they've got...
Crazy they were able to change a carburetor and still keep him on the lead lap. I know obviously Daytona's a big track and there has been a few cautions that they've been able to do that for. But still, it's wild.
Fast car is back there.
And we can see Jimmy Johnson
Catching a lap car.
hooked up with his
This is gonna get hairy.
to get by. There's a lap car.
Mid-pack.
Jeff Green on the bottom. That's where those
Watch
cars
the
are
lapper.
moving up.
Oh, somebody almost got the wall off of 2.
Or the top line, because the bottom line had to move up a little because of that slower car. So now the 25 of Vickers.
Hopefully they have that car cleared going into 3. Is it Joe Nemechek again? He almost caused a wreck earlier.
Whoa, a little twitch there on the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Matt?
Bill, they have done a lot of work.
Sean Royer, thanks for tuning in.
3 stops ago, they pitted several times into that caution just to try to seal up where the fender meets.
Yeah, those Hendrick cars are moving forward up high.
The aerodynamics on that right side.
Casey Mears, Michael Waltrip behind him.
Now they are
Reed Sorensen, actually. Sorensen's in the 41.
Mark Martin continues
Is he a
to lead.
rookie?
Mark Martin told the media driving that
I think he was a rookie this
earlier
season.
this week, if he won the Daytona 500, he might not even go to the next race.
He'll be there.
Because he'll be the points leader.
Alan, how about Johnson?
Just so the 26 car bobbles a little bit, gets a little loose when Biffle gets right on the tail.
I didn't even see McMurray get loose.
From CNN. Just
Was it
something
like
to look
Stewart
ahead as
earlier?
we get to the later stages of this race. Jimmy Johnson and his team want to find some way, any way, to be leading off of pit road at the last pit stop. They feel like the guy that's in front.
Vickers is inching his way forward. I think mostly it's the 48. I think he's definitely been the quickest of the Hendrick cars. Oh, Jeff Burton got knocked into the middle.
Be the last one to try and get his
Burton's
car
in the
close to
sucker hole
front
now.
so they can let the pit crew try and steal that track position on the final stop. Dave?
That 2 car of Kurt Busch trying to move up through the pack. He's found something in the handling that he
Not that
needs
many
to
cars on the
today.
bottom anymore. Oh,
Cars just
Waltrip
a
dropped
little
down
bit
there.
loose. It needs to be that way to run
Took
fast.
advantage of
Kurt
it.
finished
He was
second in this
behind the
race last year. He runs
41.
Daytona very well, and it stays up at the front of this pack.
And look who's behind him in that 55 car. Michael Waltrip, the 2-time Daytona 500 winner, Matt.
Bill, he was just hanging out in the back for a good portion of this race.
It's weird seeing Matt Yoakum for NBC, too. I kind of forgot he was with NBC back in the mid-2000s, early 2000s. Been working with Fox for a while.
Great run for the Napa Chevy, currently 10.
I'd say the race is officially underway, BP. They got
Who's a rookie?
63 to go.
I was asking if Sorensen
Breaks
was.
out, we'll break in. Mark Martin
I know
leads
Truex
at
was a
Daytona.
rookie. I saw the stripes on him.
60 laps to go, and they have been side by
Dale
side
Jr.
here
to
at
the lead
Daytona,
now
and Dale Earnhardt
during the
Jr.
break.
finally breaks in front of Mark Martin. Take a look at our DLT lap
24
leaders.
lead changes so
24
far.
lead changes among 16 drivers. The 16 drivers, a track record. Matt
Kenseth still led the most laps at 28. Man, he had such a good car, too, until Tony wrecked him.
After an incident with Tony Stewart and then a penalty for not listening to NASCAR and being a nice boy.
I tell you what, I was impressed with the job that Dale Earnhardt Jr. 8 car did. Usually the 25 car.
Yeah, no manufacturer alliance, at least back in this day and age. I mean, there were definitely teammates that would work together. You can see the 300 cars up on the outside. I'm trying to correlate with, like, what we see now. Manufacturer didn't really matter as much, but, like, in-house organizations, though, they definitely seem like they mattered at this time.
It will. I mean, in the first 10 laps, 15 laps, it really won't. But, you know, the BP, the thing
Top
about
three
it is
kind of
guys
spacing
like
apart a
Junior,
little bit.
you gotta always be
Getting
looking
way
around.
out ahead. They're going to
You
start
gotta be
bunching
looking
up
for that
probably
guy
towards the
that's
end of the
coming at you
backstretch.
to make a pass. That's got a lot of momentum. You want to drive in front of him because if you can
Martin's
drive in
getting a
front
big
of him
push
and
from
get that
McMurray
push,
back there
that's going to
on
win
the
you
bottom.
this race.
And not too
Junior doesn't have any
far
help. Here they
in this
come.
pack, you'll find the
Junior's going to have a good
24
run
Jeff
now off
Gordon.
turn 4.
So he's among the leaders. Let's take you through the field. Dave Burns.
And Bill, one of the most important
Not
people
clear,
on the team
though.
is the spotter for these drivers. He's the eye in the sky that
Trying
helps
to
him
through
make
the field
those
again?
daring moves at the
It's
end
the
of this
third time
race.
they've done it.
Well, Brian Spotter is new to him this year, but he's a veteran spotter. His name is Chuck Joyce, and he's a family friend from years back when they used to go on
Johnson,
vacation together.
it looked like he was actually pushing Vickers into one. Oh, Vickers sailed it in deep because of it. Almost got up into the wall. He was carrying a little more speed than what he would have liked going into the corner. Johnson about knocked Vickers into the wall. Is that why Vickers turned him? You remember that? I mean, it worked. They got by him. Junior split him up, though. Bush down to the bottom. That was a good move by Kyle. Yeah, Hendrick 1, 2, 3 at the front right now. That'll be tough to break them up. 3 cars up there. Good luck.
Kyle Busch working well together with others, especially his teammates. On that last stop, his car was good enough.
Sorensen started in 04.
He believes now that it's good enough to race. Look at him hook up with
I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Mark Martin has had a tight race car for most of the afternoon. Those two tires we talked about.
What car did he drive before that? Because the 41 was Casey Mears, and then the 42 was McMurray, and then Mears moved to the 42 once McMurray ended up going to Roush to the 26, which was this season.
First Daytona 500 win, again running very well here, looking to the inside of Mark Martin.
And his
Mark
teammate,
Martin's
the
starting to
12,
fall
Ryan
backwards.
Newman, trying to get up with the 2 as a drafting partner. Mark
We're going to
Martin
split up the
pulls down in
Penske
front.
cars.
Newman's been
My boy Dave Blaney in 8th.
condition and a vibration most of the
Come on,
afternoon.
Dave.
It feels like it's more of an aero-tight condition.
Stay in that top 10.
And what about Reed Sorensen? Very impressive day.
Got a horse in the
highlight
race.
Right now on the outside of the 22.
I know he's not going to win, but
Trying to stay on the bottom most of the day like he did in his qualifying race where he had a successful day there as well. But right now he's up high with the 26. Dave
Blaney has had trouble with his car turning all day.
I'll trust you.
He's been
With Google.
it to his team. They've been working on it. It's the best.
I mean, if you don't trust Google, I don't know who you can trust.
In a team that's won here before, working his way to the front. Marty.
Google knows all.
Murray has a handful, Dave, in that 26 purple.
If Google could be a real person, I'd like them to be they could be my dad.
That back end wants to kick around, but when it's like that, it's fast. Jamie back up in the high line, trying to make his way back to the front.
Google knows all.
The two-time 500 winner Michael Waltrip out Napa number 55.
Who needs parents when you have Google?
Hung in the back earlier, now trying to make his presence known, slowly working his way up, but he's got it.
Oh, Mikey.
Bobby Labonte trying to dive on the inside, who's taking
Waltrip did not want to give up that bottom. I mean, he definitely forced the 43 below the yellow line, but he 43 lifted before there was a potential wreck there. Little forgiving with a little over 50 laps left still.
Hey guys, look who's creeping up the running order. Jeff Gordon.
That forgiveness is going to start to run out though as we get closer to the
They
end.
worked on the toe out and the steering the last couple of times.
What about DEI?
Jeff reporting just a little bit ago on the radio.
Oh, Kyle Petty's so off the pace. How do you not get black flag running that slow when the pack is...
Biffle said earlier the car was handling beautifully.
They are so close to him.
On the right side, now he's on the outside. Talking about what adjustments to make on their last stop. They tried.
I'm surprised they
the
even
two
got that
tires
car
earlier,
running
and
again,
their
though.
tire wear was excellent, Marty.
Well, Matt, back there in that white and green car, the 14 of Sterling Marlin, a two-time Daytona 500 winner. This is a backup car, and Sterling lurking in the field on their last four stops.
I mean, Marlin's been kind of quietly in the top 15 the whole race. Seems like anytime they mention him in the through the field, he's like always like between 11th and
Mid to
15th.
front pack most of the afternoon. We'll see what happens later on, Matt.
And
Kenny Schrader's still in
taking over
15,
the 21
16
for
too.
Ricky Rudd, who finished second a couple of times, but never got that win with the Wood brothers. Hoping for a win with that famous car this year. He's battling weather issues. The car just tight. Meanwhile, David Stremme, who's
Battling
also
weather
new in the
issues.
40
Yeah,
car
I think
this year,
everybody is.
battling for Rookie of the Year honors, having a very solid day. You can see.
Wonder how tough it was for the drivers to see. Hey, it looks like the fog's probably more in the air. Like it would be definitely harder for the spotters than the drivers. I mean, obviously, when you have something like that, it would be harder for the spotters regardless.
On the bottom of the racetrack at all. He has to run high to carry the momentum that he needs, Dave.
Casey Mears thinks he can contend at the
Maybe
end,
it
but
is
his
a little
car
rough
just has
on
a
the
little
drivers.
trouble turning. His team made a track bar and air pressure adjustment last time to adjust that chassis to try to make it more racy for Casey.
That's easy for you to say, Dave.
Good line, Dave. The 20 of Tony Stewart runs in 28th position. There are
This is the first time Tony Stewart hasn't really worked his way up to the front as quickly, being back in the pack.
Retired from the race. 42 cars still in competition. Brian Vickers out front in the Daytona 500.
I mean, the fact that only one car is DNF, though, pretty impressive up to this point. 42 still on track.
Still green here at Daytona. Brian Vickers continues to lead tonight on NBC. A huge night of Olympic action. American speed skater Jennifer Rodriguez goes for the gold in the women's 1,000 meter, and Todd Hayes makes a drive for gold in the two-man box.
4-car breakaway now.
7 Eastern
Got
and
Mayfield
Pacific
up on the outside.
NBC.
Why is he so slow? I didn't think he had that much damage earlier, but I guess he had more damage than I thought.
Being pushed by his teammate Jimmy Johnson, who's racing this weekend without his crew chief.
Where'd the rest of the pack go? They were all in one pack when they went to commercial. They come back, it's just 4 cars.
I mean, this could.
Oh, Jimmy.
This could mean a win.
Oh, my gosh.
Below the yellow line. He had 2 tires below the yellow line.
Was he forced down there? He's letting him get the spot back. So he did what he was supposed to do.
Very good.
Gave him the spot back, so there's no foul right there. But this is where the pressure is put on those pit crews right now. These guys been out here wheeling these
I mean, Kurt
cars.
kind of got forced by
This
the
is what it comes
48.
down to. You do not want to make a
They didn't
mistake
really
in the
call
pits.
forcing below the
Will cost you a
WL
shot
line
at
too much
winning
as
this
much as they
race.
do
Every
passing
second that
below
you
it.
lose in the pits, you're getting off pit road is 3.
Probably smarter for Kurt just to back off. Oh, now there's a caution.
Debris on the front stretch.
More debris. The first 2 debris cautions were legitimate.
With 46 to go.
I want to see that debris though.
On this stop, they've got to stop again after this pit stop.
Kurt might have pulled up there to give a hand signal to Jimmy Johnson. Here's how they were racing a minute ago. Kurt Busch in the 2.
And see, all Jimmy Johnson, like I said,
Yeah, there's definitely contact. I mean, he got he got forced. There was contact, and he went down.
Okay, so when he went to put the block on, actually 2 blocks right there.
Yeah, 2 blocks. There was contact from the other angle.
Kurt Busch knew he couldn't go past that line, so they made a little contact, but he realized he
Did a good job not wrecking
though.
Both of them.
And he's probably not real happy with the move that
Jimmy definitely put him in a peculiar position
He
there.
had quite a run there, too.
Yeah.
2 did. Yep. Okay, we're going to step out. Pit road is closed. We'll be back for the stops.
I mean, it was starting to get racy. I noticed the rest of the pack was starting to catch up to the top 4 when they broke apart a bit, and then the caution came out. Right before they had a chance to really get the momentum. Newman was kind of leading those guys. And we'll see pit stops again.
45 laps to go. Pit road is
45 to go. I think they're still outside the fuel window to make it to the end. But if they take 4 tires now, it's probably going to be splash and go the next time they pit.
Marty.
And Bill, a developing story for the man in 4th place, Jamie McMurray. He told the crew under caution, the water pressure is at 0 in the car. I'm concerned about that. Chassis-wise, he's a little loose, and he says fast.
That's a tough break for McMurray. Water pressure at 0. He's had a good race. I mean, he's been top 10 all day.
4 fresh tires to try to help him, Allen.
Front tire carrier Art Simmons stuck a piece of tape before a spot of the grill opening on Jimmy Johnson's car. Around the car, trying to help the front end turn.
Vickers kind of slow out of the box. Jimmy's pit crew's been on it today. They've had some pretty fast stops. So is the 8 team though. I mean, that number 1 pit box is huge, but Junior won the race there. Dale Jr. definitely the advantage with the number 1 box, but it seems like him and Johnson have had the 2 best crews today on pit road today in 2006.
Probably fuel only, 2 right side tires. You're right. The least amount of time they can spend in the pits is what they'll do on that last stop.
So this set of stops sets the stage for the closing laps of the Daytona 500. 44 to go.
They'll still have to pit one more time, but it's likely going to be gas and go next time they pit because they're barely outside the window right now. About 40 laps at the most.
Jeff Gordon, 3-time Daytona 500 winner. Won in 1997, 1999, and 2005. He's the defending champion, our Valvoline winning moment. Jeff Gordon.
Watch out for the jet track.
Trying to defend.
This isn't 2000 and
championship.
what year was that? 2012.
Kevin, the pace just goes down.
We got 6 more years.
Let a lap.
Now watch the traffic on pit road here.
And Jimmy Johnson locked up that right front a
Ooh,
little bit.
Newman's swinging out a bit wide.
When you slide those tires, you put flat spots on them and makes the cars vibrate.
There you go. We'll go. Whoa! Go to the grass.
That kind of costed Johnson a spot or 2 on pit road too. He was probably gonna get by the 12, and then I think he was
in the racetrack.
right there with Vickers,
Johnson back
nose to nose.
His teammate Jeff Gordon will restart 17th. Lights out on the
Yeah, I was
pace
born in
car. We'll get the
99.
green flag next time by. Marty, what are you working on for the 26th there?
Well, we told you Jamie McMurray has 0 water pressure. It concerns him. Does it concern you, Jimmy Finney?
Right now, we got it a little bit too hot, but he ducked out of line, and we got temperature back down, and it's starting to build pressure, so we should be all right now.
That will not affect his horsepower for the rest of the race?
Not with the horsepower right now. Everything looking pretty good. You know, that Crown Royal Ford Fusion's doing awesome out there today, but I think our horsepower is going to be there.
The water at one point.
E85 Racing, thanks for tuning in.
I've never driven a race car, but that's not good, is it?
Well, 275 isn't. It's not. It's getting there. But you can run these things, 260 safely. It's just when you start getting really hotter than that and it starts pushing water out, that's when you're in trouble.
Look who's running 29th on the lead lap. Kirk Shelmerdine.
This was the feel-good story of 2006 Speed Week. Came down on a shoestring and made the Daytona 500 qualified.
Got some financial help from the mother of a friend.
Talk about Kirk Shelmerdine in 29th.
Up in Winston-Salem had been
They usually never spot. I mean, when do they ever spot like guys like at the back like that? Like even just a quick shout out for 5 to 10 seconds just for running the race and making the race.
Each year she'd given him $50,000.
Definitely something they don't really do now.
For $60,000.
I mean, that's all TV's fault.
The race. He let it be known through the media that he needed a sponsor for tire money. He didn't get any, but some long
Outlaw McShiner 71, thanks for tuning in.
Heard he needed money for tires. They got him on the cell phone, got a hold of him, and gave him money to pay his tire bill here today.
And why would Dale Earnhardt fans help him? Because he was a long-time
Alrighty.
Dale Earnhardt crew chief back in the
41
80s.
laps left.
Won 4 titles with Dale Earnhardt.
Wow, Vickers. I think Vickers started pretty deep, 35th. I think the only guy that started outside the top 15 that's in the top 10. Oh, Dave Blaney too, 32nd. LePage. Kevin LePage is back to 10th again. Kevin LePage and Dave Blaney are in the top 10 in the 2006 Daytona 500 with 41 to
Not a
go.
good restart for those guys in the back, but up front,
they love it.
They like it because they're looking in the mirror and they want to see those guys in the back running side by side.
Because of the low cloud cover, not a lot of onboards able to function properly because our helicopter is so low to the ground.
No, but we'll take it. This is great stuff here. See how these cars really move around. When you look at the cars like this, these cars look like they're glued to the racetrack, but trust me, they're not. When you're inside these cars, you are hanging on for dear life. They float around.
100 miles to go.
And once again, we saw Jimmy Johnson, that 48, move down the block, the Kurt Busch 2 car.
I mean, Junior's had no teammates with him this whole race. He doesn't have Michael Waltrip anymore, who's a pretty good super speedway racer. And Truex is a rookie. And I mean, he's been up there despite getting in the wall early, but I mean, Junior's kind of all by himself at DEI in the plate tracks from 06 and 07.
Trying to get the momentum back. Brian Vickers in the 25 car leading that pack.
Paul Menard missed the race in the 15 also, so
Junior out front.
The only other guy he has to rely on.
Jimmy Johnson in the 48.
I don't even know where Truex is at anymore.
Newman to the high side of that 12 car.
Ryan Newman's having a pretty good race.
What in the world was he trying to use that 25 to get by the 8? Alan?
Hey guys, when that 48 car's coming at you right there, see that bright neon piece of tape on the grill? Yeah, that's the chassis adjustment they made last time. Jimmy Johnson's been looking for more front end grip on that car all day, so that's what they did. The tire
Dave Blaney 4th in line and 7th on the bottom right now. I hope he leads a lap.
Sometimes tape doesn't stick. This
Give
one
Dave Blaney a lap leg.
hoping it helps his car for this final run to the checkers.
Going 188 miles per hour is helping us stick there really good too. But what that does is closing the opening in that grill. So it's making the air is hitting that tape, actually helping it push the nose down to the ground. Push the nose down the ground, that pushes the tires into the racetrack more. That gives them more grip. That's what they're trying to do.
Ryan Newman is determined to make that outside line work.
Well, if he can, he'll lap the field. Hey, he's in front.
Yeah, now he's going to go to the inside line. Thanks. See ya.
They're scrambling quite a bit towards the middle of the pack.
I appreciate the push, but...
well, that's what you're going to start doing in this part of the race. I mean, you've got 38 laps to go.
Edwards is the only car out.
You've got friends out there, but you're really going to start using
Oh, boy. He thought about blocking him. Junior just squeezed underneath. 36 to go. The aggression has definitely picked up since that restart. I mean, you can tell it's like slowly been building, but now it's really go time.
He has big trouble getting off of pit lane. First gear lugs large for him. It almost stalled out last time, and he has to use the clutch hard to try to keep that thing from stalling out. Wally, it's tough to get off the road.
Storage back up to 23rd.
Truex is in. And that's where you start when you start doing things like
24th.
that. You start hurting the drive line and transmissions and all kinds of good stuff. So yeah, he doesn't want to see pit lane anymore today.
And you think that Jeff Gordon in 24
Red Wings are up. Yeah, they're, 5-game point streak right now?
Here we have to make a green flag stop. But I don't think
The winning streak came to an end. I was wrong about them beating Montreal.
They've done a great job.
They won though.
Well, they have. I'm impressed.
Or I mean, they got a point out of it at least.
They run
They
side
didn't
by
win.
side.
They lost
Nose to
3-2.
tail. We haven't seen very much contact.
But
It's not over yet.
They went into
to
overtime.
that 20 lap, I think, window when things really start getting desperate.
Blaney's not fourth on the bottom. Oh no, he is. Okay, I thought I saw him fifth in line for some reason. Oh, Junior. Junior's got to be careful, man. He's worried about himself almost too much in the sense that these other guys are almost getting around him. He lost the lead once earlier. He pulled off the bottom a little too much, and Johnson almost took him 3 wide.
Make moves that they traditionally wouldn't make out of character moves. Well, I like to call them. And sometimes, you know, you get out of the car after the race, you go, man, what were you thinking? You know, but it was the Daytona 500. You know, you got to do what it takes to win.
It's impossible to underscore what a win in this race means to a Nextel Cup driver.
And it's not just the win. It's the guy that's running 5th wants to run 4th. The guy running 12th wants to run 11th. Every position you can get is valuable.
And Jeff Gordon there in the center, that 24 car, trying to work his way to the front. So they've obviously adjusted on that car, and it's got to be pretty decent because you don't run in the middle here at Daytona if your car's not handling.
Gordon was 13th last time by, and that's
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Well, Bill, first of all, the transmission has lived.
Not quite the right
The crew chief's biggest concern earlier, but remember when they first had the problem, what was it Steve told Jeff? It's early in the race. We've got a long
they're 3 wide, 5 cars deep. We haven't really seen it that far deep since like the very beginning of the race.
I said the transmission is held together. That was their concern when they.
It's getting edgy.
Now, this is kind of
Edgy meaning cars on the edge of control, and edgy also meaning the edge of your seat. Action.
We start seeing more and more three wide, and you'll see them 3 wide, 8 rows back.
There are 36 cars on the lead lap. The top 35 are separated by less than 6 seconds. So how many cars still have a chance?
This camera angle makes that track look so much more wider than it actually
Has a
is.
shot at winning this race.
You cannot give up in the Daytona
Cars lane
500.
changing everywhere.
Strong comebacks today by Stewart, Gordon.
And the 12th car, Ryan.
Oh boy, Kurt Busch.
And we see Junior.
Got the Busch brothers on the bottom.
To go ahead on the inside.
Now he's right behind his teammate too. Now they're both controlling the pack. Oh, McMurray's pushing. McMurray's getting pushed by Mears, who was pushing Earnhardt, and they did not wreck. They literally have like 3 cars bump drafting each other simultaneously, and they did not crash. You have to be so square on the nose, especially with these cars on this bumpy of a surface, to have that happen and not have somebody lose control. Wow. McMurray squeezes under, or I had the wrong number there. McMurray isn't in the 42 anymore. Mears kind of came up out of nowhere. He wasn't really up here until now.
Matt.
Bill, Penske Racing has such a storied history. 13
He's up to
Indianapolis
4th.
500 wins. We told you how Roger Penske has never.
I haven't seen Johnson in a while. He's 8th. He's somewhere towards the front. Dave Blaney's right behind him. Give him a shot, Dave.
It is great down in 3 and 4 in that vibration. We told you
Stay with the
earlier,
48. He's fast.
Dave.
Matt, as we've been watching, the 2-car Kurt Busch has raced up front.
Say that like he
all
can
day
hear me
talking
and
with
like
crew
this
chief Roy
wasn't
McCauley this
14
morning.
years ago.
He said, we will race as hard as we can
16 years
to
ago.
stay up front all day long. And within the last 40 laps, that is the time to go. Now there's 32 laps.
Tommy H. Jurgen Jr., thanks for tuning in.
Green flag, final pit stop. In fact, one owner who has a car in the top 10 came on the radio and said to his team, if it was green flag stops all day,
Joined the channel since I discovered it.
They have been
Keep up good NASCAR stuff. I'll keep watching. Cheers. Thank you. Appreciate you tuning in tonight too. And hopefully you're watching this. Watch along and having fun with it. Sounds like you are.
Will it be a gas and go, 2 tires?
Yeah, we'll be doing this every Thursday, so you guys will get to vote on next Thursday's Daytona 500 in the community tab later next week. 2006 won the vote of the years that I had listed for you guys. And,
We aren't talking about that much gasoline.
Right.
Blaney's the only car on the bottom.
Don't forget, there's a lot of guys that are
Dave, you got to cut some guys off, man. Or he was hoping they would go down to the bottom in front of him again. Who's he got behind him? I can't tell.
The last thing he wants to do the first race of the year is get beat by the team he drove for last year.
I'm a Blaney fan, by the way, for those of you that didn't know already.
And you've got a lot of you got Busch up there, and Casey Mears is up there, Jamie McMurray.
Mears is stuck up high.
Kind of looking at each other's rides.
He's hung out.
And it looked like a little bit ago that the 8 car was going backwards.
It's like cars are kind of going high. They're checking just to see if somebody goes with them, but then they go off the bottom a little too much. They really fall back.
Hermie Sadler, the 00. Another Cinderella story here in Daytona this week. Made the race.
I honestly had no clue Hermie Sadler ever drove the Aaron Stream machine. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. I do not remember that at all. But
took care of his equipment.
He's
done. Last place in this race pays about.
Dave Blaney was behind both the Hendrick cars. That's a smart move. They've been quick. See, he listened to me. Oh my gosh. I thought Kurt was going to hang his teammate out there. Oh, man. I thought he was going to. I missed it. What happened?
Almost turns him around.
Yeah, it's going to get.
I heard Benny Parsons go, "Oh wow!" Like as I was looking at the chat, I missed what happened.
You know, cooperation with
Walter Mahone does not like Jeff Gordon. Thanks for tuning in, though.
Marty. Yeah, there's more and more of these moments where you go, how do these guys not wreck? McMurray didn't say anything about that last one.
Gonna leave a thumbs up. Thanks for the trip down memory lane. Yeah, no problem. Throwback Thursdays every Thursday going forward now. We'll only do Daytona 500s leading up to the start of the season, and then we'll go with other racetracks as we get through the course of the year. But this is all to get us prepped for next season. During the off season. And by the time Speed Weeks rolls around.
Don't forget, he's still. Or did he take 4? Is he still on those 2 tires?
No, I think he took 4 the last time.
Okay. Marty?
Definitely hit that like button. Our goal is 50 likes for the stream tonight. Do live race commentary streams as well during the race season of the actual races that are going on. Obviously, there's nothing going on right now in video games during the week with realistic commentary as well. So no realistic live commentary tonight, obviously, because I know who wins this race already. I have an idea at least of what happens. We haven't seen the big one. I honestly couldn't remember when it happened in this race or if it happened. I mean, maybe it didn't happen. I think it did, though.
Still smoke. I see smoke coming out of one.
I just remember the very finish.
Could be a tire.
That's like all I remembered. I remembered Kenseth and Stewart getting together, but for whatever reason, I didn't think it was this race until it happened. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, this happened.
Really see it. See the smoke right there?
Yes.
Definitely smoke coming out of the back of that car.
Of all the races in the early to mid 2000s of the Daytona 500s, this is probably the one I remember the least amount. This in 04.
22nd last time by.
Somebody just brushed the wall off turn 2. Is that Stewart?
Couldn't tell. Has time to win this race.
Oh man, who was that went to the button? No, don't. Oh, Gordon, don't hang out with Blaney.
Take the spot away.
Get down, Blaney.
The 22. And that is 4-11 spots.
I'm surprised Gordon did that. He probably figures I got to get to the bottom and go. I think Blaney might be holding those guys up. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they're side by side though. That's what's really holding them up. But they might be side by side also because the 22 is not fast enough to keep them going on the bottom. Where do we vote? Community tab every week. There isn't a voting poll open for next week's yet. That'll come out probably every Monday. I'll probably do it every Monday when I drop the streaming schedule for the week.
Have you been able to get how far they can go, Alan? How short they are?
Most of these guys are going to be somewhere around 6 or 7 laps short.
Oh yeah, I forgot these guys still had to pit before the end.
Running the calculations again, like somebody may try it. Try to go all the way.
Yep, why not? Yeah.
They restarted with 41 to go. I remember that they pitted outside the window, but I kind of forgot as we've logged in laps that they're likely not going to make it. I mean, if they get a couple cautions, they might be able to stretch it, but I think man, it's so tough though if you're at the front. If a caution came out, like, do you stay out, try to save fuel under the caution, hoping there's a couple more, or do you pit just to make sure you're going to make it? But then if everybody else stays out, trying to think that they can make it, that's just a tough decision to be in when you're leading at this point. Drop to the bottom, Blaney. Sterling Marlin isn't in his prime anymore. Oh, somebody's smoking back there. Oh boy, those got ran over. I think he's got he's got a tire down. Travis Quaffle.
And now he's gonna put some debris down.
Quaffle.
He's gonna try and get to pit road.
Right now, how many caution flags do you have to run in order not to come down pit lane?
Oh wow. think they'll all come down and change 4 times.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, he was smoking before he hit the wall, unless he hit the wall like going into the corner and then cut the
Well,
tire.
I would love to have 4, but like Mark Martin back there for position, he might take 2.
Yeah. Very, very
Thank you,
hard
Nate.
to
Thanks for tuning
get
in.
through the field when they're 3 wide.
Now here's a contradiction of terms. Matt Kenseth is the lucky dog.
I don't think he'll agree with you on
But
that.
for 99, I definitely want to rewatch 99 because that's one of my favorite 500s. I wasn't old enough to remember. Well, actually, I wouldn't have even been born yet. Quite at that time when it happened, but of the ones I've watched before, that's one of my favorites.
There's nothing that when you're
Just those final 16 laps, though, it was like,
man,
man, there was some gnarly stuff going on there, and
Well, there's
I
some
don't want to
smoke
spoil
coming
it because
from
we're
that
going to end
car,
up
but it's not
watching it
from the equipment.
eventually.
overheating.
It was a good race.
Was run into by Tony Stewart earlier in the race, and then was penalized by NASCAR for not responding to the request to behave.
Smoking before he hit the wall, yeah.
Matt Kenseth drives a
There's the
17 car. There he is.
Kenseth Stewart incident again. That's just hard to look at. Like, it's just...
across the track.
And it's crazy, too, that you see that coming from somebody that has an open-wheel racing background. Because you'd think that, like, they know the dangers of racing more so than, like, somebody that grew up racing stock cars their whole life. And yet they still pull a move off like that. That's what mind boggles me with Tony Stewart's, you know, antics on the track from time to time in his career. It's like, how does that happen to a guy that had that kind of an upbringing? Like,
Now the pit road is open.
Like, you would think that they would know more than, you know, the regular NASCAR guys that just grew up with a full body over the race car, or a full roll cage. No open wheels. McMurray slid past his box a bit.
Into the pits thinking he might want a little air pressure adjustment in the right rear, just a little bit more in to help the car turn a little bit more.
Somebody's off in the grass. Who was that? Somebody was off in the grass well before getting into their pit box.
Middle of your screen, Ryan Newman doesn't want any changes to the 12 car. Says it's a little free on entry, but he contact with the 21.
What happened?
Of Kenny Schrader.
I was looking at pit road.
Schrader is pulled in parallel. The 8 car is now down and away.
Junior lost a lot of spots. Look at how far back Dale Jr. is.
See it coming.
No, didn't touch him at all.
Why is he passing cars under the...
Did I hear Ryan say he didn't touch him at all? Take a look. Let's see.
Missed it. I just heard that they made contact or almost made...
21 cars coming in.
Oh, man. Yeah, he didn't touch him.
Touch him.
Schrader was trying to get in as Newman was leaving.
Did a great job.
Kyle Busch was the car out in the grass. That's why he hit the... No, that wasn't the car I was looking at earlier. Never mind.
If Ryan Newman wins this race, he needs to go straight to Kenny Schrader and say, thank you, Kenny.
You bet.
Schrader didn't even make it all the way in his box by the time he stopped.
When the car drops, you go. Heads up there by driver and spotter. Whoever spots for him leaving the pits. A lot of times it's the crew chief. Sometimes it's the spotter.
I was born in 99, but not at the time that the 500 would have happened in February. I wasn't born until August.
NASCAR Next Talk Up season open today. Bon Jovi rocking the speedway. 200,000 people here. Then the green flag. Jeff Burton on the pole and a couple of medal winning Olympians waving the green flag. Then things started to get interesting.
Art Truex Jr., the 1 car, gets pushed up in the...
I'm a younger fan, but I'm a historian of the sport. Hence these live streams.
Lap 33.
We'll be watching some classic 500s this offseason. I've got a couple that I definitely want to do that you'll probably see reoccurring in the fan vote like over the coming weeks at some point in time, like 99, and you're probably going to see that a lot because that's one I really do want to watch. But I'll probably have like 1 or 2 of them and then like rotate with a couple of other ones.
Contact from Dale Jarrett gave him this wild ride. JJ
Yeah, I mean,
Kyle Petty and Carl Edwards in the 99.
Yeah, Edwards lucky he didn't just completely fly. That wreck, that entire wreck, I don't remember that at all until we rewatched it.
Lap 107.
This I did, this I do remember, but not for the right reasons, obviously. Nothing was right about that.
Some outstanding driving there prevented a lot of damage.
He barely hit the wall. I mean, I don't think Kenseth's car was
Stewart was
completely
penalized for over-aggressive driving, and then Kenseth was penalized for that reaction.
I wonder where Kenseth's running right now.
See Robbie Gordon, the 7
He's gotten back on the lead lap or not.
With the outside retaining wall.
That's just some of the fun we've had today. Here's our Napa Field summary. The 48th annual running of the Daytona 500. 18 different leaders. That's the track record. 13 lead changes. 29 caution laps. Hermie Sadler and Carl Edwards are the 2 cars out.
I think the channel's got a pretty good mix
There are 36
of younger,
cars
older viewers from what I've
scored on the
noticed.
lead lap. The spotters making deals.
It's pretty cool, honestly.
Dave Burns.
All
And the
ages
crew
are
chiefs
welcome.
Making very, very important decisions, Bill. Lance McGrew's decision was no fresh tires on Brian Vickers, number 25. Why?
Just because when we get back in traffic, the car's just too tight. And I know even if we got 2 tires, it would be too tight in traffic.
When
Track
Vickers go
position's
fuel
worth
only, I
everything
missed it.
here. It's getting late in this race. We want to win this thing. I mean,
The volume's louder on your guys' end than
my
mine.
fixing to be some pileups.
I don't want it to interfere with the mic any more than
Your tire wear must have been good
it
enough
was
today
at
that
the
you felt
start of the
confident
race.
in the rubber.
I mean, the car is just it's been flawless. It's just the first half of the race, nobody would work with us.
Yeah, he's in
Ryan
first.
radioed
It was
in and
fuel
said,
only
"Would you
for
take this
Vickers."
sticker off the back says don't run with me. We peeled her off about the 4th pit stop, and we've been really good ever since.
I mean, there's
All right, so we
still,
go with Brian Vickers, just,
well, there's going to be about
massive
15 to
Bill.
go,
Thank
somewhere
you,
around
Dave.
there.
We saw Jamie McMurray overshoot.
I think they have
his
one
pit
attempt
stall
at a
and
green, white
pushed
checker
back.
finish at this time.
14th on the restart.
That little mistake, BP, cost him a lot.
If a caution came out before the white flag.
Vickers
Vickers Marlin also stayed. Okay, so Sterling Marlin's in second now. Dave Blaney up there still. I saw the 22.
Mike Wallace has used
Why is the field so spaced apart on the restart? Do you guys see that? There's a huge gap between like the, I don't know, the cars inside the top 10 and not in the top 10. What was going on back there? They were all sleeping.
Behind Mike Wallace.
Wallace with a fuel-only stop, just like Vickers.
I mean, what? That's 9 cars, and everybody else behind them just wasn't
He's
going.
going to get shuffled out.
Sterling Marlin with 2 tires on his stop. In the 14 car.
And this is where BP you can go from 3rd to 15th.
Who's in the 09 again?
There goes Newman. Look at
Mike
Kyle
Wallace?
Busch going by. Newman on the outside. Kurt
Mike
Busch
Wallace
is
with a heck
okay.
of.
What do I
Oh,
do
Kurt
here now?
clipped the yellow line.
Kurt had a pretty big run.
I don't know if they're
You
gonna
don't
black
wanna
flag
let
him
the
for that or
throttle.
not.
Look, if you find some space on the race,
Kinda hard to pass below the yellow line in the middle of the corner like he did, but
it just kills your momentum.
That's what Jeff Gordon said in the
he clipped the apron and held on to it. I mean, Tony Stewart did that earlier and he got sideways.
Look at how this pack broke away from the rest of the guys.
Oh, Marlin got hung out to dry.
9-car breakaway. If these guys would get in line.
Get out of the way,
Junior
Sterling. This
just
isn't
right up in
1994.
there. That's too many laps ago. Junior will be able to run them down.
The 2 tires did not work for Sterling Marlin. There's Earnhardt. Rookie Denny Hamlin, who won the Budweiser shootout here last Sunday. Then Jeff Gordon in the 24 and that Fleet 26 car of Jamie McMurray. Matt on Earnhardt.
The biggest problem that Dale Earnhardt Jr. has, he's more like the Lone Ranger, doesn't have a teammate to work with. While the Roush cars are up there, the Dodgers of the Penske camp are up there working together. Junior having to do it all on his own as he.
Oh man, that was a. That's got to be a penalty. I mean, he went below the double yellow line to pass Kyle Busch. Busch didn't make contact with him. It didn't look like.
Could not go below the yellow line and pass.
Are they black flagging him for it? I mean, he clearly went below.
Here it comes off the tri-oval. Goes on the bottom.
That angle, it didn't look like he passed him. When it happened initially, it looked like he went way below it.
Looks to me like he's clean.
I think he was on the line, but
That angle was a lot closer than what I thought it was. That's why he wanted to pass him, though. He led that second group up to these guys. Oh, Denny Hamlin. Hamlin just got super loose. Mike Bliss is in the middle.
There's Junior on the high side, had a good run.
Hold your line. Hold your line.
Yeah, I think if Kyle Busch in that
Mike Wallace
Junior
getting pushed big time by McMurray.
get there, but there's just not enough.
Junior's
help for
fading
Junior
since
right
he
now.
moved up to the very top.
Mike Wallace a
I think he's got a fast enough car if he could just get around those guys, but not really doing
in
it.
a hard crash here in the truck race Friday night.
Now McMurray needs to slide up in front of the 8 car. Those guys can get together.
8 car going backwards. Look at all these guys going by Dale Earnhardt
Nobody's-
Jr.
Junior must have had to lift for something.
He's finally falling back to Clint Boyer in the
Well, how'd Dave Blaney fall that far back? He was like right there on the Follow
He had to
Dale.
get out of the throttle for something. I don't know if he lost the car or what, but that's what I was talking about earlier. You don't want to get out of the
How
gap.
Dave Blaney,
If you do,
he was in the
that's
top
what happens.
like 12 almost all race, and now he's like all the way at the back.
Vickers continues to
Dang.
lead after a fuel-only stop.
Man, it's so hard to see. It's like when you think the fog's done densifying, if that's a word, then
That's what Jimmy Johnson wanted.
just gets foggier and foggier. Look how tight the top four are. There's like not a lot of room between them on the straightaways.
Hendrick Motorsports.
Then they're kind of burping the throttle a little bit in the corner, trying to keep it off each other and trying to keep control of their car through the bumps. But
And I tell you, a lot of folks say there's a lot of heat on this Brian.
a lot of people say that there's no skill to super speedway racing. I beg to differ. I mean, you can say what you want about, like, you know, guys like Michael Waltrip only winning a super speedway.
Eyes in the back of his head, Bill. Actually, that spotter Chuck Joyce telling him.
But there's a lot that goes to it.
Vickers needs to know that so that he can block any.
Especially in this time period, though, with how tough the racetrack itself was
Imagine a football team going
on
to
the
Super
drivers.
Bowl.
And we'll see that
Win the
again
game, their
once
head
Daytona
coach
goes
is
through
suspended by the
its
league,
wearing
not allowed
process.
to
I mean, it's
participate.
slowly doing
That's what's
that.
happened with Jimmy
I think
Johnson's
within the
team
next,
this
like, 5 to
weekend.
8 years,
Crew
we'll
chief,
definitely
like a
see
head coach on a race
bumpy
team.
Daytona
Chad
again.
Knaus not here. Darian Grubb, normally the man that sits at Chad Knaus'
I forgot
right
Darian
side,
Grubb was
looking
crew
at the
chiefy Johnson
computers,
for this
working with
race.
the fuel mileage, working with the
I remember he had an
adjustments.
interim crew
He was
chief, but I think that was the
promoted to
first
call
time I
this race for Jimmy
heard them
Johnson.
mention Darian
He
Grubb
said
was
to me this
actually
morning, we've got a deep bench on this team.
for his GGR days.
He's from a small town called Floyd, Virginia. He's been with the team for 4 years. He may
But Johnson was going to
be
hang his
working
teammate
way
out there
towards
for a
victory
second.
lane.
Vickers loses the lead. He's going backwards on no tires. I mean, Marlin went backwards. I'd imagine Vickers will too. Johnson's going for it
Right
now.
now he does have a push from that 12 car from behind.
Oh! Yep, there we go.
Half at 24.
They didn't wreck. How did... Oh, there's debris now. I was going to say, I saw some pieces of metal flying around everywhere. How did they not wreck there? I thought they were...
To that 2 car. Look at the rear of that automobile. It's gone.
He must have just ripped a tire.
He was 6th.
Where'd the car go?
Last time by.
Don't worry, Kurt. You'll get one eventually someday.
Here it is again.
There you see him right behind Ryan Newman. Here comes Jamie McMurray.
You got a little
Gets
tap
in
from
the back
McMurray.
of him and turns him in the wall. And that's what shredded the tires.
Right on the
Well, I
left
think
rear.
Gordon took the
Oh,
left side
man,
of his
Marlin. It's a bit of a wild
I
ride for
think Jeff
him.
Gordon just ripped the right side off his car. Was that earlier damage?
It's crazy how much damage that actually caused on the 2. How did everybody miss him, and how did he not spin across the field? I thought that was the big one, honestly.
Talked about that earlier.
Like I said, I don't remember like who or how the big one actually happened in this race. I thought that was it.
Oh, Sterling Marlin got into that too, didn't he?
Gordon went in the grass to miss it. Yeah, I saw the pieces of debris flying around, and that's what was the cause of the caution. I don't know how everybody missed it. Through the fog, too, not to mention. Not to mention normal race conditions, but in the fog on top of it. It's like the deck lid went into the stands. It might not have. It looked like it flew over the catch fence. Hopefully it didn't.
But you're right. The tire did the damage.
Yeah.
Where'd the car go? Me somewhere in the fog, yeah.
And they're trying to just
I meant like the rear of the car.
Bush's car. A Southern
Not the car
phrase was
itself.
used out
I was
here to
wondering if
describe
somebody was
the
going to
condition
pick up
our
on
car
that.
is poor slam up, which means it's not going to win the Daytona
Mayfield up to
500. In Kurt
38th.
Busch's first outing
Is he
for
back on the
Penske
lead lap?
Racing.
And that right front.
Well, he's lost a couple laps under green.
As a matter of fact, I don't know if they can get the tire off. That might be what they're working on.
Yeah, that white stuff in between the tire and the wheel is concrete.
Yep, that's what happened. So they try and cut the sheet metal away while Kurt and his crew discuss it.
The only way I'm going to go is if he's posted. Why isn't he posted?
Kurt is asking why the 26 car has not been penalized for aggressive driving.
Pit road is open. So far, no.
Yeah, nobody's pitting now. Vickers is lucky that caution came out because I think he was about to lose a lot of spots.
Couple guys coming.
Gordon coming
Jeff
in.
Gordon and pole sitter Jeff Burton.
Jeff Burton, man, his pit crew cost him a good run in this race.
When they throw the green flag, guys, there's only going to be about 10
He would kind of
laps to
slowly
go.
work himself back in the top 10. His picture would lose him spots, and then kept doing the same thing over and over and over
Check the
again.
right side damage. We're going to be in the back anyway. Take your time. Let's make sure you fix it good. This is what we've got to run.
Yeah, Johnson in the lead on the restart. Yeah, if that caution would have came out even like a half lap later, I guarantee Vickers wouldn't be in second anymore. He'd probably be back a couple, at least a couple more positions.
Because you know you got 10
Just
laps
throwing
to go, you
tape
put
everywhere.
4 tires on it. Every car you pass.
I didn't realize Gordon had that much damage from the accident.
3 points.
This is the first race of the year, so wherever you wind up in this race is where you are in points.
And it'd be natural to think, well, I'm not going to win the Daytona 500, but if you keep your head about you, you can realize I'm still running for the championship.
Right. So I'm going to go out in 20th or 30th, but I'm putting 4 tires on. These guys don't have 4 fresh tires, and maybe I can pass 10 or 15 guys here.
And Jimmy Johnson has taken the lead.
Black flag to 31 for being too far outside the box. I wasn't paying attention.
When it was announced he was going to be the crew chief, I walked by him and said, Darian, no pressure, just the Daytona 500 for your first job. He says,
And hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Our goal was 50 likes tonight. We're at 39. We have a little over a dozen laps to go right now, so definitely hit that like button. We'll see if we can get to our goal before the end of the stream tonight.
Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, his teammate.
And next Thursday, we'll watch another Daytona 500.
Leads the Daytona 500.
We'll still be live streaming all the way throughout the course of the weekend on the video game side of things with realistic commentary like you would hear from me on the live race commentary streams for those of you that are aware of that during the season. To at least keep the commentary going throughout the course of the year and keep the NASCAR content going throughout the course of the year. Reaction videos every Monday during the off season as well of other NASCAR content on the channel. One uploaded this last Tuesday. By the time I got home from Phoenix, it was uploaded Tuesday morning. But they'll be on Mondays going forward.
Because I mean, I was all the way out of the gas when I hit him. I don't know if he had to let up. I had a run and I let off, and I couldn't roll down anymore. And I did. I was getting picked up in the back. It felt like.
And of course, that 26 car last year had a 97.
Right rear was outside,
driven by
leaving the rear tire changer on the inside of the pit lane.
For Roush Racing.
Yeah, I think I was looking down at the chat when that happened.
Over to take that ride.
I'm sure they probably did. I mean, there weren't that many cars that pitted, so they were probably already at the tail end of the field anyway.
Jimmy Johnson has been a championship challenger the last several seasons, but has not managed to win the title, but has been there every year. He drives for Rick Hendrick. There's Rick on pit road. Behind him is Brian Vickers,
who needs a victory so bad. Will he push his teammate to the victory, or shall he go for the checker flag himself?
A lot of emotion packed into that 25 car as well, Benny.
That was Papa Joe's car, Rick's father.
And the man that found Brian Vickers was Rick's son, Ricky. Ricky was one of 10 people.
I think it'd be cool if the 25 car came back. We haven't seen a 25. Well, I guess Chase Elliott drove the 25 there very briefly. He ran like 5 races in, what was that, 2015?
He lost his best friend, Kurt Busch, his teammate, not there to help him. So now he's going to.
I think that was the last time the 25 car was on the track, though. Hendricks owned the number as long as I can remember. Even back in, what, the 90s? Ken Schrader, Ricky Crater.
Driving that famous 42 paint scheme now with those Texaco Haviland colors.
Don't forget about Earnhardt Jr. back there in 8th spot. He'll be coming in a hurry.
All right, there's the restart.
Cars in the running order did not pit. 10 laps to go, 25 miles in the Daytona 500.
I get why those guys are laying back to try to get a run outside the top 10, but they're laying so far back. Look at how far back they are. Like, it takes them a couple laps just to get up there. By that time, you don't know if everybody's going to actually stay organized for you to do it.
On a run to the front, you get a lot of momentum when you lay back. So if you can time it just right and hook up with 2 or 3 guys, you can pick up a lot of ground.
10 to go.
Those top 6 cars would love to break away. Matt on Earnhardt.
Junior's made it back up to 9th. Now he dropped all the way back to 20th. Under that caution, he said, you know, I made an uncharacteristic mistake, especially in plate racing. It cost me, but no worries. We'll work our way back up to the front.
Matt, that's when he got out of line and ended up going back.
Junior's not as far back in the field as I thought he was.
Back to 20th, Bill. Slowly working his way back up, but he's not in that lead.
I mean, he fell so far back right before that caution came out.
I mean, if it works, great if you can pull it off. But if you
He's that down on the bottom with the right front exposed.
may not have a shot at the win.
Johnson's car's bottoming out.
Alan, how about Johnson?
What do you think his favorite color would be right now, Bill? Here's a hint. Look at the
Not letting none of these
left.
random stuff.
Jimmy
Yeah, I mean, you look at the
Johnson
top
wants to hug that
10,
yellow
like,
stripe
really
with the
behind Jimmy
Chevrolet.
Johnson. I don't see any
Protects
former
the
champions
bottom.
in there.
Might be able to keep all these
Outside of Ryan Newman, I don't know that any of them really won more than 10 races that are sitting behind. Well, Casey Kane's in there too, I guess.
Now he's in a difficult situation. He wants to win
Got
a
guys
race,
that
but
are
he might have to push
good enough to
his
have won a
teammate
few
to victory.
races,
He's
but
getting
not
pushed around right now. Let me tell you, Ryan Newman is
long-time
all over
veterans
the
by
rear
any
bumper of
means.
that
Well, I
25
get,
car.
again, Newman and
25 has
McMurray
been
kind of.
loose. And I don't know how much they
Oh
have
man,
been
who was that that
working
went
on,
wide
but
and got
Newman keeps pounding
Casey
on the back
Kane
of that
forced? I
bumper.
think it was a 26. That's going to allow that second group to really close in. At least Sadler in the 38.
So no tires, no
Kyle
fresh
Busch.
rubber on that 25 car. That always helps the handling.
McMurray, the 26, tried to go by on the outside, was not able to make the pass.
Oh,
Here
Casey,
comes Elliott
Casey
Sadler
Kane's all
on the
over the
inside,
place right
along
now,
with the 5 car.
blocking for his life for 5th.
Casey Kane moved over to block. There's McMurray in the 26.
Murray's going to get
These
hung
guys
out.
racing side by side will let that 8 car catch this group and the group that he's towing.
Junior's got that whole second pack with him.
7 laps to go. Ryan Newman in the 12. An update from Matt.
Running in the 3rd spot, Bill, right behind Baker. He's had the legendary Buddy Baker on the radio most of the day, giving his pointers and also just pumping him up. Newman says the car is good, so is his tires. Matt Borland said 10-4 all in. Taking that
Casey
gambling
Kane's
phrase,
blocking
'cause
the
Newman's a
top
big
now,
gambler.
5th.
They worked with a 42 and the 9 to try to stick with them since they're all dodging.
Tony Stewart out of
I
nowhere.
wonder if they're bluffing.
Yeah, he's squeezing Kyle Busch too. Oh, he about wrecked himself. That was all Tony's fault. He was squeezing the 5 after he got hit by the 5 the first time, and then he about lost control into 3 because he was so worried about Kyle Busch. Almost didn't make the corner. I don't know how he didn't wreck. Good grief.
6 laps to
Tony
go.
Stewart has been heated in that cockpit all race.
Looks like Tony Stewart dives to the bottom and then...
Yeah, Kyle definitely forced him. But he
Kyle
kind
Busch
of...
just ran him down
He
to
came
the
back up
bottom
and
of
was
the
showing like
racetrack.
displeasure the whole time, and then he about knocked himself loose.
Went to block him. Stewart had that thing sideways.
Moving to the inside of Vickers.
And look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car. He's trying to work his way back. There he is in about
Yeah, they're
5th or
starting to
6th
really
spot.
get tight. It's amazing how quickly they got bunched together. They were single file through the top 6 about, what, a lap and a half ago, and now everybody's
Here
there.
comes Casey Mears, 42.
Yeah, I don't think that 25...
I really have no
got the
clue how
tires he
Junior got
needs
up to where he is
to
that
do what he's
quickly.
got to do.
Black flag. Kyle Busch in the 5 car. Aggressive driving.
What? They black flagged Kyle Busch.
It's a pass-through penalty. Kyle Busch was 9th last time.
I guess it was for forcing Tony below the yellow line. They haven't even, like...
Under green, while the rest of the field goes around the track at 190.
Literally, it's the second guy to make contact with Tony Stewart they black flagged today. First Kenseth under the caution, but then
The penalty
Kyle
that he's
Busch
getting is he's got to serve his under green. Tony Stewart just had to go to the back of the pack.
That's correct.
So basically, the 5 car is out of the race.
Kyle, they got us up on the board. Too wide, too wide.
Hey, look at Kenny Schrader up there again. I haven't seen him in a while.
He's not going to get the pit lane this lap.
He might have trouble getting
4 to
the pit
go
lane.
this time.
If he does, there's going to be a big wreck.
Be 4 to go when they get to the line this time.
I say Kyle Busch kind of stuck on the
Jimmy
outside.
Johnson leads. Ryan Newman 2nd. Casey Mears 3rd.
Tony Stewart has had the most roller coaster of a race so
And
far.
Kurt agreed to talk to us right now. He just asked, let me get
Yeah, they black flag Kyle Busch.
About 5 minutes to sit in your car while they roll.
And there's
it back
Kurt
to the
Busch.
garage here. What was going through your mind?
Yeah, we had a great car all day. I was so proud of our team. Miller Lite Dodge was beautiful. Working with my teammate Ryan Newman.
Oh, we
had
got a
shot
record.
win in this race, and Rogers won. Oh, it's too bad. Watching TV right now. But Rogers won the Indy race 13 times, and we were really going to do it today, but came up just a bit short. So thanks to all my sponsors. Great ride today. Mobile One and Altel on Ryan's car and all our great guys that we've got behind us. So we'll be back.
That was just
Thank you very much. Kurt out of the 500, and so is the car that got tangled up with it,
And
Bill.
Kurt didn't really seem sincere to me when he said
sounded a little
that.
sarcastic.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate you going back there and getting that. So Jamie McMurray brings out the caution. We could be looking at a green-white checkered finish in the Daytona 500.
I thought Bobby Labonte might be involved, and let's see. There we see the.
It looked like the 31 kind of ran. Oh, that was all Jeff Burton's fault there.
And McMurray loses it and does get into Bobby Labonte.
Burton just kept going up, going up, going up, and the 26 was already there.
Hamlin runs in the back of the 31.
There's been so many instances where there should have been more cars in a wreck than what there was, and it just never...
Well, that 26 is hurt.
It's just never happened. We never saw the big one, really.
Well, the closer you get to the finish, the more desperate drivers become. The more daring, because the reward is so great.
Yeah, Busch could stay in the race.
Very disappointing for their
Average Godzilla enjoyer, thanks for tuning in. Why was it so misty? I don't know. It was just a foggy day at Daytona during the 500 this year. It wasn't like this at the very start of the race. It kind of rolled in like, I don't know, about 50 laps in or so.
Slid up there, BP, and I'm not sure.
Trying to block, or if he did lose a car, I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't really like that any other year.
That's off
that I can remember, at least.
Where did that happen?
Turn 2.
Yes.
Turn 2 today, yeah.
Exactly. You forecast that would be a difficult turn today, and it has been for several drivers. And that'll be interesting to talk to those guys after the race.
There's Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, going by, picking up a few spots.
43, Bobby Labonte. Denny Hamlin, Jamie McMurray, Jeff Burton, Bobby Labonte.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to back up to try to get a run because they're only going to have like 2 laps to go. They only get one attempt at a green, white checker finish too, so
Because I saw there he is on pit road.
it's going to be the final restart
where they're rubbing the fenders.
Good call
this time.
Benny. Up front, Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Newman, Casey Mears, Elliott Sadler, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Rookie Clint Bowyer is 6th. Tony Stewart has worked his way up to 7th in what has been a wild day.
Stewart
Casey Kane, Brian
Clint
Biggers,
Bowyer has not been really talked about the whole time. He's in 6th. The 07 car for RCR.
At the end of the longest line because when he gets to
Hamlin
pit road,
barely
all
made
the
it through. Yeah, he was
cars
kind of
race
sitting
track,
behind
you
the
can buy him
26 that was up against
Which
the
is
wall.
still better than doing it
He
under
might
the
have had
green.
some
All he
damage
does,
to
he
the front of
lost
his
a
car, but he
lap.
lost a lot of
He did it
spots
under the
checking up
green.
as much as he did, and everybody else is kind of gassing it towards the bottom. It's Kyle Busch serving his penalty. Yeah, they penalized Kyle Busch for forcing Stewart below the yellow line.
Rejoin the longest line.
A surprise.
Restart.
He was literally in the top 10, and now he's at the tail end of the field. Well, wasn't there like 38 cars, 37 cars on the lead lap, too?
That's amazing. Been a
All the way
roller
to...
coaster day for that guy.
I mean, that's just a tough finish.
Came in here with very high hopes. Really wants to win the Daytona 500. Won here last July, a race that ended at about 1:30 in the morning. Then climbed the fence, celebrated with the fans, went on to win the Brickyard 400, take his 2nd series championship. Today it has been an adventure for Tony, but he's certainly
Mickey Mouse crash.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., past winner of the Daytona 500. You heard the guys on pit road talk about how Jr. admitted making a mistake.
drove like an ale.
A rare mistake in a restrictor plate race.
You know, when these cars put fuel in them the last
Know
time,
who won, but don't remember the actual
figured
finish.
on
Yeah,
the
outside of
lap
like the top
race.
2, I
This
don't
thing is
remember
gonna be
what the rest of the
about
finishing order
202,
was.
203. I wonder if those extra
I'm pretty
laps
sure they only got
might
one
need some
attempt at a green white checker at this
You know,
time.
some teams
Correct me if
thought
I'm wrong,
about
but I
it,
think they
some
only did
Some probably did not.
have
Benny.
one attempt.
Excellent point.
But I think they're going to try to. I would think that NASCAR would try to get this thing. We've got 5 laps to go.
There's still like a half hour left in the
Try to get
stream,
this
but that's
thing
all the
off as
post
close
race
as
stuff. We're not
possible
going
to
to
the
stick
real
around for
finish.
that though.
So they don't run into that problem.
Well, we've already completed actually 198.
This is coming down for 199.
You
I guess-
trusted the computer.
Oh no, they're coming to 2 to go. I was gonna say if they restarted with 2 to go, it would be like a technical green white checker finish. But they're coming to 2 to go right now, so it will be past the scheduled distance by the time they end up going green. Lights are not out of the pace cars. They didn't get the 1 to go signal that time.
I'm doing everything I do.
It's a good thing nobody tried to risk it on fuel.
Lose all these spots, you know, y'all pit stops the fence so damn good all day long. I hate to not get the finish it deserves. It's like that old motor's like an old man. It'll wake up, run for a while, fall back asleep.
That sounds like Weber in the booth.
Oh, thank you.
Don't wake me up.
Matt, that's entertaining to listen to him during an afternoon, isn't it?
It's like comedy.
So basically, who do I think could like win the race from further back?
Traffic, but meanwhile, the 12 of Newman, he's trying to work
I'm just
with
basing it off the
42
cars
and
that have
the
looked like
38.
they've had
If they work with me, When we get to the last
Sadler's kind of had a quiet day. He was up towards the front a lot early, not so much in the middle. And then late, I mean, he's found his way back in the top 5 again.
No, they got to make it 3, 4 wide is what they got to do.
I mean, Casey Mears hasn't been anywhere towards the front until like the very end. But he's there when it matters the most, up to third.
TV reporter in the final laps. What's your driver saying about his chances to hold this pack off?
I think his chances are very good. Chad Canals and Mr. Hendrick have built an incredible team in this Lowe's 48 team. The Lowe's Monte Carlo has been great all night. I don't think we've fallen out of the top 10 the entire night. Makes my job pretty easy to be able to call a race like this. These guys are incredible, and we're just going to see how it works out.
Are you nervous at all? I mean, all these fans up here are nervous to see how the finish turns out. What about you?
Why would I be nervous? I got the greatest car and the greatest driver.
There's a good answer. Good luck.
How many,
Jimmy
I
Johnson
wonder how many Daytona 500 Scrub had. I think he only had one with Hamlin in 2016. I think 19 and 20 Hamlin won with Gabe Hart. I don't think Terrence Rupp was with him at that time.
It came 17 years ago today on February 19th. Don't forget, NBC's coverage of the Winter Olympics continues at 7 o'clock Eastern and Pacific tonight. Big night of all the coverage right here on NBC. Lights on the pace car go out. Will be a green, white, checkered finish. NASCAR will make one attempt to finish this race under the green flag.
Well, I mean, Bubba Wallace wasn't in this race. So he could... I think you were talking about this race. Is that what you were talking about?
Then they'll come around and get the checkers. If the caution comes out during this period, the race is over.
Yeah, so there you go.
NASCAR will use 18 scoring loops around
Bill Weber just explained the rules. Caution comes out, the race is over. They only get one attempt. So this is going to be it.
You do not race back to the caution flag.
This is going to be the finish.
Extra laps, 7.5 miles.
Somebody gonna run out? I don't know. It's about
a gallon and a half of fuel extra.
It could be.
Yeah, lights are out on the pace car.
Especially that, those stops.
It's going to be the final restart. Green, white, checker. 2006 Daytona 500. Try not to spoil the finish.
I know there's some guys
in the chat.
I would think so.
I'm just waiting to see where some of the underdog guys that were riding up there
right now. I mean, Jimmy Johnson sitting there going, man, I can't.
Wonder if Ken Schrader's got back in the top 10.
Then you've got guys like
Stinks that Blaney was literally up in the top 10 the entire second half of the race and then fell back right before that last restart.
Because they're out of time. They have got to make it. They've got to pull out and make passes.
Earnhardt Jr. maybe telling Elliott Sadler, I'll push you up there, buddy.
That could be a signal that.
But you'll see a lot of mirror driving right now, especially on that 48 car. He's going to be looking out the back of that car as much as the front. He has to.
I think they get to the finish under green, but I couldn't tell you if there was still like a wreck or not.
This race starts the season. You win it, it makes your season. The Daytona 500.
Let's see.
Jimmy Johnson looking for his first.
There's quite a few cars still in the race. There wasn't a big one.
Championship chase.
The first 4
which I didn't remember there. Like I didn't remember if there was one or who was in it. And there hasn't been one, so that's probably why I didn't remember it. Sadler's holding back a little bit. 3-car breakaway. So Sadler in 4th was the car that actually held back to try to get the run that time.
But did they let back too much?
Yeah, we saw that the last time, BP, so they're out of time.
Every time I've seen guys hold back on the restart, they've been doing that from like outside the top 10.
And they've got a lot more cars lined up behind them than the front.
Newman and McMurray, or Newman and Mears are not going to have a good run.
They're going to catch the front 3.
Sadler's got to run.
Oh, yeah,
he's got a really fast car behind him too, Dale Jr.
He can make a pass.
It takes a full lap to do that though. Like they just wasted a lap pretty much. And now you're hoping to go from 4th to 1st on the final lap. He's there. He's going to have to pull out. He didn't even pull out. Why back off to pick up a run like that and not use it? Junior's like, yeah, screw this. I'm going for it. But nobody's going to go with the 8 because he's too far back now. They waited way too long to make that move. Casey Kane's going up with the 8. He just waited way too long. I see Kenny Schrader up there in the 21. I've not seen Dale Jarrett in the top 10 all day till now. Oh, Casey Kane. Yeah, Junior doesn't have the help he needs. I can't believe Elliott Sadler didn't go for it, though. Oh, my gosh. Newman's going for it. Mears didn't go with him, though. Newman had a run. If Mears would have went with him, he would have gotten dodged the victory there. Johnson's way ahead now. What, they crash? Oh, caution's out. Yeah, they must have wrecked off turn 4 back there. Race did end under yellow then. Oh, Biffle, no! Not Biffle. Dang. Yeah, Jimmy Johnson wins. I don't remember the race finishing under caution. I'd imagine they're going to show a replay of what happened back there.
His first Daytona 500 victory.
First Daytona 500 win for Jimmy Johnson. I mean, the Hendrick cars were pretty good all day. Him and Gordon looked really good together, but then Gordon had that mistimed block on Stewart earlier, and really Gordon was never up there after that. Kind of fitting this is our first race you guys voted for in these Throwback Thursdays. Again, for everybody watching right now, every Thursday we'll be doing a Throwback Thursday watching an old Daytona 500, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard start time every week. We got 41 likes right now on the stream. Be sure to hit that like button. Our goal is 50. As well as subscribe if you haven't already for more daily NASCAR content.
First a word with the team owner, Rick Hendrick. Rick, congratulations, another Daytona 500 win.
I'm out of breath, I'll tell you. This race is unbelievable, and it's just a race everybody wants to win. This team's had a tough couple of weeks, and it's unbelievable. We're just going to celebrate this one and wish Chad was here. Great, proud of the guy.
And I believe the crew chief just ran off to greet the car.
I am surprised that Casey Mears didn't go with Newman, considering they were both Dodges. Because obviously Newman had a run to get to the outside of Johnson, but it stalled out because the 42 didn't go with him. He just stayed with the 48.
Jimmy Johnson and the 48
Crazy.
Monte Carlo SS on another
It was a good move by
Chevy
Newman, but
victory,
he just didn't have the help. Then the caution ended up coming out behind him.
Chevy and American Revolution.
Even though Johnson was that far out ahead, I don't think they were going to catch him when they were side by side.
That's why the caution came out.
I think he wants the flag. I don't think he's going to climb the fence, but...
And he has it.
Alan Bestwick.
Jimmy wants.
Congratulations, you've won the Daytona 500 as a crew chief.
I don't even know what to say right now. I have no idea what to say. I mean, I just got to thank Jack Canals for building this team the way he built it. Mr. Hendrick and everybody for giving me the opportunity.
Kind of forgot Darian Grubb even worked at Hendrick Motorsports to get himself in this situation in the first place.
Kind of a story you can tell your grandkids someday, huh?
I'll tell everybody this for the rest of my life.
Congratulations.
Little did we know he was going to be crew chiefing at another big organization not that far down the road and win this race again someday. But Denny Hamlin.
And find out why the
Yeah, Johnson did have two. This was the
Biffle in
first.
the 16 car, he just goes up high, car just gets loose, and around he goes.
Oh, he just wrecked on his own. Caution had to come out. There were some guys whizzing back there. Oh my gosh.
I tell you, everybody today has done a great job missing.
I was going to say, luckily everybody missed him. There's been so many great wreck avoidances this entire race. That's why we didn't see the big one. Everybody scattered around when they should have wrecked big, and they never actually wrecked big.
Care Center, and he apologized for the contact that took Kurt Busch out of the race. That's the backstretch. Yes, sorry, VP.
And they put those grandstands at the right place today, didn't it? See all the action?
Matt.
Well, Newman just got a high five from his father. Your dad's in tears over this second place finish. You didn't need the green white checker, did you?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I think it'd been the same either way. We used to sit up there, Dad and I used to sit up there in my grandparents' old seats, so it's special to get a good shot at.
Once you guys get the interview from Jimmy Johnson here at the end, then we'll call it a stream. Keep it running until then.
Get us where we were.
Get the winners
Unfortunately, Casey didn't decide to follow
interview
through
in
with us.
victory
He made a
lane.
good shove to get me out of the way, but didn't choose to go with us. But we'll just have to see what happens. So it just is a great run for us.
Johnson taking the big Polish victory lap.
You know, best way we've started the season here before ever.
All the way around the
Newman
racetrack.
finishes second at Daytona. Dave?
With Matt Kenseth now finishing outside the top 10, we think, based on unofficial guesstimates here. All right, let's talk about all the contact out there today. You were involved in some.
Kenseth's still out of top 10? Or do you say outside the top?
Well, I mean, Tony took me out intentionally. There's just no two ways about that. He was mad because earlier in the race point, I asked him to get loose, which I didn't think I did anything wrong. I thought I left him plenty of room. The same way he raced, I actually learned that from him racing here close to people. So, he wrecked me intentionally, got put to the end of the longest line, which I didn't think is too big a penalty in a drafting track. So, that's just the way it is. I mean, Mike Helton, I thought, did a great job this week explaining at the drivers' meeting. It was about aggressive driving, not necessarily bump drafting, and just really disappointed. Tony went on and said all that stuff earlier in the week, and then, if he's worried about people's lives and everything, and then he's going to wreck you on purpose at 190, I wasn't too happy with that, but we'll just go on and try to do a good job next week and be happy where we finished and go into California and start over.
Teammate Mark Martin is leaning in here. Mark, did you have anything to add, Mark? Or Mark, did you have anything to add to what he was saying as far as the rule applied today?
No.
Okay.
That was
it
quick.
was a rough day out there, Marty.
Well, Dave, Tony Stewart rallied.
You think Mark Martin really cares?
Said he felt like your contact was very much intentional. What's your take on that?
He probably cares.
Yeah, Matt always thinks that. I mean, I guess Matt didn't think anything when he got me sideways over in 2 either. So, he should have thought about that first. I mean, he got back what he started in the first place. So, and I got penalized for it. I mean, they didn't penalize him when he turned me sideways over there. So, he should.
There's a difference though.
Not to be tucking down on guys' doors in the first 20 laps of a 200-lap race at Daytona. So, I mean, he has no room to complain. He started the whole thing, and I finished it.
How were you able to come back through the field, though, and with basically a damaged race car and finish 8th today?
Yeah, just a good pit crew.
I mean,
they did a great job in the pits, did a great job fixing it, and we just kept digging and trying to find the right holes. So, we got ourselves in a position there at the end. We couldn't race for the win, but to get a top 5 out, that's pretty awesome.
Strong rally for Tony.
He admitted to taking him out in person, or like,
you had a Rolex.
yeah.
From winning
I mean,
the
he
Rolex
admitted to
24
taking
2
him
weeks ago.
out.
You almost got the 500. A lot of deal making near the end there, Case.
Yeah, it's so hard at the end. I mean, I kind of waved at Newman, saying, hey, I'm going to go with you. But then, when he pulled out, the 38 had a big run on me, and I had to stay at the bottom or else I was going to get freight trained. So it's tough in these places. You just got to take what works best for you there at the end. But I couldn't be happier. Congratulations to Jimmy Johnson, great friend of mine. And I couldn't be happier to be a part of the Texaco Havoline team this year. It's been a lot of fun so far. Everywhere we go and everything we do it's getting better and better all the time. So I'm looking forward to next race.
What a way to start out the season for Casey Mears, unofficially 3rd. Dave?
And Matt Dale Earnhardt Jr. has looked over the scoring.
I was thinking he'd finish second. I think after they got through all the results, after when the caution came out, I think Casey Mears actually finished second.
Yeah, we fought a push a whole time we've been down here, and even on that last lap when I went to the outside of the 38, got a real big push center off of 2 and had to back up and ruined Casey Kane's run that he had, and we were just kind of stuck. And then I don't know what happened on the front straightaway. We passed a bunch of them back days beating on each other or something, but I'm so proud of my team. They give me a good car. DEI, we come down here and ran great. That's all I wanted to do. I'm real proud of everybody back at the shop and all my guys down here that have been working on this car for the last week. It's been a long week, so we're real happy to be able to come out of here. A lot of guys weren't so fortunate, so we're happy with the top 10.
And surely there will be better finishes for Junior here at Daytona in the future. Alan?
In victory lane at Daytona with the Daytona 500 winner.
There's Jimmy. Bring back victory lane interviews, NBC and Fox. Do it. More of a chance to get more interviews from other drivers, too, before they go off the air.
And a hug for the team owner, Rick Hendrick. And a victory kiss from his wife, Chandra.
There's more confetti than we need in victory lane.
A little overload, huh? Jimmy, you have won the Daytona.
Look at the confetti.
Can you tell me what that means to
You can't even see the car with all the confetti.
It doesn't even set in. I am so proud of this race team. Obviously, it's been a tough week for us. I wish Chad Knaus was here. I know he's kicking his TV set in right now. It's so bummed out, but his hard work got this team to where it is. Thank you. These guys up here that are getting rowdy, great pit stops, great race car. Everyone stepped up when we needed to. I have to thank Lowe's, all their employee owners, Hendrick Motorsports for the great race car. My teammates, I can't believe this. Tomorrow morning, it'll finally soak in, I bet.
You didn't lead for a long time in this race. Were you wondering if you could get the lead?
Yeah, I could. I just, I've been aggressive before. I've made some mistakes. I've caused wrecks. A lot of different things have happened. And tonight, I just wanted to sit and ride and take care of things. And, after all the trouble this team's been through and all the criticism, I'm going to dedicate this one to all the haters of the 48 team because we won and we're in victory lane at Daytona for the Daytona 500.
Earlier in the week when the problems came down that forced your crew chief to leave, Did you really believe your chance to win the 500 was hurt, or did you really believe this team had enough strength to be here where you are now?
I did. Deep down inside my heart, I believe that this team could still win it. There's no doubt not having Chad here was going to be a huge, huge handicap for this race team, but everybody stepped up and overcame it. Darian Grubb stepped in, filled in as crew chief. First time as crew chief for the Cup level, wins his first race. Everybody stepped up, so I'm just so proud of this Lowe's team.
The last couple of laps, the green-white checker, Ryan Newman behind you trying to get a run on you. Tell me what was going through your mind, what you were doing on the track.
I knew that I needed to get a good clean start. I got up through the gears and got going. And this Monte Carlo was on rails after that. And I knew Ryan was going to try to get a run on me. And when he went to the top, I stayed committed to the bottom. And one of my, not high school friends, but one of my friends through the off-road ranks, Casey Mears, was behind me. And I knew at that point I was in good shape. So here we are.
Daytona 500 winner, Jimmie Johnson. Want me to say it again?
Yeah, say it some more, please. We won the Daytona 500!
Back-to-back Daytona 500s for Hendrick Motorsports. Jeff
Little did this guy know he had a lot more winning in his future. Even later that year, he ended up winning his first championship. So.
We'll take a break and come back and continue our post-race coverage from Daytona, where Jimmie Johnson has won his first Daytona 500.
Well, that is going to end today's live stream and our first Throwback Thursday on the channel. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I appreciate the support and appreciate you guys tuning in, watching with me for this Daytona 500 tonight. Be sure to tune in next Thursday at, well, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just like tonight. And we will be watching another classic Daytona 500 when the time comes. Not sure which one yet. Again, community tab. I'll have a poll up and running for you guys to vote on that once Monday comes around the corner after this weekend. And tune in tomorrow night as well, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, we'll have some NASCAR 06 action on the channel. And a very good chance that we will be racing the Cup Series. I believe will be the next race on the channel. Will be Cup Series racing. And that will be taking place at Bristol for the Food City 500. So, thanks everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. And have a good one.